was like, oh, they stopped the round. I guess we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. And we are back on basement nonetheless. And this is where we praised SSG for their attacks did make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting some more success here. And you see VP, they know what they want to play into. Plant deny, time waste. The only issue I have with this is purely playing Goyo, Echo, Smoke, and then having zero roam presence with a soft patch.
They know about it as well. Like,
Yeah.
They have the read on here. Like, that's the big difference. SSG in the first round, they're sprinting in, they're going for drops. VP had no idea about it.
Yeah.
Now, you notice 30 seconds into the round, VP have forfeited open area, but they're still pre-firing up the hatch because they know that SSG are likely going for
Hello.
But let's say they played open area, killed it.
Oh, no, bro. That's embarrassing.
They killed a few drones, then ran back to bomb site. You wasted an extra 20, 30, 40 seconds. Now it's SSG with full map control, with 2 full minutes to spare. Sure, they don't have a Twitch this time with the Goyo canisters, but they have saved the time.
Good afternoon. Yes, it's an early stream.
So I feel like again we're back to.
Oh, nice joystick.
That's unlucky.
I think that's a skill issue personally.
Now I think it's a fair game. Now I think it's like VP might have this. You know, that's a huge pick, and
Yeah.
Maverick going down as well. Of course, you said if the banner pillars.
Holy shit! 7,100 people in the.
It takes a rebel.
What a cool
to make
time for ads. Thanks, the resub fountain. Nah, Multiversus is RIP. Is it the Bravo channel? Because we were supposed to play at 5. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So we will be playing at 5. Okay. But then I got told that we could be playing earlier. So we're good. We've got plenty of time. Who's membership lord? Plenty of time.
Again, it's tough. They got the Yokai drones.
Let's do some Chris in the membership Pierce.
Maybe the amount of intel that Verswell can work with, it's been phenomenal so far. And they've been so accurate, like we know where the players are. There's not swing.
Who's on the R6 team? It's ex-Sonics, so former Sonics roster.
Again, Echo drones. Look at this. They can't play.
Hey, Carlos. We play next. Or next game. I'm just here a little early.
He's got to bait out a few shots. Finds one. Magazine is simply not big enough for this. He's still going to give it a go. Goes for another one. Finds a second kill. Joystick puts him down. Finally, that's the energy that we've been needing from VP. 5-1
You're playing?
and a
Yep.
half. This
We play
really
next.
is a repeat of map 1 with the teams switched around.
So puzzling. 5 rounds.
Why didn't you step in when Luca got traded? Hey man, they only needed to give me a
It's
call.
been a while.
I would have been ready.
Yeah, man, not a good look for SSG. They were flying on Chalet.
But I do feel like SSG to me, they've always been what I call it a defense team. I think the way they play.
What happened with
His
the
membership.
We didn't see that at
No.
all.
That explains how far start, I guess.
That's how half the. Yeah,
You can see it at
I
the
guess
top,
that
it
was
says
the idea of
drops.
the push. They took garage control. They
Yep.
had one go down main stairs. A very split up push because there was still a guy server. And
38 minutes till we
was
start.
trying to
Yep,
make things happen.
right around
Not
38
only is the
minutes.
Yokai ready for it,
Ish.
but also the impact grenades. That's awkward.
Yeah, Echo drones actually make life completely unplayable for shield operators. Blackbeard blades, medics, Montios.
Who's membership more?
Medics. Shout out to
You gonna
Medics
buy a
on the server,
5090?
by the way.
No.
He rocked up
I am
really
not.
late last night.
Yeah, I saw.
Flew in
I am not.
I spoke to him for about 2 seconds getting a coffee today.
Nice.
So he's had a big trip, but lovely to get.
You see the Final
Croatian
Destination
sensation.
trailer? Did they drop a new trailer? No, I did not see that. Oh, you're right. 4 hours ago.
My old man just died. I come in as a favor, and now they want me to lock up.
Holy shit, Solar. Thank you so much for that. Hope you have an amazing day.
Like and subscribe and all the things.
God, this already looks so fucking silly. Thanks to Tier 1 Nitro, the membership Eric. Thanks membership BS. Bet it breaks the chain and it like hangs him somehow. I did not see that, John. Yikes. Oh, it's a whole Rube Goldberg machine.
Oh, you got me. Come on.
This is so fucking stupid, holy. That's perfect. It's just as dumb as I would have expected. Cool.
And now Forrest is all alone up against 5 angry Russians marching towards him.
You should get
on the joystick. It's simply not going to be enough. Always locks it in. All right, these guys are well and truly fired up. SSG, I don't know what you did, but you woke up the bear, and now they've come out to play.
Yeah, so much more life in them, celebrating around victory.
Yeah, I'm excited too, Lord. The elevator decapitation scene in the second one traumatized me as a child. Don't think I ever saw the second one.
This is where you're wrong. There's been 2
Yeah, I've seen that, Blake. Just bots.
Smiled in the player cams, and they were popping off when that happened.
Did that make the newspaper, like the front
It
page?
made Reddit, it made like all the news channels, the casters on the desk spoke about it. I think they screen capped it and it brought up like on the
Yeah,
second
our team's on
report.
next. We play
You
next.
see Shepard
The truck with the
smiling,
logs still haunts me.
Just in Shepard.
Unironically, I think this scene has had a profound effect on the way people drive behind trucks. I never saw the second one, but I did see like a bunch of clips from this. Things are some crazy. It's actually like a good thing to do not to be behind trucks with loose loads. So it's not like a bad idea. Honestly, this was like a great PSA. And there's a new Battlefield.
What?
Did they release a trailer? I didn't see it.
You know, bust me, bitch.
And I've not seen that, Christina. Yeah, we play next. We're after SSG Virtus. God, this scene's still so fucking nuts. Thanks for some exotic and dark. We got 4th in the World Championship. We were so close to winning it. Wow. Yeah, a lot of explosions. I know, man. It hasn't aged bad. The whole point of Final Destination movies are to be over the top and silly. See, so it seems like the new one keeps that DNA. I'm excited too, Busy. Yeah, there's a new one. It's called Bloodlines. They just released a little short from it. It's pretty fucking dumb, which is good. I'm Grandmaster in Rivals right now through solo queue. Yeah, it's a pretty big matchup. On day one, we go against FaZe. Yeah, I know. I believe in the squad, though. Our team's super fucking good, so I believe in the squad. It's a Prime Umbra. Membership Glyn. Look at the new battle. Oh yeah, I forgot to look. Apparently there's a new Battlefield been announced. Battlefield Labs. Battlefield Studios.
Defending that last point in Breakthrough.
You and your squad going together, trying to accomplish something.
Helicopter crashes into the building next to you, and all of a sudden the roof drops on your head.
The vehicle play is the destruction.
You've got tanks, you've got jets.
You get a bit sweaty in your palms.
That's full, all-out military experience.
Can't do that, G, sorry to say.
It's just unlike any other game I've played.
This franchise comes with a long history, spanning over 20 years now. But the question is,
I know, I saw De'Aaron Fox got traded.
And push Battlefield
got
to the
traded.
next
Got traded.
level.
That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be an unreal squad.
I've been playing Battlefield since long before I joined the team. When 1942 first came out, the amount of fun that we all sat down and had with it is just, you know, still like a fond memory.
Sadly, fans have lost faith in
joining the
Battlefield.
team
That includes
was
me.
the opportunity to give that team that space to do something just more amazing even than they've done in the past.
We set out with this ambitious idea of creating this new Battlefield universe. And to make that vision reality, we had to think big.
We had to remember what it was like when we were
Each
good.
of our 4 studios comes with its own culture and expertise into what we call Battlefield Studios.
One team that spans across the globe and combines 20 years of franchise experience with emerging talent.
Am I stupid for thinking that that's a terrible idea? Am I the only one that thinks that's fucking stupid? You're gonna take so many different departments and put them all into one studio. That's gonna be such a logistical nightmare to keep everyone working on the same page. No, I'm gonna finish it. I just really think that concept is pretty silly. Unless they're working on, like, each department's working on, like, a different Battlefield game. Then that can work if you compartmentalize it like that. But if all of these studios internationally are working on the same title, that's a fucking nightmare. There's
DICE
membership,
has
Christian.
such a rich history with Battlefield. We've been working on it for years and years. But we also want to do something bigger and better than we've ever done before.
You get
And
out a
can't
silver
do
suit,
that
Eric.
with one studio.
DICE is responsible for the multiplayer part of the game, which incorporates things like destruction systems, class play, squad play, vehicles, gadgets, all of those kind of underlying systems that drive the experience.
So here at Motive, we're working on multiplayer maps, and we're also working on single-player mission contents.
We're driving a cinematic experience to the level that's never been done on Battlefield before.
Ripple Effects has a long history of working on the Battlefield franchise.
We're working on an experience that is really going to open Battlefield up to a whole group of new players.
Yeah, I always hate when that's the goal.
Franchise so successful.
We want to make sure it's more accessible for new players.
Battlefield for a decade now, and now
that never works.
To the table as a fully fledged kind of partner in the Battlefield studios.
Thanks, resub nap.
Mainly, we've been focused on the single-player experience. So the campaign is back for Battlefield.
We have never
I
before
saw
had
Flannel.
this many teams and talents dedicated to the development of Battlefield. And we have a plan to create a new, exciting future for the franchise, alongside our players.
This game has so much potential, so I think it's about giving the team this time to really hone their craft.
We have to prototype, play test, get feedback,
And then repeat that loop.
over and over and over again. We have to find gameplay that really resonates with the players and then build on that.
It's called Bad Company 3.
Battlefield Labs is our new development initiative where players will get to test specific focus areas in the game.
We've done similar
Is it
things
tier
in
one?
the past, but this is a whole nother level.
This Scar?
We're doing it before we launch the game, and we're doing it with so much more content.
It's an exciting way for us to interact with our audience before things go live and make sure that what we have is really fun and polished.
And we have to test everything, combat to destruction,
That's a good
to
idea.
maps and modes.
We're going to test all the new features that we're putting out, and we're going to test hardware like weapons, vehicles,
Of this,
and
Nikolai?
gadgets.
We can try different things, but also
No, I did
validate
not
what
hear that,
players are
Zach.
expecting for Battlefield.
That feedback
Yeah, I
is
saw it,
crucial
Chef.
in helping us know what to prioritize, what needs improvement, and what feels like a true Battlefield experience.
We're pre-alpha, so now is the time to test all the experiences our teams have been building for our upcoming launch and beyond. Join our Discord where you can learn more about our new closed testing environment. We call it Battlefield Labs. Let's build Battlefield together.
Destruction 2.0. Oh yeah, you been keeping up with it, Plastic? Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting case. Looks like Jack Fragg's got some gameplay. Or no, is he just going over the trailer?
Battlefield, down to the ground. Violent
Yeah, just going over that trailer. I guess we'll see. It'd be great if Battlefield was good again. Never been a fan of the destruction system. Well, it was really, really good in Bad Company 2. It was good in Battlefield 3. And then they kind of went away from it, like, almost entirely. To the point where it was just, like, this complete waste of a system. But Bad Company 2, it was absolutely amazing. It is midnight. I don't know if I've watched Planet Terror, Walter. I am enjoying Sakamoto Days and solo leveling. Oh yes, which one I'm enjoying more? Solo leveling season 2. I have been hooked on it. I think it is so good. Thanks, membership, yeehaw. Yeah, we play next. I have a safe flight, Green. You see what Jaden Smith wore to the Grammys might be the worst outfit ever. Can't be worse than what Kanye West's wife wore or didn't wear. She was literally nude at the Grammys. I don't know how she wasn't arrested. That's just textbook indecent exposure. Her titties and whole pussy was out. She was actually completely naked. Like, not exaggerating, she was actually naked. Let me see what Jaden Smith wore. Willow and Jaden Smith's Grammys red carpet moment. Pretty cool. Awesome. It is Christian. It's our org. Did he win, Tyler? Yikes. Roblox, man. He's wearing a Halloween decoration. It's kind of cool. Does it start in 9 minutes, Beck? I thought it started at 5. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, John. That's his wife. You see, there was a massive Assassin's Creed Shadows leak that happened on a hentai site. Can't say I saw that. When's the tourney starting? Tourney started. We just play next. Apparently we play in 9 minutes, though. Oh, wow. You might be right. Hold on. Yeah, 9 minutes. Thanks, membership, Athic, and Big Boy. That sounds interesting, Walter. Thanks, Larissa Ruthie. Going to be a really good game for sure. It's a crazy matchup to have day one. It's actually a pretty nutty matchup for day one. Fucking SR FaZe. We go against FaZe immediately. Thanks, Resub Ray. And the resub card. Why does that always happen to your team? Is the same with League? I know. I know. We're getting like the biggest matchups on day one each time. We went FlyQuest day one in League, and now we're going FaZe day one in Siege. It's wild. Thanks, Resub Wafers. It's open midnight. I'm still there. What about it, Athic? Attic. Thanks, G. What are the reasonable expectations for us? We have one of the best rosters in Siege. Our team is X-Sonics. The team name wasn't X-Sonics. They were the Sonics roster, and then they weren't. So we have them now. And they are an extremely good team. FaZe is just also really, really good. Typically, you would not be going these two titans on day one. That's pretty crazy work, actually. You on the SR Halo team too? Yep. And I will be watching that as well. You do your Dota homework yet? I've been starting it. I've just been too deep into Path of Exile 2 grinding, so I haven't been diving in enough. Luka bought a $15 million house before they traded him. I saw that headline, yeah. How many divides you got? Right now, 3. I spent all my div yesterday on an adorned. So I spent 11 div on a 49% adorned, which is a really good deal. Here, before we start, I'll show you where we're at. I'll also do a little gambling. Try and improve RNG for today. I did see it, fat guy. Yeah, I watched it. After the fact, I was streaming during it. And yeah, I played For Honor like once. Bets are online gambling. PoE gambling, brother. PoE gambling. Swap this back though before I forget. So I bought this yesterday. That's where all my div went. And it's been a huge boost to my build. My chaos doesn't matter because I just never get touched when mapping. So it's been really, really good. But now I gotta re-save up div again. Alright. We'll do a little gambling here. I collected these today. Well, last 24 hours, not just today. Alright, here we go. Let's see how she feels. Great start. Excellent. Huge. That's not bad. Wait. Is that... No. Is that a decent roll on... I mean, I didn't get negatives, which is good. We celebrate the small victories. I don't think that's worth much, though. Thanks for the membership. Akko. We didn't roll negatives, so that's good. Okay, well, 1 for 8. Can't be mad about... Or 1 for 10. Can't be mad about that. What's my current Ventor? The negative 39 cold. This would actually be a really nutty one if it wasn't negative 39 cold. I gotta vow this. I've gotta try. Thanks, membership, Mike. Negative 39 cold will be insane with ingenuity. You'll be taking, like, fucking sextuple damage from anything cold. Thanks for the resub Wi-Fi. Alright, I gotta vow this. We gotta see what happens. Wow, Omen of Corruption is so expensive now, it's crazy. Oops, wrong one. Alright, come on, baby! That's a really good enchant. Plus 15 int? Wait, that's pretty decent. How much does this go for? That's pretty good. That's kinda nice. Hold on, let's see. Fuck, if only we had a little bit higher on the resists. Thanks, Risa Big Ski. Everything's positive, at least. No negatives. Oh, it's not much. It's only 50x. Actually, no. Mine's better than that. It's about 1 div. That's not terrible. This one is, though. Alright, we're probably starting now.
Good energy, but they didn't bring that energy into the server, and that was the disappointing factor, that they didn't really have the ability to match phase, but it did feel like their job was done. They had a very stressful phase 2, if you recall. They had just qualified in towards 6 Invitational on the last day of phase 2, and of course then into the phase 3 of Montreal. So now, though, for Shopify Rebellion, this is where I want to see them actually take it up to phase in what's going to be hopefully a hotly contested match. Like our last one, not our last one, but the stream's last one, Dark Zero and Raza, of course, getting the win over DZ.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise to everybody. Obviously, I think it's the first game of the day, the first series of the day that went to 3 maps. We had the Falcons PSG game earlier on, and that was par for the course. Falcons played
best of 3, right? Yeah.
PSG had a little bit of a resurgence towards the end of the series, but unfortunately, it was a little bit of a story of too little, too late. From then on here, though, hey, are we going to
Is it still quiet?
That's par for the course?
Oh, yeah, it is quiet here.
Or are we going to get something a little bit more of a murder, a resurgence, a pull back up? You never really know with this team, and to be honest, the pressure here is on Shopify Rebellion. It's on the team that, you know, you carried them with the
nice shadow.
time.
It's funny you say that, though.
Are you super familiar with the esport or just getting into it? I'm pretty familiar.
This particular game?
Personal pressure.
Okay.
And this is
very familiar with the game.
The breakdown of what
the
you said,
esports,
where
I
it's
mainly
like,
watch
you know,
the
whether
main
it's relaxed,
stage,
you go
big
to SI,
big games.
FaZe one of the best teams at the minute. In Siege.
We still have 5 minutes. I could go gambling again.
From tournament to tournament. We've seen
Thanks
them
for
here
some
on their
TZ. I think I have 1 more that I didn't bring over from my main bag. Bro's addicted. Oh no, I've been hard addicted to PoE. It's been disgusting how deep into it I have become. Hey, thanks Sora, appreciate it. Maybe not. I thought I might have had 1 more. No, I'm posting that later, Alex. Just didn't have a chance to post it earlier today. Nope, I gambled everything. Unless I put it in one of these, but I don't think so. Someone would have already bought the shit out of it. Nothing. These are not actually 6 div, by the way. I just storing them there for now. God damn it. He's a tier 1 I. I really want to fucking gamble one more time. I think we were so close. The squad.
More than once.
Get some more.
Players, obviously,
I'm not spending fucking 100x on a stellar amulet or a sapphire ring.
Imagine if we see him playing the next game. But you have super experienced Canadian, brings success to his roster, and at, you know, on the same sort of hand of that, if you look at the history of NA Siege, there's a few names that sort of highlight the tippy top, what it means to the community, what it means to the scene, players that have been there. Super is on that iconic level as well to a big degree. He's having these two sort of pillars of an entire region's entire history of 6 playing together. There's something a little bit exciting in the water.
Yeah, I guess you could say that in that fashion. I think also if you want to kind of turn attention to the likes of Ambi, Surf as well, actually, was absolutely amazing over in Montreal. So, you know, obviously a lot has been spoken about Ambi since he kind of made it to that tier 1 level.
Beating FaZe on debut would go crazy. That would go crazy.
Canadian. I think
it's also just a crazy matchup to have day 1 in general.
Into the shadows when we kind of talk about this roster, but they're certainly more than capable. When I look at Shopify Rebellion, I think they've got a really solid team. Core team of 5. You know, I know you kind of touched on Canadian, and he's always going to be someone that is going to be looked at. But he isn't necessarily the one that has to be popping off. That's not his role. So like I think that's where they're quite fortunate. You've got that experience in Canadian, but then you've got the youth and the others who can do the fragging and can obviously get the job done. The problem is, well, their opponent is FaZe.
It doesn't make it easy.
It doesn't make it easy to kickstart this tournament, does it? But you know, I think for FaZe Clan coming into SI, this is where I'm looking at them and I'm saying, you're going to get through phase 1. You know, you're going to get through phase 2. We all know they're going to make
this is our team, Zombina, so yep, we're in it.
If they don't, it's going to be quite startling, but it's what they do at the back end of the
tournament.
That's where the eyes are going to be on FaZe.
Clubhouse start, that's easy work.
For this match. Match 3 here on the B stream today. Clubhouse first up, FaZe Clan defending on that. That's a wonderful place for them to start. So already the pressure on Shopify Rebellion going into a Clubhouse. You're attacking first.
That's what someone said earlier. There was DDoS attacks for on Arma.
Defense as well, and honestly, looking at the first 2 picks
here,
it kind of might have 1-1 written all over it, doesn't it?
I mean,
hey, FaZe and Labs, bit of history there.
Listen, I get it. I know. I've got the stats in front of me. I see the same thing. Labs is their top preference map by some measures of.
I did not see that new trailer, CT.
It's banned against them throughout the year. A lot of teams don't want to take to it. You look at the last sort of 365 days of general siege, and you have Club being a second preference for both of these 2 rosters.
Yep.
They both really enjoy Club, and FaZe is just saying we're better than you, ending up on Bank. Oh my word, when was the last time we saw these 2 teams on Bank? How about when it was picked by Shopify Rebellion at Montreal, and they got no rounds?
I don't like the history on there then.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, look, at the end of the day...
Hope you're having a good day, Eric.
I don't know if it's necessarily, but I think it's not a map that obviously for Sonics that they're going to be too happy with, but they're going to have to back themselves in on Labs.
Bank's such a poo map.
3-0 in
I actually like
it.
it.
When it comes to not even Labs. Obviously, FaZe Clan's the kind
it's a shame people in the comp scene don't like it that much. I like it.
Yeah, they've got one of the better map pools when it comes to teams at this tournament, so they'll be more than comfortable when it comes to obviously Clubhouse, where they're 5-1. And obviously Labs is a map that we know we've seen them play, but that's probably one of their worst performing maps. So that's when I go back to what I said before in terms of 1-1. Like, it just has that feeling. I think Labs should be a map in which Shopify Rebellion will be strong on. It's a map they've got really good results versus FaZe, who it's arguably one of their weaker maps. It is also one that does get banned against them a lot, so we don't always get to see the most of it. And I think it was Pengu who touched on it in the SI Grand Final when it came the FaZe and on Labs.
Hey, thanks, Ron.
W7M. It wasn't always a map that we see from those teams necessarily. And you got to remember as well, even though FaZe did end up losing that grand final,
I'm PoE 2 only. I'm not going to go back to PoE 1.
They still went 6-1 up against W7M. They still dominated on that map. So by no means will it be a walkover for Shopify. But
got no tips for you, Andrew, but you'll climb eventually.
We are going to be heading to Clubhouse first up, even though we do get the lovely scenery of Chalet. Hey, it's one of my favorite maps, but it is Club.
It is Club. But we're just having a quick look at Chalet first, just so we remember everything. And I think, you know, there's a lot to talk about. There is one thing that I want to sort of get onto the idea of Labs.
You still play Siege? I haven't played Siege in 2 months.
That was the last map.
2-ish months since the last Jinxie tournament.
Final as well.
So I'm a little out of practice.
Well, I feel like this tournament for FaZe is all about getting over that hurdle, dealing with their demons, but none of that
You still going to stream after this?
right now.
No.
None of that apply. Even if they lost to Shopify today, it doesn't really change much. For FaZe, it's all about the latter stages of this tournament. For Shopify, it's probably about can you build that form throughout the tournament so that you can then not only get to phase 3, get to that arena stage, but then also be in a position where you are playing well, performing well. Because quite frankly, when it came to
our team, TZ.
Sonics, their run through phase 2 wasn't clean. It wasn't clinical. They kind of limped over the line.
Mark.
They got to SI by getting into phase 3 at Montreal. From there, yeah, they limped completely out as they got decimated by FaZe. And here we are once again with these 2 teams. Clubhouse first up. Of course, the bans come through. Really no big surprises when it comes to the bans.
No, you know, to play against the Hard Breach game here, the Maverick, he sort of sets himself up as a very specific operator. These are, in a regard, at least the first 2 maps, classic Siege, right? You have the most classic Siege map in a lot of people's books, Clubhouse, which sets itself around. Everybody knows it. Everybody has the objective play down. You know, it's usually the first map a lot of teams learn as well by their own admission. Labs has a lot of energy from places like Club. It was often
How many teams does Moist have? Now we have like fucking 14-ish. We're in pretty much every major esport except for CS2 right now, which we want to be eventually.
with that little curious statistic here about Shopify Rebellion, about the fact that they're sort of getting Canadian, he is a man who plays the objective. And you might be like,
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Kingdom Come 2 when it comes out. It comes out soon, doesn't it?
Who drives the objective on teams. I think every team he's played on at a major, they have usually been the top objective-focused team. They were at Montreal as well, by I think they were 20% above the average.
Really?
Yeah.
It comes out tomorrow. Holy fuck. Okay, huge. Yeah, I'll be playing it tomorrow.
Someone else was on 36%.
Alright, let's go, boys.
And then from then on it was like 23, 22.
Let's just fucking cook 'em.
21. That is the game that they love to lock down.
Well, it's a good feel out for both of these two teams as well, where you get the opportunity to play against another solid team. You're not just getting like a feeder APAC team, for example, or one of the lower ranked teams of the tournament. This is just like a really good sparring match between two top teams. FaZe being, of course, probably one of 3 teams I look at as being a really good chance at you know, getting the hammer and winning the 6 Invitational. That's the kind of category that they find themselves in.
I think at this point as well, you know, you don't want to sort of
harp on it,
but you use it as an example of the brilliance of FaZe. A lot of people would say that that was their final to win last year. It could have been. It was maybe the best series of Siege ever played ever. And this could, in some regards, be them defending a title. They're still that level of team, though.
What team are we?
Technically, I think
Shopify
had better
Rebellion.
international results this year than they did the year that they got to the final, had that huge performance. They're in, statistically, I think, a better shape than they were that time around. So, who knows? The sky's the limit.
Well, a pretty steady and slow clubhouse to begin. No surprises. Basement for Shopify, and they will very much play all 5 players in basement. So just waiting and anticipating the push from FaZe, who are just getting the checklist done, opening up hatches. They've got kitchen control. A little bit of vision there with the drone. Handy now on the blitz, one to sort of watch as to where he's going to make his way. Can go down main stairs. Could go for a dirt push, and at the moment, maybe looking for a moto drop. They've got the options, and that's where FaZe are really, really solid. They find avenues throughout rounds to create many different entry positions. That's exactly why we're seeing Vidiking just go and open up dirt. You've got dirt, you've got a kitchen drop, you've got moto, you've got main stairs, you've got many ways in which you can attack this site. The good news for Shopify, still 3 nitro cells. They haven't used any of them so far. 3 gas babes, Zoto canisters. So the delay is certainly there. The drop, though, comes through from Handies. They get moto control with 40 seconds remaining. Deals with the barbed wire. And the plan to go down inside of Arsenal now as well. Souls trying to get them down on the ground. There is one of those nitro cells.
Good shit.
In a second as well. Followed up from Canadian. And
Clean.
that stalled-out defense from Shopify will pay dividends. FaZe wanted to get moving at around that 40-second mark. Tried to force the action, but hadn't cleared out the site. Had found no kills and still have not. And Handy on the blitz, not going to be able to accomplish much from here. You should imagine from here, Shopify.
Good work.
Get on the board.
Yeah,
love that.
I mean,
love
10
that.
seconds, both of them on half health. They do get a nice take onto the first, but it's actually instantly traded, and a couple of shots that may as well not exist. Good opening there on the side of Rebellion. They lock it down. They do everything they need to do. They don't overextend.
What was that huge scream? Who was that?
Play into them.
Jesus.
I mean, you're going to be playing that bunker defense off of your utility nitro cells, gas babes, Zoto canisters, all the barbed wire that you've placed down. The idea, it's somewhat similar to what our previous
it fell down the flight of stairs.
They were better when they were trying to play those delay operators. They were trying to just waste.
Oh, it was from the other stream. Oh,
FaZe,
gotcha.
though, on the good news for them is they obviously are realizing this. They go at 40 seconds rather than 20 seconds. Gives themselves a bit more breathing room, a bit more space, a bit more time. They just couldn't find any picks, couldn't find any kills. And the util usage was absolutely amazing from Shopify too, with the nitro cells. Saw one come
This one's the most defender-sided map in the game. They need at least 4-2
You
half.
don't even really get FaZe any kind of opportunity in the round because you find 2-3 picks immediately. And at that point,
it is defender favored, but I wouldn't say it's the most in the game,
just
right?
Not going to be capable of throwing the round from there. We head up towards Gym Bedroom now for the second round. And this is where FaZe will get a bit more breathing room around the map and obviously look to open up. Clubhouse is very deep. These guys know what they're doing. And you're going to see the set play every time. So when it comes down to a default-based map like Clubhouse, it's all about the fine margins. Don't put, the foot in the wrong spot. Don't peek where you shouldn't peek. Don't stand in this position if there's, threats. So that's where Shopify on the defense have to be still very much perfect. Because if you make a mistake, FaZe will punish it, but also vice versa.
Now, will they look the same sort of drive and opportunity?
Skyscraper is statistically the most defender-sided map.
Back to basics, develop
Yeah, I
cross
believe
the
that.
breach, put pressure on,
That sounds about
starting
right.
on CC, make the openings and the rotations a bit more cautious and uncomfortable. For Shopify, they have the mirror window to try and play potentially a bit of C4 danger out the front of it, but you can also, if you're very talented, get catches with an impact. They wanted to pop it open themselves. It is, you know, an awkward approach now.
You on this team?
It's
Yep.
not impenetrable, but this
Yes.
is the game that you play on Clubhouse. When you remove the Kaid, when you remove the Maverick, you have to get a bit creative on how you can both repel and approach those hard walls. Here's the pressure onto CC I talked about, the stray bullet. On any other gun that has more than what feels like 5 shots in it, have done some damage.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty standard hold from Shopify where you have the extension towards cash side, but you know, because you've got that presence and pressure on the jacuzzi wall, they're actually doubling really down here on CCTV breach. So you've got Canadian that's sitting here as well on the Bandit. He's got the Shockwire battery. So it's all about trying to keep FaZe out of the map for as long as possible, and then eventually, you know, FaZe will get in, then you can fall back. Look at the time. There's only 1 minute 30 seconds remaining into the round, and they still haven't opened up either of the breaches. I mean, this is a really solid defense from Shopify, and it's up to FaZe now to sort of pivot, find new avenues, and that's exactly what KDS is doing. Now they got the breach opened up, but again, time has already been dwindled down. This has been a successful round of Shopify, but now it comes down to actually winning your fight, of which Canadian could not. Here comes the pressure towards red stairs as well. Through side Zera, Rexon just goes for a walk and gets punished.
That's
that
all
was
right.
not the position all the time to send
Still a
in
chance.
towards CCTV.
Still doable.
Zambi
Still
going for the
doable.
flank. Basically no one on site except for Grixer, and he's low on health. The map has opened up dramatically.
Ambi was able to get one, just snuck his way towards the top of red, took the head of the player that was inside the Fenrir mine, and has since then pulled himself back. But you're right, the realization from the side of FaZe is, well, is there only one on site? They didn't throw themselves in, though. Grixer, he sort of had the same idea. So he tucked himself ready on the close shot angle, hoping they just bled in towards.
I really like that
Dodgy
angle.
here, and they're taking things slow and steady. There's 30 seconds. They can still check. They can still drive. They're still in a 3 versus 2. They are still FaZe. Now with the 2 players, Shopify Rebellion stacked up,
let's
ready to
go.
rock and roll. Who's going to be the first catch? There's the
Nice.
spray down onto
Oh,
one.
this is not
The
gonna take a
Revenge is
second.
going to start bleeding.
Oh!
Wait,
Wait, he still got it.
Grixer in the back of our mind. gets
So
one, and
clean.
MB
Wait, how did he get
with
the second?
FNTA follows suit.
After getting the first pick, he stood up to like turn around and then still ended up getting the other guy.
Good reason. He's in stash. He looks
What the
back into
fuck?
what's
That was
site, not
huge.
expecting the second yet. Must have just turned around very quickly at the right time to find that second kill. Shopify Rebellion with a 2-0 start. It is club defense, but it's the way in which they won the round.
Damn,
That's the
wait, that
biggest
was
thing to me.
so
It's not
clutch.
necessarily that they won it, it's how they won it.
Hey, fuck yeah,
The
appreciate it,
extension
Michael.
Play, double breach with the stack over towards CCTV, Shockwire batteries. That's great. And then they started to throw a little bit when they got antsy coming out of cash back into CC. I felt like they got too aggressive at the wrong time, but credit to Ambi on the flank. You touched on it, Emmy. You brought it up. He gets a big
Did you
kill.
know much
He's
about the
able to
pro
then
scene
rotate back
and
up
Siege
the main
before
stairs,
owning your
double down
team? Yeah,
defense
I
on the
talked
site,
about Siege
and
pro
Grixer
scene for like the
able to
last year and a
stand
half.
strong in stash, finds two
I even had
kills,
like a
and just
whole
like that, they
spiel
win the
about how I
round.
think they have the
All
best trophies in
that stems to
esports.
the way they started
And then I
the
learned you
round.
don't actually get to
Pressure on
keep the
breaches,
trophies, so I
trying
was
to keep
really
FaZe out of
fucking
the
disappointed.
building. I thought they were very proactive on their defense, and it's a really strong start from them. This is the Shopify Rebellion that we didn't see in Montreal in this same matchup. Maybe it's because they were Sonic.
I mean, they're 50% of the way towards their total round count. They got the last time they were in a FaZe matchup. But again, there's so many if, buts, and maybes. This is a new
Why can't you
day,
keep
new
it?
dawn, new
I don't know. I don't remember what the reasoning
This is
was.
the new
But like their
approach, and
giant
obviously
sledge
we know
trophy,
the history.
you don't,
not
or
only
at least
of
you
players
didn't
that
when
are
we were
on
going
the
over
Shopify
it, get to
Rebellion,
keep
but
them.
also
You'd
super
give them
behind
back.
the
You
scenes,
pose
what
with
they
you
bring
pose
and
with
how
it for the
they
camera, and then you give it
brought the
back.
game so
I'm sure they still give you something, but it's not the most beautiful trophy that you see there. At least it wasn't
you know, getting
at the
involved in a
time.
game against a team on a major stage. That is one of the only true tests.
I will say though, for FaZe, it's not all doom and gloom. Both, I mean, probably more so that second round. Like that was a very winnable round. I thought that their ability to sort of adapt throughout the round as they like, okay, we've got this jacuzzi problem. Let's go CC. Okay, we've got
Did
the
you buy a
CC
replica
problem.
of it?
We're gonna blow it open.
Well,
We'll
if we
send
win
one
it,
down
I
to
will
We're gonna
absolutely.
try and
They don't
clear
let
them
us
out.
keep
If
it.
it's
I
going back
absolutely will
into
just have a
CCTV,
replica
we've got
made.
players in the right
100%.
positions, so
Yeah.
they're watching the right angles. The only downside to it all was Ambi just pulled off a really good flank, and then Grixer gets a double into stash, which he probably shouldn't have. Those two things don't happen, and they probably win that round. And it's club defense for Shopify. So as good as a starter as it is for the North American team, FaZe have still shown enough here that they can steal a couple of these attacking rounds, of which that would be very detrimental for SR.
Not taking any chances. Look at this.
It's a rental because Ubisoft can't afford to buy it.
KDS and the
That's
Deimos
true,
as
that
well to
makes
try and
sense.
hunt those loose players. They know that what the problem was the flank, was the loose play, was this positioning. They're not taking a risk with it again. They read one round of a game, really didn't like what they saw, and have dedicated themselves to locking it down and trusting they can still go for the approach. And the approach, I don't know if they've opened up the CC side. The wall, are they going to go for the trick? There's the player underneath with the ash charges that's stopping it happen. They're not going to risk their life, but the impact was impactless. I think they tried to catch the side of the wall. It goes open. The flashes start to come through, and now the pressure on towards red.
I mean, Rexon's going to have to do well here because I'm not sensing a lot of garage pressure from FaZe. They haven't brought the Capital, for instance, so he just needs to be the one to kind of put pressure towards Breach, try and watch in towards Cash if he can, along with CC Window. So Rexon's definitely one that in this round needs to be impactful.
Nice.
Cypher losing his
Good
surf.
fucking work. Oh, no, no.
But there was
oh, I thought he had that.
Did push through from garage, got the kill onto him, but it was immediately traded by Canadian, who was expecting that flank to come
Still
through.
huge. Good shit.
3-on-1 as Souls makes his way into the gas babe though, into what is a very dangerous position deep inside a catch. With 30 seconds left, he is surrounded and he seems absolutely hopeless in this position. Shopify Rebellion on the verge of a 3-0 start. Barring an absolute miracle here, and they're playing really patient here.
Yeah, there's no reason to just fucking send the kitchen sink at him or anything. It's a 3v1.
They know he hasn't got the kit. I mean, this is absolutely
beautiful. That was
well played, Siege. Fall back, don't peek, don't give him ones, don't let him have any kind of chance in this round.
I mean, there's the end of it, but let's
so clean,
slow it down
so clean.
And, you know, pull it back ground, break it down. That's a timeout. Understandable because FaZe, what's happened there, right? You know, you're looking at them doing the setup, doing the steps, doing what they do.
These guys play so well together. Well, yeah, if you follow Siege, you probably know their former team. This is Sonics. This is the Sonics roster.
One of the most common positions to play against it.
We have an amazing team. We have like an outstanding team.
The response is to just send themselves in. We see a very scrappy, uncomfortable firefight right on the door of the breach that they got in towards construction. We see the Deimos just throw himself in, back towards the window, going for the instant trade. We see the drive, then they open up onto the door of the bottom garage and get Rexon, but there's another player there. It feels like FaZe are operating almost with not all the intel that they should be gathering. Whether it's because they're confident on their gun skill.
Is Fenrir Jackal still auto-banned by almost every team in Ranked? I haven't played Ranked this season, so I'm not sure. I'm sure Jackal will be auto-banned in solo queue forever. But I don't know about Fenrir.
You gotta not underestimate the power of this roster, regardless of the fact that the last time you met, not too long ago, was a bit of a washout. They're just throwing themselves into these engagements. And you know,
who's your favorite op to play in Siege?
You should really
Deimos for sure.
I mean, in fairness for FaZe, the idea is pretty simple. You got CC.
I really like Deimos. Not even just because of the Revolver God meme, but he's just perfect for my tiny brain. Just mark someone, isolate 1v1. Perfect.
All of that is Rexon spoils it because no
Deimos
one
and Rook.
him immediately. There was eventually one player.
Thanks for 5 get the members, Charlie.
Garage, but they weren't in sync.
No,
they came a little bit later, and then Canadian gets the trade anyway.
But so did. You know, a little bit later was... You had all of the FaZe players, in fact, operated a little bit later. First one, charges in through the breach. Second one, the Deimos hops in the window.
Best of 3.
Third one,
it's best
comes
of 3.
in towards garage, gets traded out.
Thought you liked Mira?
Hops their way.
Brother, I never really played much Mira. I think you're getting the characters confused. You mean Frost? I played a lot of Frost.
And that's not very
I do like Frost.
No, well, this is the thing, right? For the people that are like, why are they talking about this? It's because you know, you compare a team to how good they can be. You put the sort of bar that they've shown, you know they can hit, and that's what you measure them against. And that is something where I think FaZe, you know, the timeout is very needed.
This is also their map pick. I mean, I know it's Clubhouse attack for them, so you always got to add that little caveat. But if Shopify get to like 6-0 or even 5-1, they are ahead.
It is compliments obviously paid onto Shopify. As you pointed out during the moments, how they played it was brilliant. They didn't overextend. They didn't offer the eager gunfight. They didn't pop themselves around at these uncomfortable angles. They had the cover and the watch, and let's see if that can continue after the break. Now, we have the Monty.
The Monty's going to go main here. I think you try and bait out a couple of Nitro cells, which can alleviate the pressure on the vert up above. You bring the secondary hard breach. The tin can openers can get some of these hatches opened up as well. Capital eventually will try and clear out back of Arsenal, so you bring that. I don't know why they didn't bring it in the previous round either and put pressure on Rafters, but alas, and it didn't work either. It's a pretty stock standard kind of hit from FaZe. They do have to twitch to try and eventually deal with that mirror window. Obviously, they're going to look to get pressure through the kitchen. This is going to facilitate the cap out. So FaZe have been fine when it comes to this checklist approach. My only concern, though, is, again, they're just kind of playing into the hands of Shopify, who are just sitting 5 on site, bunch of nitro cells, a lot of delay.
What do you think about the legend bans coming to Apex?
The gas babes.
I'm indifferent. I don't know. I'll have to wait to see how it works in practice.
So I think that, again, they look really
on paper.
well
I
set up.
like the idea, but it might end up
Canadian
being
need to
super
definitely
ass.
Get dislodged by the Capital if FaZe are going to have any chance of winning this.
This is it, though, right? You know, you're getting
Do
yourself
One Piece
set up
first,
with
Charlie,
this
I would
idea
say.
that they're doing
His
all the
membership,
steps,
cool.
all the process. There's Canadian getting the read on the Monty that's about
He's
to
going to
start
have to
trying
fall
to make
back.
their
When he
way
sees the
down.
Monty, he probably just has to fall back here.
Yeah, he can't stick it out. He's going to shoot him enough to try and slow him with the bullets so he doesn't get entirely caught out. He's looking for the cover. He hears the shield.
All the nitro?
On and back. And
The nitro
this
could
is
have been
all just
huge.
hot intel.
If it's a solo Monty,
Nah.
which he knows now, yeah, he has a go, but he wished it a
Wasted
little
the
bit to the
nitro.
left. But I think Canadian's thought process is solo Monty, no one playing behind, I can get that out.
Oh.
But now that second player is here. Handy, though.
Oh,
finding a
no.
double kill
Oh,
in
no.
towards the site.
Oof.
And in the end, it's 3 from Vidaking as it's a 5-on-1
Yikes.
phase. Absolutely clean up on site. This is something we
Eek,
haven't seen
eek.
in this
Alright,
map
hold
so
on.
far.
I know it went
Fourth
wrong. I was
round,
holding
it
my
is
pee for
FaZe
too
that
long.
take
It went sour. Let me pee
comprehensively.
real quick.
Pretty much just through sheer gunpowder more than anything, able to
Yeah.
win all of the fights. Handy finding 2. Vidaking got 1 as well at the end there, and yeah, that was very dominant.
If anything, that is the example that we were sort of making before of when we went FaZe are operating at different levels. That was all together, right? Look at how that round played out. They went for the control of the map and the loose space. They got it. Then they got the sort of breach on the hatches that they wanted to make things accessible on towards kitchen. But then they rotate themselves back round. You have, I think it was 3 of them pushing onto blue, 2 of them pushing on towards dirt itself, and they just pinch at the same time. You can see it in the back end there, and it doesn't give Shopify Rebellion an opportunity to try and pull these loose individual gunfights.
I wonder if a part of that round is that Canadian just got so caught up in the little battle with the Montaigne. Throws his nitro cell, he's completely distracted, so it becomes a bit difficult when it comes to aiding out and calls, and he's so focused on that dirt push. He knows there's 2 players there, which does then mean for Shopify they've got numbers elsewhere, but if Handy's just going to push in, find a double kill, and he is certainly capable, one of the top players in the world, then that's going to alleviate pressure for FaZe pushing forward. Then they have the numbers, they can sweep site, they know Canadian is stuck over towards dirt, you know, Grix is going to be over towards dummies. At the end of the day, as great a start as it has been for Shopify, you've still now given up an attacking round here on Clubhouse with 2 rounds to go. FaZe find a second attack, and they will be very difficult to stop on their own defensive side. So for Shopify, again, it's been good, but it needs to be great if they're going to beat FaZe.
Now, the pressure is starting to put themselves back in here. Shopify, as you said, they know that the game is going to start to step up from this point. We might have.
Yeah, I will be
showdown
doing
and back
watch
and forth
parties
on
for
our
the
hands. You
Halo
can see
squad
Vidaking
as
is
well.
already
I know I
feeling
missed the
pressure
ones
here. They've got
yesterday.
Capital that's trying to force the players out, and there was a player almost ready for the catch. But again, it is this group movement. It is this rotation. Now, it was quite late on that they finally went for the execute here over towards the top, and they started well. If it wasn't for a big rotation and a plucky bit of attitude from a stuck-in Logi play, it might have been and probably should have been a phase round. The first is Surf caught, and this is full focus phase. Once again, they have to watch on towards the
I'm not sure what Surf is doing there to die. I mean, it's very normal to have 1 top red, 1 cash, and you leave them. You don't have to help them. They're there for a reason. They can either fight their way out, find a couple of
Thanks,
picks,
membership
or
birds.
they stay and fight. Ultimately dying, but it's about can you take anyone with you. Surf does not need to be in towards Con. Just gives up a freebie to Handy.
Ooh,
Now,
almost a
double push
team
over
kill.
towards top red. You've still got Canadian.
It was
around
close.
while he's dead.
Oh, and he does
okay,
get
hold
KDS,
on, hold on. We at least got
and,
one
he
off
started
that.
to try and put the pressure back in, but it's Rexon that's probably going to be the next that suffers the fate in the face of a Montaigne. There is some support coming on towards construction. They're on the door. The Monty's calling all of this out, and they've sort of got themselves a little bit of cross angle, but it's a dangerous stack
Why
up.
are they fighting cash?
Great take from that kill on the door, but I mean, the Monty change from Vidaking, just reading out or hauling all the information, puts them once again in a Grixer and Ambi versus 4 situation. Can they try and repeat the magic against the Monty?
He's not
even
even
open.
They don't need it. They're just
No, I
forcing
know,
their
but
way
then why
through.
is Shopify playing cash? Why are they trying to just triple down onto cash position? You can fall back, play site. Jacuzzi's pretty much locked down. Ambi with another big
No,
kick.
boy.
Had to get
All right.
one.
This
Not
would be
because it was easy, but because they
that was
tried.
always
a difficult shot in the end phase. Clean house. It's a very easy cash side push because, well, Shopify basically fed them, and we've given them plaudits. They've been great through the opening 3 rounds, and we were very much riding their train, but that was their worst round they've played so far in this match, and FaZe will punish you. If FaZe are basically saying, okay, you're doing a mirror trick over towards Jacuzzi, we're not going to bother. We're going to go on the cash side.
Please use Metal Gear.
CCTV. Shopify, like, great, we've got a couple of players there, we might get some picks, but you don't need to triple and quadruple down in that position when you have Jacuzzi locked down. They just kept throwing bodies. I mean, Surf gets called over towards construction early on because he's not sure. Should I play site? Should I hold con? Should I go to cash? So the hold for Shopify is just all over the place there.
The change to the Monty has entirely changed the face of
The
this
Monty
game.
has, definitely been impactful. They're struggling to deal with it.
Oh, entirely. And it's a weird thing
A
to
good
sort of talk
Monty
about
always
the
is
side
just
of
kind of hard to
Shopify
deal with.
struggling to deal with the Monty because they're a team
They just
that
get so
enjoys
much
to the point where
info
it
out of
started
it, it's
very
nuts.
Fun, heated conversation about, you know, the definition of a great Monty player between some of our analysts and, you know, some of our, I'm not going to name names, Pengu and Laxing, but there was a bit of a back and forth as to how to utilize the shield to its best ability and who might be great shields. Now, some names were named that
Yeah,
are in this
4-2
lobby.
half would still be good for us.
And, you know, you expect everybody to have a handle on how to deal with them, and here it's just panicking, a bit of healing.
Man, I gotta
back.
shower, I'm
Here will
greasy.
also be a good test. Will they try and shut down the Rexon position first? The one that sort of pulled the thread last time round. They have the Capital, they have the Monty, they have everything for a classic push. And the
It's
Blackbeard.
6.5 inch,
Wants to try and
6.5
stick
inch
themselves in a little bit more
Johnson, so a
shield.
bit above
Now, Andy
average
was
meat.
free to drift around and open it
Wouldn't
up.
necessarily say the
Assuming
largest of
there'll be some
Johnsons.
pressure onto quad wall, maybe even onto Blue and Adam. See if that is the approach made. There is the door popped open. There is some focus.
Something
made.
wacky for you. Halo Studios has
Surrounding
hired the
game.
marketing and product managers from Concord.
Quiet. KDS might be the
What a
terrorist
dream
role
team.
and the
You're
trick of
making
the
a joke,
bandit.
right? That's a joke?
Isn't quite netting anything. Is the Blackbeard going to try and frag out from the back end? It's a good operator for this exact role.
Wow,
Probably
the
puts a lot
Concord
more towards
marketing
Bandit
director
cooking.
has just been
There
hired
it
by
is.
Halo Studios, apparently.
That'll just get rid of those charges, get rid of the player.
As of an hour
Second
ago.
one and the breach will
That can't
get
be
open.
real.
Get out of there, Surf! Get out of there!
No, we can't have Surf get picked again. I wasn't looking. What happened?
CC breach open. Focus now. How are they going to formulate the take onto Garage?
Yeah, I mean, this is aggressive from Ambi, but I like it in this instance. He's playing behind the bike. He knows that there's probably less pressure coming elsewhere. Yellow ping, though, information on his location. He has to now rotate around, goes towards Lounge, but he's offering a point of difference. If Shopify just have all 5 players on site, up above, like, they're not going to be very volatile towards FaZe. So Ambi is providing that. He is being the one that's a little bit chaotic, and he's playing it quite well. He's playing it quite safe, falls off when he knows the pressure's on.
Vidaking takes a huge blow. The first time we've seen the
Oh,
Monty suffer, but with
okay.
Cyber
Traded
running in
it,
and
traded
running
it.
right back out.
We'll
Surf
take it.
has the response.
There we go.
There's Ambi getting KDS, and suddenly Vidaking is a man on an island full of motorcycles. Can he try and find his way out of here? Could try and drop hit and get a rotate round there, opening up some space. Handy's off towards the side
Come
of
on,
stock
come on.
itself. They have Ambi
Lat
trapped,
spread.
caught, but they also only have 45 seconds. They can try and push themselves
No!
to the fight. They do. Now they want to try and keep pushing on. They have a good read on who's coming in behind them. Canadian.
Just hold that. Hold that. Trust me.
Yeah,
Trust me. Just hold it.
Look at
Ah,
the two
fuck.
players, both FaZe, sort of saying, "Look, we know you are there." But all he's doing is trying.
Oh, do they
to
know
get
Canadians there?
exactly that reaction. Up main. There's the control coming towards the default plant. What do they have to stop it here?
I mean, a little bit of pressure now onto Grixer and Surf as Canadian slowly making his way back through Con. That's so unfortunate for Surf to lose his
That's
life there at
tragic.
the match. Really weakens the site now for Shopify Rebellion. Last 10 seconds of the round. There is Canadian late and slow on the flank and on the rotate back from Bar. And in the end, FaZe will now make it 3 attacking
thanks
rounds
for the
in a row.
membership
They have
fridge.
adapted so quickly, so well
Holy shit.
in this matchup. After a 3-0 start for Shopify Rebellion, they give up 3 attacking rounds in a row to FaZe. It's all 3 and 3 at the half, but that's not good enough on a clubhouse defense. And for all the good work from Shopify, it has evaporated so quickly. And FaZe, again, just flexing their muscles, showing us what
God
they're
damn it.
capable of, what
Yeah,
our
that Monty really
expectations
changed
are
it for
of
him.
this team.
That was a good pick.
There's a part of it which sort of looks at the Monty now and looks towards the next map, but you probably know that, well, it's not going to get banned because it's something that, you said before, Shopify Rebellion like to use and like to bring, but it was
Thanks,
entirely
membership, Obvi.
just the lockdown, the shutdown
Watch
of
with
any
Fed.
of the control.
I'd be up for that another
that they
time.
wanted to get.
Not
They
today though. Today I'm
utilised
just
the operator
full,
brilliantly. They
just
sort of
full
brought some
chilling.
attention, and the fun sort of idea.
But that's
of
super
looking
sweet.
back
I'd definitely
at
be
it
up for
is
that.
If you go towards the last time these two teams hit, FaZe banned the Monty both maps. And that is sort of this conversation I had before, where you prep and prep and prep.
This is
against a
SI.
team. They're a
This
great
is SI.
responsive team. Shopify learnt on that. They said, well, you know, we can play against this. But now that the
Yeah,
Monty's
dropping
out,
3 in
now
a
that
row on
FaZe have
defense
gone,
for this is
okay, look,
pretty
we're a
hard.
rotation team. How can we
That's
change this and
not
play this?
optimal, but
It sort of stumped them.
the team's good enough
I'm
to
gonna
still be
honest,
fine
like,
here, I
look at the
think.
opening kills as well. To give up 4 opening kills in the first half, and you're playing on defense club, that's a little bit startling for me.
Yep.
And one of those rounds obviously wasn't converted, which was the second round on Gym Bedroom. That arguably was a round I felt like FaZe maybe should have won if they were a tiny bit critical, but also coupled with that was some really good siege from Shopify in that particular round to offset.
Did SSG
opening
go
kill
already?
for
Yeah, they were
FaZe,
playing before this match.
Nevertheless, now the pressure on to Shopify.
Nice.
Wow, Cyber's just
Good shit.
Yeah. I was like sort of waiting for that to find its end there. They shut him down inside the bar. The power
Cheeky,
of the
very
Blackbeard,
cheeky.
And, you know, Canadian, a great shield player, beats that in the same role that we sort of saw from the Monty Cyber. Gets
Oh,
locked
SSG
out.
just lost on map 3? Oh,
Well,
fuck.
from this point onwards, the
Well,
first
there's
kill.
the
Jinxie in
opening kill,
shambles
though.
right now, I
was
bet.
just touching on it. Obviously, it's been a big factor for FaZe. They've been very successful in that department. But for Shopify to get that opening pick, usage of the Blackbeard, nothing really that Cyber can do. I mean, it was just completely pinned down in that position. Throws out a desperate Hail Mary, quite literally, with the frag grenade, but with the impact. But either way, 3-3, minute and a half, a big attacking round to begin for Shopify. Can rectify some of the issues that they definitely have to overcome.
I'm optimistic
Multi-bomb
for the
rings
Switch
out.
too.
Courtesy of Ambi, still has one more available. Feels a little bit late though, getting to work here on the floorboards. Minute 20, haven't really dealt with Kitchen either, so I mean, Turf's gonna have to be very quick here with the Skeleton Key. I mean, the hatch has been opened up, but look at the floorboards, not really opened up.
Yeah, you're thinking about now the approach setup. Talked about it with FaZe before when they then rotated the shield round and did the drive. It is still one of the most locked down sites, one of the only sites where people, you know, can entirely be within it and have a lot of place for wiggle room, a lot of place for play. The pressure.
No Capital either in terms of clearing out some of these back positions, so it'll be very direct, especially what we're seeing here from Canadian on the Blackbeard.
Come on, Abby. Come on.
Now
come
they're
on.
popping and stopping every single entrance onto the door. The Blackbeard is desperate to swing around the corner, but look at all these FaZe bodies. 3 guns pointed towards the approach here. They know pipes is the story and the answer, but they can't quite get close enough. Handy locks down Surf on the side. They've gotta apply pressure somewhere else. There is a
Oh, nice fucking shot. Oh my
gets
god.
one over the top. He's fighting for his life. He's singing for the next.
Sorry,
but it's
doable,
Vidic and
doable. Come on.
that bring us into the 2 versus 2. Still caught out in it. Grix is trying to dig his way past the A case on the back end of it, but now it's 2 separate 1 versus 1s. The first one to win is probably going to take the round, but there's only 10 seconds, so the pressure here is on Shopify.
Nice.
They're trying to swing their way round, but
Come on.
6 seconds here. Vidic gets a huge
That's
swing.
Kit.
That's the kit. That's the drop. That's the sprint for Vidic.
Wow. That's a real shame. That's a real shame.
Round that just kept cooking and cooking
Eek.
and cooking.
I mean, that is absolutely clinical from Vidic and what FaZe are capable of as one of the best teams in the world. They have that in their bag. They have that in all of their players who are all capable of something like that. That is a round that Shopify Rebellion in North America probably win that 10 out of 10. But not against a team like FaZe. You just give them an inch, they take the whole arm. Ambi gets a huge kill there because at that point in the round, I felt like they were getting stalled out. He opened things up for them. Vidic then gets the kill. That's the kit on the floor with 4 or 5 seconds left.
The Prime
at that
Kitten.
point, the only way to win the round is essentially run at Vidic. He is up for the task. He hits the quick shot. 4-3 to FaZe. That's 4
Nah, I
rounds
don't
in
think
a
that's a
row
good
now
idea
as
at all,
well.
Dev.
And Shopify probably just sitting here like, we're not playing that bad, are we?
No. And this is like, if you sort of compartmentalize the conversations there, as I said, at one point it turned into 2 1 versus 1s, right? You have the battle around the back end of Arsenal and A-Case. You have the one that's on Pipes Wall. The one on Pipes Wall is the one with the kit. Canadian, in response to this, goes round the back, but it turns into a violent ring around the Rosies where suddenly he's now going towards the default plant position underneath the kitchen hatch. but the fight that was in Arsenal has rotated its way around on towards blue.
Are drops enabled?
He is caught
Probably. Should
by
they should be.
King, who reacts at the perfect time to see the back of a Blackbeard sprinting away. If Canadian was just facing 90 degrees to the right, he is not killed in that situation. But in that situation, with 5 seconds, all he is thinking is, I have to get to my teammate, I have to get to this plant point, because we know where King
All
is.
right. Let's get back in the driver's seat, huh?
Is
Our ass, their face.
does King things and FaZe. 4
Man,
rounds
giving up 4
in a
straight is
row.
rough.
Shopify Rebellion have drifted a little bit away from the power position they were in.
Yeah, I can't believe Luka was traded either,
they're
man.
only one
Nobody
round
can.
behind.
It's a crazy, crazy trade.
That's one way you can look at it.
Yeah.
But they have also lost 4 rounds in a row.
Yeah. It's glass half full, glass half empty.
Yeah. FaZe, to their credit, and this is sometimes the case with these top teams, they kind of do these heroic plays and they play really well, and maybe they don't always get the plaudits because we expect that from them. It's almost like we expect FaZe to always just play perfect, and that's not always going to be the case. They're human beings. They make mistakes, but FaZe, slow start, and then bam, it's just like a snap.
There we go, there we go.
Suddenly they're just back to FaZe. That
An
we know.
entry?
Emby with a big opening.
There we go. Oh, boy. Okay, 2. There we go. Man, Emby is fucking cooking.
Up to 11 with that kill onto King. Advantage for Shopify as they look to hit the site hard and fast. Grix are able to double down the advantage for Shopify, but short-lived. Emby finally shut down. Big battle for souls towards top red. Slips into
Oh my god!
Can he find another pick as the plant goes down inside of CCTV? No one able to stop Canadian. The kid is on the floor.
All right, good plant.
Threading the needle and dancing, dipsing, dodging, diving, and dropping the bodies either side of it. But as they just push their way through, Souls and Handy.
No! Okay, we traded it. We traded it. That's fine.
Find 2 more. Could it be the first ace that we have of the tournament so far? Dockerby slips off into the night and has the cross-cut ready.
I don't even think we need to challenge it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we need to challenge it. He's kind of on a heater right now. Just I don't think we challenge him there.
90-degree fight. There's the first, but it's just
Nice.
over the sliver.
Perfect.
There is Shopify. Dig their teeth, their claws, and everything in.
Well, I mean, forget the end of that round. It doesn't really matter. It's a 2v1 post-play.
Thanks, John.
Souls was always going to be in a very difficult position to win that, and well played. They didn't peek. They didn't give him an outlet. It's the middle portion of that round. It's the fast hit from Shopify, seemingly out of nowhere. They just pick up the pace.
Prime Callum.
They play a little bit differently than what we've seen from them in this match so far, and they just go. And FaZe, I think, got caught napping. They were completely unexpected of the push. Ambi has been sensational.
I remember that
in this
GTA.
game
Yeah,
so
of course.
far. 11-5 for a player that is playing against the caliber of FaZe and putting up these kind of numbers, but most importantly, getting some very crucial entry kills for Shopify Rebellion, and that is why they are being competitive against FaZe, is because of Ambi. He is having a huge game right now. Gritzer as well, 9-4. I mean, those two have been sensational for Shopify. 4-4, an attacking round on the board, and with that gives them a bit of hope that, hey, we can do it. Look what we can do on the attack here. FaZe could do it. We
have a CS2 team eventually.
4-4.
Eventually we will.
And I know I've been like not negative, but you can't ignore the elephant in the room, and the elephant is 4 rounds
Shopify
over
team.
2
Yep.
maps on a major stage. Hey, different
Thanks,
brand.
membership,
Hey,
E1.
you've got Shopify Rebellion on your chest. Wear it. They are wearing it. They've equaled their performance so far. One more round, they've improved upon their performance.
We're in a.
That's great mental game.
I think the last thing on Shopify's mind right now was what happened in Montreal. They look focused here.
Listen,
they look
glass half full. new crest, new logo, new us, new year. Who dis? Shopify Rebellion. They should have that as the advertising slogan. You're allowed that if you're listening.
You're gonna just give it over, like the intellectual property.
Do you have a COD esports team? Fuck no.
I think for
I
FaZe as well
cannot
now,
stand professional
after that
COD.
previous round, they'll probably
That and
be a little
Fortnite, I
more
just cannot
prepared
stand
to
the pro scene
Shopify
of. I just think it
and
is so
pick up the
boring.
pace and be more adaptable. So
That is not
FaZe
for
are very
me.
good at learning on the fly and figuring things out. We saw that in the first half. You gotta remember, this is a 3-0 start for Shopify, and then FaZe adapted. You know, and so okay, Shopify get a round win that was not quite conventional. FaZe will probably adapt. So that's where their strength is as a roster and as a team, and why they're one of the top teams in the world. That's why for Shopify to win this map, and let alone the series, they're going to have to be perfect. They're going to have to play arguably their best level of Siege. And I think they've shown glimpses of that in this match so far.
None yet,
What
Salty.
you're looking at here is, again, a very lateral take. If you're unaware, when you're trying to get control of the gym side, You need to lock down the cross-peak possibility from CCTV. You need to make sure that staircase...
Can't help but notice no one's employing any of my strats of just picking Deimos and isolating one guy and just going fucking hog wild, doing everything you can to kill that one guy for the entry. It's weird.
Any
Weird.
engagement. There's
I'll
a
have to
couple
teach
of
him that
players
one.
being a little bit flirtatious with an open hatch, but unfortunately the only thing they're seeing right now is air. There is also the Valkyrie underneath, and a lot of that is soft
Appreciate it,
floor
Epic.
for them to play against. So now the question becomes, okay, Shopify, do we focus towards the Valkyrie, focus towards that vertical control so we know we're safe to go for the plant, or just throw ourselves in? The first approach here is on towards Jacuzzi. Long look across the gym equipment. The only thing being lifted right now is utility, as they're still trying to just weigh each other out and put that pressure on. But 50 seconds, something's got to give.
Yeah, they finally got Jacuzzi opened up. Canadian still has a lot of bolts remaining too on the Capitao. This is where you really do need to make your push. You don't want this to go down to 15, 20 seconds, for example. That's going to benefit FaZe. Soul starting to move around, play some off-angle position.
No.
Like position, headshot swing onto Ambi, essentially covering two positions with one spot. Soul
Damn.
played that perfectly. Does lose
Maybe
his
though?
shot,
Maybe though?
Actually find two in quick succession, and with that, suddenly the door opens up for them.
They have the ping on the player underneath. They know there's only two inside the site, and they're in. Now they can try and get themselves
There we
up
go,
to the
psyched
races
up.
and get the
No!
They're on the bulletproof bed, but the bullets swing right
Okay,
their way
we
across
traded it.
Grixer.
Come on.
Gets that response towards Vidaking, but 10 heavy seconds
Fuck.
start to tick, and Handy ticks them right both off. FaZe still keep themselves one step ahead, but now we are in the territory of trading rounds, hitting blows back and forth. Can there be a response from Shopify Rebellion?
It's competitive. I mean, it's competitive Siege. I think Shopify did some good things, some arguably maybe some bad things in that round, but I think largely good things. I thought Soul was just super impactful from this position. It's a good little off angle, playing the doorway towards Con while still watching outside onto the balcony. It's a difficult position because he can die from two different ways. So he has to time it perfectly. Ends up finding a big
No,
kill.
I'm not playing
Handy
Poppy
at the end,
Playtime
double
Chapter
kill.
4.
We know he's capable of that. One of the top
Not
players,
happening.
and a 5-4 lead for FaZe, certainly apt, very much deserved. For Shopify, this is the kind of game that you might end up losing, say 7-4, 7-5.
A little calm A, little calm B their mission. I just don't like COD esports. I just do not like it.
Sick of that. They're probably sick
Every
of that
match
kind
I've
of
watched
mentality.
is just
They wanna
not
win. They wanna
fun.
take down these top teams. They want to get to that hammer. To do that, you've got to go through teams like FaZe, for instance. So, Handy 11-5 leading the way for FaZe. No surprise.
Yeah, I'll be playing Kingdom Come 2 tomorrow.
It's Ambi and Grixer who have been
Hope you're doing
leading
well,
the
Stamp.
way. All three of those players on 11 kills, but FaZe as a team have been far more spread in their efforts. All 5 players very much giving something, performing quite well. Even KDS, he might be 3-8, but he's got a lot of assists.
From this point onwards, there's still eyes on towards, obviously, Canadian getting themselves in. The Blackbeard, over the Ossa, even. Different shield operator as towards they had when the
shield,
Blackbeard.
it's all the same.
Yeah, shield ops are shield ops, but, you know, you think about
This
now,
one you can place on the ground.
True. You can also place it on windows.
These are subferred.
And sometimes indoors.
I don't know. I'll have to hop back on Siege pretty soon. It's been
Thanks
like
for the
2
breakdown
months.
of what else
It's been a while. I've just been too deep on that
but we
Rivals
have
grind.
a bit of a mobility choice here. It's a Canadian. The problem we talked about before was he didn't really know the right place to be, because it's easy for us to look down and say this is the best place to make that decision amongst the heat of the fire with 5 seconds left. Close to impossible. Now he can leave the first.
Yeah, we
move
watched the
on.
Final
See if he
Destination
can try and
trailer.
find a different opportunity.
And I'm
a different
excited for
route. He
Season
can
3 of
offer
Invincible.
himself a little bit more support, and a little bit more mobility, if he has time to set up.
What I like about the Ossa is it's very flexible. It's a very versatile operator here for basement on Clubhouse. There's a couple of ways you can play it. So you can push down oil pit through blue. You can go dirt, main stairs. The drop even from kitchen, technically with the shield in hand, is also another way in which you can play it. So it really comes down to the way in which Shopify feel like there's the weakness and try and hit that with that Ossa, with those shields. Keeping him alive in terms of Canadian is certainly going to be very much a high impact play for them.
At least we're moving faster on this
He's
here.
gonna be a big part of their win condition in this round.
I think a big problem was
Something to
playing
kinda look
slow.
at. He's going to be the one that essentially unlocks round for them, even if it is as
Is
simple
membership okay?
as just dropping Hatch and planting behind, one of his shields.
Now the pressure on towards the mirror window, and this power position that was played back and forth. They actually opted to try and go for the triple reinforce on the church wall this time, but it's not going to fully stand. However, that is currently a hop breach, which is a very uncomfortable one to try and move in, take a firefight at the same time. So whether they opt for the widening of it,
Holy
or
shit, thank you for the 20 gifted
limited
members, Mal.
utility is needed elsewhere. Not entirely sure.
Appreciate
if there's a lot
that.
of
Hope you're doing
juggling
well. Hope you're having a
done.
good day.
What else is left to be done? So with Buck losing his hard breach charges, they're down to just the Habana. play alongside it. Stacked, ready to rock and roll on the kitchen hatch, but what are they cooking up? An Oster shield drop. They're going to get themselves deployed. It'll only take one explosive to stop it. They're tucked around the back. The cover's on the kitchen hatch.
Okay.
Get one, but they're not
No.
traded back and forth on towards Dirt and Canadian. He's tucked, waiting,
It's all right, though.
a 3 versus 3
on.
because Cyber is in no man's land.
Oh!
There's the attempt on the plant.
God, we need
to try and kill somebody that's whiffed and missed and a post-plant situation with vertical
Okay,
control.
we got the diffuser down at least.
Has thrown himself in and got
It's
themselves
doable,
knocked
it's
down. They might
doable,
even be able
it's
to get
doable.
Cyber back up, which they're going to do right now, so it's a 4 versus 2. But as long as they've got vertical here, as long as they have this position, FaZe have to clean it out. They're going to have to send 2 bodies up.
Come on, Grixer,
Grixer,
come on.
ready for the first engagement.
Yep.
Deep across the bar,
Nice.
serving up pain.
Perfect.
Now with 3 versus
Surgical.
2, 20 seconds. Again, 7 of that has to be the defuse, so they've only really got a pocket full to work with. They're playing
it's cost
against
them on
it.
the right side,
They're
isn't it?
slipped around. There's the take, there's the drop. There's only
Yes!
a little bit left in it now. You've just got to hold it. But it's
Woo!
one that Shopify
That
got
was
right
clean.
back in.
That was clean.
So in
That was clean.
round, Shopify really well played. They play to their win con, which is going to be the kitchen drop, Otter shield, and then play from above. They did that, and they did that well. But I'm sorry to say, FaZe, that was a really bad attempt to retake. That was awful. That was a
Man, the
4v2,
commentators in
and all you
Siege
have
do
to do
not
is
hold
essentially
back.
go up main, pressure
Most other
kitchen,
games are like,
kill the player in kitchen.
if FaZe could have done better on the retake here, they're like, man, these guys fucking suck ass, huh?
I felt like was
That was the worst thing I've seen in my life.
watching an angle that he needed to.
I think I'm gonna
It
just
so
leave.
happened that
I'm
Handy
done here.
Went for that flank. He gets a free kill. So Handy and Co would love to have that moment back again. That was certainly I've seen teams in OS be able to retake better than that. I have to be cool. I'll take that one back. But you know what I'm saying here. It's
They keeping it a buck. Hey, I appreciate it. I like it.
It's your read.
I prefer that.
So, the timeout is called by Shopify. A little bit of a surprise move here, but you trust the team to work it. Again, if you're unaware, this is the one moment throughout a game where the coach, super on the back there, is allowed to talk to the team, but at the same time, the other team is also allowed to talk to their coach. So FaZe are offered the same.
I've got to say, in terms of the plaudits here to Super, not a lot of teams will necessarily take what
It's definitely up there, Simple. I agree.
It's always the
I've been saying that for a while.
It's always like, oh, we've lost a couple of rounds in a row, timeout. But sometimes you can play well, take the timeout, and it's all about reinforcement.
Yeah, or the classic Helby timeout. So there was the time where Helby, the coach, I can't remember what roster it was at the time, realized the team they were playing against were getting really toxic against each other. So they won a round, and then he called a timeout just to sort of tell to his players, look, this is less about me talking to you, but more about I can see them shouting at each other over there.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them stew,
Jinxie wants a kiss?
Well, 5-5.
Yeah.
There's a few.
I mean, at this point, it's a brawl, and I love that. There is nothing more exciting than when you start to see on the biggest stage at the biggest tournament, the bigger teams that have possibilities of not only hitting the main stage, but maybe lifting the hammer.
There's not much difference right now between them. I think both teams have shown that they've been able to win rounds through sheer
Did you win the Apex tournament? We were so fucking close. We were 3 points away. We got 4th. We were so close to being world champions, man. It was so fucking close. I actually couldn't sleep that night.
Being able to win
I was up just playing Path of Exile 2 till 6 a.m. because I couldn't sleep.
I still get the feeling that FaZe, because they're on defense, slightly in favor, but you cannot take your eyes away from this game right now because Shopify Rebellion on the attack are finding avenues through different means. You know, previously we've seen it with Ambi, be able to kind of push in, get a couple of kills. Then we saw it in the last round where things weren't quite working, but they stuck to the game plan, one based on their win con. What have they got for us here? Rexon, well, he goes over to the Glaz. Talk about a big switch up here. I'm going to be very curious to see how this works because it's the kind of operator.
I got a Dream Fragment yesterday, sold for 90 div.
Really great. It's going to look really
good shit. Hey, congrats. I haven't had a good drop in days.
What a dictation on towards the pace. Now, you might be questioning if you're a newer viewer coming in towards this, the impact versus the drone. Drones are some of the most important parts of this game. Intel drives success here, and especially around a team that is built on towards Canadian and his classic play style of let's do this, let's learn this, and then do this. It's operation. The smokes cover on towards at least some of the attention here. They're trying to find an inroad.
This is taking too long, though.
Yeah, I was about to say we're playing this much slower. I don't think we play. I don't think we play well going this slow. Eek. Okay, traded it though. Good shit. Okay, wait a minute.
They're in.
Wait a minute.
And so far,
Caught with my dick in my
it's
mouth.
working out.
Good work.
They're in
Good
the
work.
The race is Ambi. He wants to swing and put the pressure on.
They don't even know.
In the second, he
Okay.
can't quite find it.
Could have been more, but still really good. Good shit.
Around them. Handy, he's holding on to
It's open now. It's open now.
On the back of the table, but
Well, I mean, it's not really like open now, but we have numbers.
So the
I
Glass
guess we
is
can't
not
really
going
push
to be able to
cash.
play off those smokes, either from the Capital or his own smoke, something to consider. Logic Bomb's still available for
Where's your
Grixel,
sub-captain?
along with the Firebolt as well for Canadian. In terms of the utility still remaining for both of those two, there's basically nothing, though, for Handy and for Vidaking. This is a rather even round, but Shopify have the edge. With 40 seconds
Cheetah,
left,
hope you're well.
3v2, and just a tiny bit more utility as they start to make their way in. Canadian through rafters.
Come on,
with
baby.
the
Come on,
kick,
baby.
And now it's all about getting it down successfully.
No!
And shot
Boy,
from Vidaking
boy,
goes
oh
to
boy, we needed
Grixel.
that. We needed that one.
Sideswipes his head, and suddenly now Canadians entry
Okay.
into the site. Not going to be that easy.
Absolutely massive take.
Okay, wait, he's living.
No, look at the
He's
health of
living.
Canadian. He's a sliver, and they know they got to try and push right now because it's the only time. It's a 2 versus 1.
Oh my god, good shit, Rexon.
Oh my god.
Oh, you know he's red. You know he's red. You know he's red.
Can they try and get themselves?
They're not sure where he is.
Seconds.
No, wait, they know he's
We are
red.
Ticking our way once again towards the end. He's got to try and cross the divide. The distance.
He got off the
Why
block.
did you get off the block,
he's back on
Canadian?
it.
Hold back
He's
on.
on.
He's down. No.
What?
Unbelievable, Canadian.
What was that?
What?
No.
What happened?
Oh,
Okay,
Canadian.
Wait. Let us slow that down because it got a little
Okay.
bit loosey-goosey at the end there.
Well,
That is where
that was a
composure
throw.
needs to be at its paramount, and an unfortunate moment for Canadian. He gets off the plant. Not at that moment. This replay's too late. There was so many more moments even prior to it. Well played from Handy, and it
What
goes
the
back a little
fuck?
bit. I didn't
What?
quite have the time to sort of talk about it as it happened. But the rotate down towards Lounge to open up the floorboard says to Canadian, there's pressure down below, and I can't plant default now because of it.
Yep.
But Handy never, ever stayed there to watch it. He just opens the floorboard and runs back.
Oof, they knew he was red, though.
We're going to break that down just very quickly into how that went down. Because, you know,
Damn.
a lot happened. So that part was brilliant. He put the phantom pressure
Yeah,
on.
all named the
Phantom
same,
pressure,
Sean.
The concept of sieges, you have an opening. Now they have to know whether it's being watched or not. Great. Instantly pulls himself back up.
You seen 33 Immortals? It's a cool MMO roguelike beta. I did not.
And you can never really know because you're
I really hope that doesn't tilt us.
Is the player pushes across
Like,
the
we're
site,
still
Canadian
overall playing really well. That's just a super unfortunate blunder.
Gets killed or gets dropped or down. So they were expecting the player to just try and sprint straight past.
So who gets a say
He
for who can be
expected
on the
player to
team?
come into his firefight. It
Same as when it was
doesn't
Moist
happen.
Esports.
And
The only thing
stops
that changed is
himself,
the name.
just goes for the
And the
one
name
versus
changed
one
because
engagement on the
we got
player
denied
outside,
immigration
maybe
visas
thinking
and
we'll be a
almost
post
lost our
mark, but I
teams
can win
for
the
it.
next engagement.
Oh,
Who knows?
our Apex
Canadian
team for it.
Gets off. At that point, he is
Everything
in a
else,
sticky
everything is
situation.
exactly the
Then
same.
he gets back on it.
Just
Then
a
he gets
different
back on
name.
It, and then he gets off again.
And then he gets off again.
Then he gets back on it.
And then he gets off again. It's super easy for us to sit here and say what the right or the wrong play is because
you got to commit to at some point. You have to make the commit, and that's where the composure. And Canadian has that composure. He just couldn't show it there in that moment, and that's the reality. Is it should be 6-5 to Shopify.
Oh
Cyber them
boy!
with the
Oh
opening
boy!
kick.
And
This
we
is
just
where
got
FaZe
pit.
are just so
Oh
good.
yeah.
They will punish you, and now in your head for Shopify, it's like
that's
you
tough.
still got that
That's
little
tough.
moment of doubt. Comes into this next round.
All right.
Two pinning
It's all
kills.
right.
Say
That's
goodbye
all
to
right.
Rexon and Grixer. Becomes a 5 versus 3, and now FaZe are on the precipice of taking this opening
Maybe,
match. But
maybe.
Canadian wanting to make amends.
Do I
They
dare
kill
believe?
4v3
Do I dare
again,
believe in
looking to get
the dreams
aggressive
of
towards Blue, but he
young
falls
men?
Now that's at least one back on the side of it. The Scopos is trying to get themselves out of there. Don't know Scopos, one of the more recent operators. They can swap towards a different shell hidden on the other side of the map. The other one will remain. It can be destroyed and removed. That allows Aroma to draw some attention, and now the player is back on site. They have no pressure. You hope that they check the bathroom and get rid of that robot so it's not just
Come on,
going to
Abby.
pop
Come
up
on, Abby.
and cause a problem. No, they haven't. So at any point, the Scopos could change back towards that operator, and suddenly they're above them. Suddenly they're behind them. We'll see if that happens. That's sort
That
of
sounds like a
Chekhov's giant
pretty penny
robot
shift. I don't know about that.
Here, 3 versus 4 FaZe. They have the body advantage. They have one of the most defender sort of driven sites possible throughout the play on this. It was close before, but the limitations is the gadgetry at this point from the side of Shopify.
Well, there's still plenty of time here, but they're all stacked over towards Secret, coming in towards Blue. I'm not a big fan of this right now. Although playing behind Blackbeard and Canadian, at the very least, there's a bit of comfort If you are Surf, never mind. Surf will lose his life behind him. A little peek and a swing from KDS. Spot.
This would be miraculous to squeak this out.
Well prepped to try and take this map out.
And it just might be! God, Ambi's playing out of his fucking mind. Let's go, let's go, let's go! No! The timing! The timing! Fuck.
2v2 into the final 20 seconds of regulation.
Barely any help on the side of
Oh,
Canadian. Surf
fuck.
and Canadian goes down. Surf.
All
He's
right.
going to try and get himself
That's gonna be rough.
He does. He slipped himself on towards the back end
No,
of the dining
it's
table. He's going to
not.
hold the plant for now, but with 10 seconds, they're just spraying themselves.
He hasn't
Here's a
got off
man who holds his composure. Paracyber, though.
That's what Canadian needed to do in the last round. Oh, FaZe get it done, though. 7-5
Man.
for what turned out to be a very
That could have been our
entertaining
map. That throw, that actually really hurt a lot.
Certainly they were
That's right, that was FaZe map pick.
a lot of different
That's okay,
areas.
that's okay.
A 3-0
We got him in this next map.
start for Shopify Rebellion, followed by 4 rounds in a row to FaZe, and then it all kicked off towards
I'm
the
not
end,
sure yet.
back and forth,
I do
back
still
and
want to hit
forth.
Celestial.
Canadian will be kicking himself on, of course, the previous round, but nevertheless, FaZe closes.
That's alright, it's alright. Best of 3, we're good, we're good. It's our map pick next.
I mean, you have to look towards how good both teams were. That was a really exciting game. And let's be honest, both teams made mistakes. And again, as I said at the very start of this, you hold teams to the pillars that they have built. You know the bars that they can jump over. You know where they can reach and achieve. That is where you measure them. That is where you drop them in and drop them off. And, you know, FaZe sort of struggled at points. Shopify sort of struggled at points. But both of them showed what they're capable of. I have to throw us to a break. I don't want to because I want to keep going.
We'll be back.
We'll be back after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Would you ever do a solo climb to Diamond in League? I don't know, maybe. We'll see. I am going to start grinding League and Dota again just to see, so that way I can be more knowledgeable when doing the watch parties for our teams. But I don't know if I'll grind it like I did Rivals. Rivals I'm like actually really good at, so I can solo queue to Grandmaster. I feel like I can solo queue to Celestial. I don't think I can do that for League or Dota. I don't think I can. I'm not as good at those games. By being one of the best in the world, Mel.
Segura aí. Podem começar a conversar agora entre vocês, trocando ideia. Na moral, o Uruguai vacilou. Cara, o mesmo que vai perder o Giro Brasil. Que isso, cara? Que isso, moleque? Caralho, viado. De onde você veio? Caralho, filho da puta, mano. Não acredito, velho. E aí, mano? Como é que você tá?
Did you get Champ in Siege? No, I've actually never gone on like a big solo queue grind in Siege. I planned on doing that like 6 months ago, but I only stuck with it for like a week. And I think I got to... What did I get to? I got to Gold in like a week or something. So it wasn't bad, but I don't know. I can't remember why, but I stopped grinding solo queue Siege. I could have absolutely gone higher, I just stopped. Oh no, I got to Plat. I got to Plat. I made it to Plat in solo queue. And then stopped. That's what it was. You're right.
Eu vim aqui para Floripa em 2019 para estudar. Eu passei aqui na UFSC, que é a Universidade Federal aqui de Floripa. Hoje eu tenho grandes amigos no Rainbow Six, e o JP eu já conhecia ele antes, né? A gente estudou juntos bastante tempo. E conheci também o Busta e o Tóquio.
Jinxie said he could beat you to a pulp. Probably. That guy's got freak genetics.
Dentro do jogo, fiz dentro do jogo.
He would whoop my ass.
E são amigos que hoje eu levo pra vida. Hoje eu abriria facilmente a porta deles da minha casa. São pessoas de um coração gigante, que no momento que a gente tá jogando a gente se diverte muito. Então a gente se esquece às vezes do problema, algum problema do trabalho que possa ter ocorrido, e no momento que a gente tá no jogo a gente tá dando risada, tá focado em ganhar, às vezes dá um rage, mas faz parte. Ó, do Caio ligando.
What's your least favorite movie of all time? Probably Let's Be Evil. Still.
Tomei. Puta caramba. Tomei, velho. Então descobri que o Invi ia ser
Is that real, Ludwig?
em São Paulo.
Did that actually happen? Sounds like a meme.
Acabou comprando os ingressos, mas passou um tempo, foi passando os meses, e eu acabei encaixando uma viagem bem no dia. Prometi uma viagem pra minha namorada, falei pra eles que eu não ia mais. Eu tinha falado pra eles que não ia, eles ficaram super irritados porque a gente comprou bem quando lançou os ingressos.
You kick people off the team if they do bad. No, usually that decision comes from players and the coaches. And then our job is to then get them the players they want.
Queria
That's how it's always worked. If you have an org that's kicking players from a team, it's usually if they can't afford to pay their salary or something's gone wrong with, like, management. But it's the players that make those decisions. Unless you are in a building phase, then you can build around a player. So, like, in Rocket League, that's kind of common, where, like, the org will step in and build around a player, but it's still a player saying who they want. You're never going to know more than the pros. Ever.
Faltando poucos dias, decidi ir para São Paulo e ver essa experiência incrível. E ainda eu quero muito ver a cara deles quando eu for fazer essa surpresa. Acho que vai ser maravilhoso, eles vão ficar muito emocionados, assim, vai ser encontro épico. Presencial Invitational com as pessoas que eu sempre joguei.
Did you win Clubhouse? It was so close. It came down to just one blunder, actually. We did not, but that's okay. That was the phase map pick. We got our map next. We'll bounce back. We'll bounce back. Can't do that. That would bring us to the same problem we had initially, Rochi.
Podem começar a conversar agora entre vocês, trocando ideia. Na moral, o Uruguai vacilou. Era o mesmo que vai perder o Brasil. Que isso, cara? Que isso, moleque?
How many esports teams total do you have? I'm pretty sure it's 14. But I can't remember. I'm pretty sure. Because we brought over 6. And Shopify had 8. No, we brought over... How many did we bring over? 7? I can't remember. I think we have around like 14 teams. We're fucking stacked.
Aí ele mandou e falou assim, pô, mano, não vai dar, vou viajar e tal. Eu falei, pô, você vai perder isso aqui, mano. Não sei nem como vai ser a próxima oportunidade que vai ter.
Vim de Floripa, 12 horas de busão. E foi isso, tamo aqui.
Que pilantra, mano.
Hey, hope the gym's going well for you, Fawn. You still have Smash players? Yep. What made you want to create an esports team? Well, it happened by accident. Cola, a Smash player, needed someone to help him to get into Summit, and he reached out to me and I said, sounds fun, so we just made it like a silly org around it and then just kept growing it. But I've always liked esports. And now it's like the most exciting parts of my streaming career. If we had won Worlds on Saturday, I shit you not, I would have actually been on the ground in tears with happiness.
Well, welcome back. We find ourselves here.
And to date, still my most watched stream is our Rocket League major win with, what was it, 85k? Most watched Twitch stream. My most watched stream ever is the Game Awards now at over like 120k.
Now we have a couple of highlights, obviously, from the first map. And yeah, I kind of want to rewatch a couple of these moments. It was a back and forth in the first half. 3 great rounds taken by Shopify Rebellion. Great movement, great motion, great introduction towards their SI 2025. But timeout led FaZe in towards starting to scream themselves back in, driven by a Montaigne that I'm super curious to see if we get banned. We head into the second map because
I would imagine so going into labs.
Yeah,
you probably have to ban it. But yeah, I mean, this was a great game. I think it's also a tale of multiple tales. The Shopify Rebellion, a dramatic start, 3-0. Yes, it's on defense, but they were playing really, really good.
How does one know when esports events happen?
Absolutely firing.
I'll usually be streaming
and then
them.
FaZe adapted.
That's how you know.
Really, really well, really, really quickly.
I watch parties so many of our games, and now that we have so many more teams, it'll be even more.
Instead of crumbling,
yeah,
they got back into it.
Yeah, I mean,
and arguably, if it weren't for, in the 11th round, if they get that plant down, it's a 2v1 post plant. You've got one on the exterior. Like, it really ends up being a very difficult round to lose. They go 6-5. That's OT minimum.
Can you scrim Los
Ratones?
Ratones?
Clutch up. FaZe then get the 12th round.
Hey, it's not up to me.
And in the end, for Shopify, this
That'd
is
be
the
a crazy
hard part,
scrim.
You get nothing from that map. Like, yeah. It's just like, we played well. We had good moments, but now we don't get anything, and we head over to Nighthaven Labs.
And this is what we sort of talked about at the start of all of this, is Labs has a similar feel at comp towards what Club does. It has similar sort of breakdowns. You have a very heavily guarded basement site with some soft that you can play and shepherd around above it, but still getting into there is the difficulties. At the top, it's got a little bit of a divide. You start to push on one side, then you try and rotate your way around towards IT, towards the other. We'll see.
Any games you reckon you can go pro in?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's chat just glazing. But I unironically think if I put more time into Rivals, I could.
It's also a similar
Not
kind
to
of
like
map level
a high level, but I
Shopify
could
as
make
well,
a spot
where,
on a
like,
squad,
this
I
was a team
think.
that was 4-0 on
And chat
Clubhouse,
kind of
3-0
fuels
on
that
Labs.
delusion.
Like, these are the kind of maps that they like
Thanks
to
to Tier 1
play.
Cooper.
The FaZe clan are good enough that they can also to win those 5-1 on Clubhouse, but only 1-1 on Labs. But as you were saying,
Yeah, it's been a
I
while,
agree
Adam.
with
I'll have to
you,
do
you know,
one pretty
there's a lot
soon.
of elements that are very similar between the two of them. And we've already seen from FaZe.
Thanks,
they've played
membership,
this
Theo.
map at the utmost pinnacle level you can, which is map 5 of an SI Grand Final. And they were 6-1 up. So that's the kind of level that they can bring on this particular map coming up in terms of Nighthaven Labs.
Then what happened?
It doesn't matter what happened after.
Then what happened?
It doesn't really matter after that. But I think for Shopify, this should hopefully be their map, because I think that they did enough on Clubhouse that I'd be very disappointed if they walk away from this series with a 2-0. I think like a 2-1 loss to FaZe here would be a pretty good start to their campaign for SI25.
Well, this will be the start of the setup here. Obviously, as we said, we're going into Labs next. The third, if we find our way. Again, has a lot of fun story because it is Bank. It's the map where they got 07'd last time.
Yeah, I've done a lot of sim runs in PoE
It's a
too.
fresh sort of play. It's a fresh sort of
I got the flash drop as well. I've had really good luck in my sim runs for PoE too.
Positive energy. Think positive, you know?
I am thinking very positive. I
have a
think
good
this is
PMA.
This is the kind of point in the tournament where you don't need to necessarily.
No, I haven't
win
played with him,
all
Sky.
your
I know him,
matchups.
though. I
And
watch his
a team
content.
Like FaZe can get the better of you right now, as long as you can take good takeaways and you can have a lot of positives from it. And I think you can do that for Shopify.
I love the idea that it's like, you don't have to win them. You probably you probably want to.
I mean, you probably should win them.
So
but
for the context, obviously, I don't know if we've talked about it here. You are looking in these group stages that one team from each group.
Have you ever been
will be
top
eliminated.
1,000 in
Now,
any
you
game?
are looking
Fucking
also at
multiversus,
the
yeah.
group of death, really. A lot of the best teams in this tournament.
That's the only game I've ever been
favorites
top
are here.
1,000 in.
If you can survive this gauntlet, there's a good chance.
I mean, the big one will be, I think, Shopify, if they can play as well as they've played so far on Clubhouse. Can they beat Team Secret? Yeah, I think they can.
What's map 2?
I'm not
It's
saying they
Labs.
will. Furia?
And then
They
Bank.
can. I'm not
People are
saying
really
they
dreading Bank,
CAG
but I got
win
I got a good
comfortably.
feeling.
I mean, CAG,
As long as we can just
unfortunately,
play our game here on our
sole
pick, I
survivor
think
of
we're
the-
fine. We
probably
go to
gonna be a lot
Bank
of
and we
wins
fucking slap
in
them.
this particular
Shock
group
the
of death
world.
when it comes to Group B. That I'd be
Thanks, Resub Gene.
absolutely bamboozled if they don't find their way into that bottom spot. Now, of course, if you finish 4th in the group, then you do begin in the lower bracket, which is not a place you want to be.
Wow. Nighthaven Labs, the home of Nighthaven. Do you know much about the lore of Siege? Are you a lore enjoyer, enthusiast?
I'm not a big lore guy.
Okay.
I don't think Guz is a big
Can you
lore
read?
guy. Well, I can read, but do I read? Is the real question. And the third question of that, do I want to read?
Well,
and the answer to that is no.
Oh. I like reading.
Good.
Oh, we just banned the Monty.
I like reading the content's been banned.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise.
Okay.
Around.
No surprise.
Yeah, it was.
It flipped the entire
Yeah.
narrative.
I think
of
that's smart. Fuck it.
Yes. It was 100% of their win rate is because they had Monty. Not even, you can't even be like, oh, is it just a coincidence? No.
What do you mean, Landon? No, it's a comic series.
That is a little bit of a weakness for FaZe then, if they're going to be reliant on the Montang throughout this tournament. Teams will be able to ban it away. Obviously, then it opens up other avenues, and we know FaZe aren't just going to be a one-trick team. It's not like ban Monty, beat FaZe, but that is just something to consider to some degree, that if you want to find weaknesses within the FaZe roster, there's one. There's a little weakness there. Like, they do like the Montang, they play it well, and it very much changed the course of Clubhouse. It was a 3-0 start for Shopify, then the Montang comes out, and everything just changes. They couldn't deal with
There's
it.
a Godslap movie update
And
coming
that's
soon?
actually the other part of the equation, though, if you kind of want to touch on it, is
Pretty soon.
for Shopify, is it more that they couldn't deal with it, or was
Like,
it
I'd say, like,
Montang
within the
playing
next
FaZe
3
was
months, I'll be able to
maybe
talk a
both?
little bit more in depth on it.
Well, I mean, I know I sort of cited a statistic and I was slightly wrong. It was
I want to be able to
100%
have something to
banned, but
show
I'll show
besides
down.
just
One
something
of
to
the
say.
titles was actually banned by Shopify.
I think that'll be like in 3-ish months.
allowing it.
Well,
I
probably
don't
more than
check
that. It'll probably closer to like 5 months.
I don't know if they have the option to. Either way, it's instantly back off, and we start ourselves here, tippy top of Nighthaven Labs. FaZe leading in on towards their defense here. You have the option of delivering themselves across, and as I said before, this site almost operates in a similar way to how we saw Jim.
Thanks, Prime
You want to
Tiki.
try and put the pressure on towards IT, that you're seeing them get the reinforcement, get control of rafters, but at the same time, do not ignore jungle and connector.
Yeah, we got
here
new
on the
scents for
back
Cheeky
end.
coming out pretty soon.
Put that
We just
pressure
restocked everything and
the
brought an
atmosphere, so
unscented
don't
one
feel
for people with
comfortable feeling
allergies.
particularly fun. Throw your
The
way
new
up
scents will be in a
Fish
few
and
weeks.
Blue and see if you can swim yourself to victory. Hey, Cyber, you're going to start doing
There's
Cyber
Prime
things
Pirate.
with the Valkyrie. It feels like yes, as he's ripped and ready to go with a spray on towards the spawn that does not catch anybody.
Yeah, low risk on that particular spawn peak, which isn't usually the case because when you spawn peak, there's that risk attached to it that someone may be watching the window, kind of shoot back at you. But just the way he kind of shoots there, it's very difficult to see him losing his life, and he had every chance of maybe getting a little bit fortunate and finding an opening kill. And Night Haven Labs, you know, again, akin to Clubhouse, if you can find that opening pick on a map like this, it becomes very difficult for the attacking team. So you do want to be somewhat aggressive on the defense. It's not all about just kind of sitting back doing nothing, because if you can find those picks, they are incredibly rewarded for the rest of the round.
Now, it looks like they're getting themselves here. The work done on IT first, as I said, and with the Thatcher on the board, it shouldn't be too hard. But KDS, he's in the position to try and bandit trick against it. And
well,
there it is.
Timing well off there, and that's an easy, quick fallback.
Yeah, they're not going to risk it. Canadian's found his way up here as well. Towards the top of rafters, as I said, it's a sort of two-point position, and now the player underneath is going to cause some problems. The Canadian has the shield in the right direction this time round, and he's not quite going to get
His
caught.
membership
Cyber
region.
dips his way out past the billiards table and is going to sit and float underneath the site once again. With the C4 capabilities, he can cause some damage and some drama later on in the round, but he's already maybe replaced his or popped it entirely. Even 2 C4s left for the team from the 4 they started with. See if they can try and net a result with 1:20 left.
There we go.
First is Grixis. There
Good
goes the
pick.
Valkyrie. There goes the need to pay attention below. Can they now start to put the pressure on? They are still eyeing up the chance here on towards Fish and Blue. The rotate round. It looks like Canadian might
I fucking
start
hate
trying
this
to go
map.
for a little bit of a pinch.
Okay.
There's the pull on towards jungle.
But as long as we can win on it, I'll sing a different tune.
Sight. It's an encircling, like a snake that coils around FaZe's hold on the top floor. But can they find a single breath? It's a bit of a motion.
Nice.
Doesn't
Good shit.
quite
Good
get
shit.
the connection. 2 for Serve,
Clean.
2 left for FaZe.
I wish more teams would put pressure over towards meeting and conside when it comes to command and server. And this is where Shopify found a lot of success in this round. KDS will get one back, but he's by himself now. And even with the second over towards Electrical, it's largely irrelevant unless he can go find the entire ace, the entire team required here for KDS to win this round for FaZe. Shopify should be able to kickstart this map with an attacking round win, which would be a very
Nice.
detrimental start.
Good
for
shit.
FaZe, but
Good start.
It was a wonderfully played round from Shopify as they were
That was
able
perfect.
to encircle.
Easy entry pick
sites
from Grixer.
at
Everything
many
falls
different
apart for
avenues
FaZe
as
there.
well. A lot of
Love
it
it.
starts
Love
to do
it.
with the IT breach getting
His
opened
membership's
up, with rafters
branded.
control. Then that gives them position to move around the rest of the map, go over towards the meeting con side, find a couple of kills, stretch that defensive phase. Now they can't quite cover all of these avenues. Not even Blue was really brought into that round. They could have easily had even
This is a
more
vinyl
pressure
record by the
for
Claw Machine.
Shopify.
Oh, that's
So
something
that
my
was a
parents
really
made.
well-worked
The
round.
2019
And a little
guy
bit
thing they got
disappointing
me
for
as a
FaZe
little
on one of the
silly
best
gift a while
defensive
back.
Maps, in terms of defensive sites, even more so, that they capitulate in the opening round.
Cool celebrations this time round as well. You'd sort of compare it before. There was huge hype when they got 3 in a row at the opening of the previous one. But that was just step.
Who won
step
first
perfect.
map?
Do you know what my favorite thing
FaZe
is?
squeaked it out. It was very close. It came down to just
Like,
one
when I
little
say
hiccup
something,
from us.
It happens. And I
Which
go
is
back
alright,
and
because
say, right,
no more hiccups. They're not real.
we don't. I mean, you and I, obviously, we don't usually cast together. We are technically 2 play-by-plays. And
Well,
you
we
don't-
are 2 play-by-plays.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's no technicalities.
Logistically, logically, we are 2 play-by-plays. But our big brains still, apart from your inability.
I always say to guys, you know, a broken clock is right.
Yeah, and does that ever happen for you, or are you
Twice a day.
That's why we.
I get 1 or 2 every broadcast. I'll get 1 or 2.
That's why we call you the grandfather clock.
Not that old.
2 minutes.
I'm not Tim.
No, true. Well, he's like the. He's
the great grandfather.
Tim isn't even a clock. Tim's a sundial at that point. 2 minutes 30. And we start to find, again, another approach here on towards the top floor. You need to make sure you have this lockdown, and they do that for the snappy entrance on towards the fight on Rafters, but it's not offered to them. Handy does take a bit of a scrap elsewhere, but it's Cyber that needs to try and dig himself out of it. He was here to create pressure, to try and buy time. The Dockerby calls out, and Shopify Rebellion don't want to waste any time at all. And they're not
Okay, come on.
Because they know the danger that Cyber can produce, but at this point he's not being offered the fight itself. Redroning, rechecking.
Nice, good shit, Surf.
His escape route has been called out, so he has to take the hatch drop now. There is too much around him. The position was almost ready for him to get on the hatch as well.
Yes, yes,
Finds
please.
Finds a new place, drifts closer and closer towards
May
the
I
stairs
take
that
your
lead back
ass,
down towards
sir?
the site. He's
May
gonna
I
create
take your
an
ass,
almost
sir?
Pitter-patter rainfall from the top of the building down towards the bottom that they just have to slowly and steadily clear them out of the positions.
Yeah, and they can kind of take their time because they know that FaZe will have to be roaming its basement labs. You don't necessarily want to have 4 or 5 players on the site. You want to get second and first floor control. Typically, if you go second floor, you do rotate pretty
Love it.
quickly. Ah, Souls. I mean, you've
So
got to know
good.
your position.
So good.
It's an easy kill for Rexon. It's a little mistake there from FaZe, punished. And again, Shopify in this series are showing their quality. Like, they are a top team, and they will punish mistakes from other teams, including it to the level of FaZe. They're on the verge of a 2-0 start on the attack of Labs this series. Oh, I mean, he could very well go to
Ambi.
bank. And
Let's
what
go,
a
Ambi.
redemption map that could be for Shopify. Let's not go too
Ambi
early,
played
though. We know
so hot on
Shopify's done
Clubhouse.
well over on Clubhouse.
Nice.
And it all crumbled down pretty quickly. The Blackbeard, a nuisance, annoying. FaZe still just trying to make contact. On
Good
the floor, but
shit.
that is not
There he is.
working out. FaZe are
He's
playing the
online.
way which they want these fights.
Man,
but
my
it's
nose is really
Shopify
itchy.
that are winning them.
Jesus Christ.
Again, FaZe
Got a real stubborn booger in there.
Spraying off towards Exo, but there's a Blackbeard that makes a quick Kool-Aid man hello through the wall. Spray over the top towards Vending. At this point, could this be?
This might be a timeout. This might be a 2-0 timeout.
I
for
mean,
FaZe.
it's probably not going to be a win. Bitter King has pulled off some magic before this point.
Love that.
The reason why I
Beautiful.
say that is there's not really a third side
Beautiful.
to go to, so you're either going to repeat up
This is
above
your team,
or
right?
you're going to repeat
Yep.
down below, of which you've
It
lost
is.
both of them. So honestly, if there's a time to talk things over for FaZe, it's probably already now.
Well, they're not going to up as far as I can see. Oh no, the mics are down. I'm out.
If there's one thing I'm good at when it comes to this game, it's guessing timeouts. Guz will tell you,
Thanks,
he
Resub
will-
Robots.
and he doesn't
Is it
like
your
to give me any
trick?
credit. Look, it's an innate ability, but it's a talking point when it comes to timeouts for me is you never want to take them too late.
Oh, 100%.
The only time it's probably too early is after one round.
Yeah.
I'd never say you should take one after one round, but when
Unless
we've seen
something
what we've
really
seen,
bad has happened.
which is you're playing Labs defense and you've lost the 2 primary sites, yeah, talk things over. Guys, slow start. Let's not let this get out of hand. Timeout early on, get things back underway.
I mean, let's sort of look at the context of this game right now. So you can't see the scoreboards, but 2 rounds. FaZe have got 2 kills over those 2 rounds
And one player.
as well. And it's just that sort of struggle.
You just
with
watch
them
the stream so they know where the
trying
other
to
team
get the
is.
hold end. The timeout here, not only does
Yeah,
it
why
give
don't they
them
do
a chance
that?
to talk,
What a
they
good
break
idea.
That momentum.
I'm
They
sure that'd
break
work
that ability
super
for
well.
Fire Rebellion to just keep throwing themselves in round
Look
after
at
round
Prime.
after round. And
Oh.
hey, last time they pulled the sort of
Has anyone ever
timeout,
been
they were
caught
able to
cheating in an
master
esport
it
event?
themselves.
Yeah, but not
Last
that
time they
way. That's
pulled,
the worst
Sorry,
cheating
it's
because it
impossible
doesn't
to
work.
We're in Boston.
Not only would you get banned for attempting cheat, you'd be the stupidest
they have
cheater of all
just
time if you tried to
after
stream
their
snipe in a
timeout
tournament.
conversation where
Brother, there's like
they
fucking
play
15 minutes of delay.
the needle.
The people that have been caught cheating at an esports tournament are people that like
just losing the
in
contact
Counter-Strike. I
fights.
can't remember his name.
Labs.
It's been so long now, I can't remember his
Yes,
name.
it
It
has
started with a
elements
D.
to Clubhouse,
He recently
but
got
I think it very
unbanned,
much
but he
differs is
snuck
you're gonna
in
have
like
all those
an
kind of
aimbot,
rounds
like
where
a very subtle aimbot.
lurkers and roamers and contact and people pushing up first
Or
floor,
Forsaken.
second floor.
It wasn't a D.
There's a lot
Forsaken.
more of that elevation to it.
That's what it was.
The vertical nature of this map is certainly more prevalent.
That's who it was. Why did I think it was a D? Did he play for a team that started with a D?
Good so far in these 2 rounds. I think
Who did
they're
he play
very much
for?
Playing the elements a little bit better on this map than say in comparison to Clubhouse. What have FaZe kind of talked about? 2 rounds down.
It was optic.
Struggling on both the primary sides.
It wasn't a D. What do you know?
Just a little break.
Really thought it was.
Say, okay, calm down. They head back into the game. We're playing defense. We don't have to really do too much.
So, just one more point of clarification as well on how dangerous this group is. Yes, there's probably a team that isn't one of these two that's going to find themselves at the bottom, but you have to look towards the top teams and how important it is to be at the top. We go from this group phase after the first 5 days of playing everybody in your group once, regardless of how well or how badly it's going, in towards the double elim bracket. Now, the person who comes first, they get an instant bye. They're in the upper bracket quarterfinals.
Yeah.
They only really, I think, have to win 2 games. Then they're on the live stage as well.
Yeah.
You
The best pathway.
You know, and then from then on, you're either second.
Second
one
and
step
third
behind.
is, you know, a bit of like whatever.
Second gets to pick who they go up against from
Yeah.
who goes third, and fourth start in the lower bracket. They have no lifeline. So you could be in the top 4 and make your way out, but first is huge. If you want to find your way towards getting that million in the sort of top position, getting yourself, the difference is
every position is slightly better than the one below it.
Yeah. That's usually
even if
how
you're
it
fourth.
works.
Oh, baby, it's so good.
Well, Andy is out of this round.
We're doing
Wrexham
so well with these
swing
entry
at the
picks here.
background, gets
Love it.
First, and this is that importance of a game like this because it could be the difference between, you know, the buy or not.
Yeah, and Handy's a big influence when it comes to this phase roster.
Nice, free. Freebie, there you go.
A significant player. Cyber 2 will fall at the hands
Trade
of
it,
Ambi,
easy.
who has found
Man,
2
Ambi is so
kills
good.
in this round, and Shopify, with still well over a minute remaining, have just picked up the pace.
Thanks,
They
Yusuf
find
Murphy.
a couple of kills. It's now a 4v2. Bit of a knockdown though onto Wrexham, but Ambi
And there it
found
goes.
third, surf to finish it all off.
So clean. Man, their labs
Time
is
out
so
for
good.
FaZe look
What
even
the fuck?
sharper, even cleaner, and far more dominant than even the opening 2 rounds. They take a 3-0 start for the second map in a row.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say, but I'm going to put a pin in the thing that I haven't said.
This 3-0 feels different.
No, okay, but I'm going to put... This is me. I'm gesturing.
Thanks for your sub, Habu.
Okay.
In the thing. You guys at home, you can't see this. Just imagine it. Use your mind's eye. Or do it along at home if you want. Hold your hand out. Put a pin in it. This is the thought that's going to come around to later. But I don't want to say it aloud because I do not want to jinx anything. You know?
Okay.
Okay. I mean...
It's best of
you're
3.
entirely right.
If we don't
Best
know what
of
the
3.
thought is, you could just make it up
I
later
could,
on.
and I probably will. What you are entirely right, though. This feels like a different 3-0.
Yeah.
Because...
They're attacking on labs, and they look far more dominant.
Everything is well paid and placed, and everything... Look at the attacking rounds.
Thanks,
that we had
Waylon.
on
Yeah, it's great,
Clubhouse.
man.
How
It's fucking
many
great.
We're in the final 15 seconds, 20 seconds that they're looking at.
Yeah, I want to get us into CS2.
Compare it here, where they've got about
That's like the
to
last
work with.
major
Is a
game that we're
huge
not
difference
currently
of
in
approach.
that I really want us
They're
to
not
be in.
swaying,
So
they are
we're working towards that.
phase.
It's just that's a
Trying to
very
find
expensive
route
endeavor,
at
and
the
there's,
Not
let's
quite
be
getting a
honest,
connection to them.
it ain't not in the
Map.
best place.
It's a
So
two-phase map.
it's a little tricky, but eventually we
Full-on
will be
start
there.
for Ambi inside of the opening 3 rounds. What's been, really disappointing for FaZe. I tried to touch on it in that round, but Shopify just said, no, we're going to finish it quickly. But it was 13-7 for Handy. 3-0.
You're in League of
entry.
Legends. We are in League of
One of the
Legends.
standouts, 133 EPS on Clubhouse.
We just
and then
won
coming
2
to
days ago
Nighthaven Labs.
over Lions.
He's put up 0 and 3 for a 16 EPS, 0-2 on entry. That's the most concerning thing as well. So one of the star players for FaZe really struggling, but they are all really struggling. It's hard to really just kind of point out the Handy because you've got
I don't know about that
4
one, Ron.
players
We'll see.
4 players that are 0 and 3. They played 3 rounds of Siege, and KDS is the only one that's got kills. As Cyber 2 loses his life. Ambi put in a clinic. He
Yes,
was
God,
sensational
Ambi's
on
so
Club.
fucking clean.
He started amazingly on labs. It's a
Man,
5-4
Ambi and Surf
start
going
here in the
crazy
4th
here,
round.
but Ambi was cooking
They're
last
in the round.
map
They're,
too.
You know, they're just Batman and Robin. Batman pulled themselves out and knocked them out of the building. Now they don't have that vertical control. I talked about it before we were here, how that power position that plays, because it creates all this danger, this awareness that there's only really one place to plant if they have vertical control that you know is safe.
Ambi is on like a 145 EPS through both maps. That is an insane number and an insane series that he is having against one of the top teams in the world. But he wants more than just, say, an honorable loss, and that's what Clubhouse really was, a bit of an honorable loss.
And then you look
They want the win.
Look at the left of the screen. Look at KDS, the only person who's been able to get any kills from the side. 3-3. They're keeping things in perfectly in pace. Sure, great. You want to try and get yourself a couple more. They have the pressure here. They're just going to
stalling.
Canister as
Yeah, cringe.
it starts to become a little bit more of a danger.
Nice.
Again,
Good
Surf,
pick.
One more for his tally, and Vidiking does find one back. The second player on FaZe to actually find a kill in the 4th round. But 30 seconds. Look on the distance of the screen. Grixer, he's rotating his way around on towards blue. He's going to try and sneak in the back door as they smash their way towards the mirror window.
So good.
They
So
just
good.
their way in. What are you doing? The tornado that blows through the site itself. Souls a sliver, but not for very long.
Woof.
4 in a row.
Can we give FaZe another timeout? I feel like they need another one. Like, I almost feel bad. They are getting trounced here on Labs.
It's brilliant siege from the side
Their
of Shopify
defense is just getting picked apart far too comfortably for my liking. I mean, this is very, very good siege from Shopify. And it goes back to Clubhouse, where I felt like for a large portion of that game, Emmy, they were playing good siege.
Oh, yeah.
But they just weren't always quite playing amazing siege and getting over the hurdle of FaZe, who were playing far and away better on Club than they are here on
No,
Labs.
Ambi is nasty. He is
FaZe are now playing
so
like a
good.
10-15% worse.
I mean, the whole
Labs
squad
than
is
what they
extremely
were on
good, man.
Clubhouse.
But
Whereas
Ambi's
Shopify
just
is
different
at that same
today.
level.
He's just
Now
different.
they're getting this result. The scoreboard is reflecting the dominance that we are seeing from Shopify on the attack. They're changing their pace. At times, they can push in, get a quick kill, push out. They can get map control. They can
swinging on
site
Mira,
they can close alert
swinging
games.
the
So they're
mirrors
winning
is
at all facets,
crazy.
And that's why we're seeing a 4-0 start. FaZe just
And it
aren't
worked.
capable of really getting
He's
kills.
just that good.
1-4, 0-4, 1-4. They got 5 players that are all on a negative KD through 4 rounds of siege for a team of FaZe's caliber. That is quite startling.
Thanks, membership,
But on
Anthony.
the flip side, for Shopify, it's their young gunners, it's their young up-and-comers, Surf, Ambi,
It's best of 3.
playing amazing.
Best of 3.
Canadian hasn't even got a kill.
Canadian doesn't need
He
to
doesn't
get a kill.
need a kill. And that is the
Yeah.
emphasis on Shopify, is that Canadian can kind of do his thing. He can make calls. The others can just go out and frag. And so far for Shopify, if they lose this map, I don't even know how they can from here. They would, I would be bamboozled.
Maybe at some
They
point,
must
Krim, because now we have
finish
so
this
many
map off
teams, that might be a
and send
good
us to
idea.
back.
I mean,
We'll probably end
it
up
is-
doing
that
some kind
has
of
to be their job
calendar.
from here.
But I'm streaming
Here
most of the
for deciding
games
Grixer
anyway.
as well had a massive performance on the first map as well. They're sort of
But like,
getting themselves
I guess
in
when I wasn't
phase,
here to watch
thinking
the
to
last
try and
league game
find
that we
a new
won,
inroad, and
then
here is
it'd
gonna
be
the
useful.
Pro Tower, where are you? There it is. They heard a bit of shuffling.
They haven't had a single opening kill so far through the 4 rounds phase on defense Labs. You know, I think that's why they're going for this send down.
That was so. Oh my god.
And that's exactly what I was saying, Em.
He is
the
in
fact
their
that
head.
They have not had an opening kill. So they're feeling like maybe that's an area that we can improve on. I'm going to get aggressive. I'm going to try and find that pick, and we're going to try and at least get a 5v4 advantage.
Man, what
That
a
will
read,
play side.
though.
So you go for the run out from Electrical. Cyber, though, he gets caught into the trap set by Ambi and Co.
That's alright, trade it.
Blue,
Good shit.
it's a 1-for-1. And now it's still evened up. 3v3.
Alright,
That
alright.
opening kill for Shopify has been nullified.
Vidiking, he's able to find one more, 2 rounds in a row, and suddenly, for the first time in what feels like a while, we have a round. We have a back and forth. We have a 3 versus 3 with 1:20. Now, FaZe, they didn't entirely hand over the territory. They kept themselves a little bit stoic, a little bit aggressive, and they were able to play a trade game for what also feels like one of the first times. It almost seems like that's what's been missing. The importance of having a second player to react to what the first does. We saw them lose the shield, the drop of the Blackbeard there.
Opening that up, oh, that's gonna be big.
Can only sort of call shots now.
Nice.
Cams, but with
Good
Rexon
fucking
calling
call.
all of them from the heavens above. Souls is drifting up and away from it.
Well, they're not even playing sight because there was still over a minute left, so FaZe felt like they had to continue to keep pressure on that first
Things are
floor.
some stones.
So Shopify would have to clear them out, for example. Otherwise, if they all just had gone back towards basement, then they would have had too much time for Shopify. So they contested. Why did they do that? Because of the time factor. But then by contesting, guess what? Then you
Oh
lose a
god.
player. Now,
Oh god, it didn't see him.
Yes, I think the answer to that might be a resounding yes. Ambi will lose his life, becomes a 2v2.
He didn't clear it.
Vidiking makes his way back up cargo.
It's alright, it's alright. Good, there you go. There you go,
Losing his
Rexon.
life to Rexon, and all down to Vidiking in a 1v2.
Now, we have seen Vidiking win a 1 versus 2 before, but look at this. The rotate round on towards the back of the site. The focus,
Oh,
they're
God,
going
that
for the
rotate's
plant on
scary.
towards default. Do they know where he is?
Is it the goal? Oh, no,
Is
in the
the
open.
answer? Is he going to pull off the second magic trick in a row? They've planted on a
Don't stick it, don't stick it, don't stick it, don't stick it. Just go for it.
You've got to pop your way around.
Don't stick it.
potentially.
No,
he's sticking it.
no,
He's
no.
caught Vidiking. This is a player.
Fuck. That's
who
unlucky. That's
earns
unlucky.
Their place. He has been a lifeline here for FaZe, and they can finally.
What is that original
alongside
plant spot in the open corner?
a default
Yeah, I know, but in this instance, you can plant behind cover in a 2v1. You don't have to rush it. The default's fine if you've got numbers up, you've got more control, but you're just far too out in the open in that position.
They believe.
I mean, they obviously had no idea where Vidiking was.
They think he was an EXO. Because the two players saw this first.
He almost won that 1v1 there too.
They don't know that Vidiking is currently playing around here and locks in this position. It's a mistake. Maybe the first mistake we've seen at least punished.
That's all right. That's all right.
The biggest credit there goes to
That's
Vidiking
all right.
as to how he kept himself just so unknown in terms of his position, because he had the discipline towards cargo stairs, ADS, lost his life, and a lot of other players in that position would have then swung out, try and get the trade, or, you know, kind of keep the fight over there. But he just holds his position because it's like, well, they don't know I'm here. So they've killed a player cargo. Ultimately, then they think cargo side is clear, go for the default plant. Swings out, easy kill. Why? Because it's, well, an open spot from that cargo position, even if it's default into other measures. But it's hard. It's really difficult. Well played for Vidiking.
I mean,
above all.
Again,
less to do with Shopify there, but yeah, the rest of the round says it should have been 5-0.
Oh, yeah. But this is the thing, right? You can never count out world-class players. You can never count out anyone in a game.
That's his second clutch of the series.
Exactly. In a game where one headshot is the difference between any gunfight. It doesn't matter what your health is. A lot of players turn off the health indicator because it shouldn't change their mental attitude of how they approach engagements and how they sort of move in. You can just always have a possibility of succeeding. That is something that is a big brain moment, is a bit of movement, and Vidiking displays that.
Yeah, and for Shopify, this is where you can't get too down and out. You've lost a round in a clutch scenario for FaZe, so it's not as if you.
It's still been an absolute fucking stomp. It happens. It happens.
A round that you got completely dominated. It just happened to be.
Oh, congrats on the serialized pull.
Vidiking.
That's awesome, Haldir. Nice work.
That you did a lot right.
Yep. Now, with the Clash on the board, holding on and trying to stop what is usually a very clean approach, can Vidiking be that problem child that gets in the way, causes a bit of an electrified tantrum, and slows down every bit of frustrating step? This is Shopify's attempt here. The Bandit will at least catch one half of that, but now as the pressure came instantly on towards IT, they're trying to swing
come on, baby.
The red dot will give the side away that they're watching.
No, I can't swing that. Can't swing that.
That throw out won't really catch anything, and they've got to hop their way right back out because the Clash was just zapping and stunning.
And the Clash has slowed down the pace of Shopify. They've really tried to be fast and aggressive in a lot
Happy
of
to hear
these
that,
rounds in
Basement.
the first half, and it's been working, but the Clash is just stalling them out. And the biggest thing when you're playing Clash on command and server is you've got a lot of different areas you kind of want to be. You kind of want to go towards rafters. You want to go electric.
That's a rough swing there, Rexon. I don't know, man.
So it comes
And he.
Shopify,
Oh, I thought that was Rexon that got that. I was like, what the fuck?
Is not.
Well, this is where the Clash is going to be drawn towards
Nice.
Canadian. It's on the
Nice.
Blackbeard, making as
Come
much
on.
noise as possible, trying to force them out towards IT, which is in a position they can take. Smashes the mirror window, drops the eye in 50 seconds with a body advantage. They might be able to start trying to make things work.
Oh, this could be
Sir,
perfect.
He is the sort of response to the bait. They want the Clash to swing a little bit wide, but they're not quite on the hook yet. You're still trying to find the fight. There's the hook over the top, but they were more than ready for it. Cyber finally finds his first bit of blood in this showdown so far. 30 seconds. You can see KDS is
Oh,
trying
boy,
to
come
iron
on,
the
boys.
same engagement, but he tucks himself a little bit further around because he doesn't want to give them the free, easy fight in the body. Two are here, and the Blackbeard is going to be the lead on through. It was almost a moment, but he's caught on the side. There's the pick back up. Will a player go for the drop? The Clash.
Oh, nice fucking kill. Good pick. Come on, come on. Oh, we're running low on time.
At this point, they've got to try and find their way through.
Ambi,
Cyber
save us.
quickly dips back round. You're charging at somebody that is currently stunned. You've got to try and get the knockdown. They're looking for the second fight with a shield.
Oh my god, that was. I actually thought he might have had that for a second.
Hold on.
He's
It
membership
was a
Alaska
valiant
known.
attempt at
Hey,
the
4-2
end
on
there,
attack.
but
Pretty
2
fucking
rounds.
strong though.
You know, again, have they earned them? They probably wouldn't think so, but they have them. What will they build on top?
Oh, I mean, yeah, just take a moment to breathe and just kind of dissect a little bit as to what happened there at the end. I mean, Ambi has done just about as best as he can. He hits a couple of pistol shots there, and who knows, could have been very different. I thought the start was ultimately better from FaZe because of that Clash. Really stalled out Shopify and really kind of set the pacing of the round. There's some really good kills from Grixer, especially that second kill compared to the first one, but Cyber was the biggest factor in the round. Because you
All
get
right.
the clash on the board.
All right.
How aggressive can the clash really get?
Let's close it
And
out
also
here.
blocking position than actually getting kills. You need someone to get the kills, and
Use
Cyber
Prime
goes
Mail.
and does that. If Cyber loses his life towards Rafters, then that clash is going to get pinched, and Shopify will have the numbers, and they probably then win the round. So credit to Cyber, especially after a very poor start. He and a lot of his teammates, they're starting to get things going again. But is it going to be a question of too little too late? Otherwise, it has to be a very attacker-sided Nighthaven Labs, and I'm just not anticipating that really at all. Shopify now go defense, 4-2 up after the 4-0 start. I don't know what you put a pin on, but hopefully it's not something that's related to the 0-3 start.
Actually, I can say it now.
Oh, you can say it now.
Yeah, I was... It looked like it was going to be a 7. Like, it could have been a 7-0.
7-0?
No, but remember, that happened at the last showdown. But I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to doom it.
Well, lucky
right?
you put the pin on it, because, yeah, I don't think that was ever likely.
The pin was wrong. Everybody who mind putting a pin in something at home, throw it away. Get it out of there.
No, I think that this is still a game that Shopify need to be careful. They need to really stay focused and locked in. Defense Nighthaven Labs will allow you to do that.
Thanks, Rooster
You just
Creds.
cannot make mistakes because FaZe are more than capable of...
No, this is day one, man.
Basically what we saw from Shopify.
This is day one.
And being just
Thanks
as
for
good on the
fucking
attack.
Mal. Appreciate it.
Exactly. That is the thing that we talked about before. The capabilities of world-class players. Both these rosters have those. In fact, pretty much every roster here is one that you would argue. There's the player, the Bandit, is going to catch one, the calls, and the tracks, and absolutely everything to try and stop the Bandit, but it's actually a step too late. Now, they might try and apply some pressure up from underneath. Handy's holding out the angle. They'll delay the approach. They won't entirely stop it. There's always more utility to try and find your way through. Doesn't quite get the fight that they want, but you do look at the limitations now in terms of the hard breach that they have in the pockets themselves. Obviously, Souls is the single sort of breach. They've sort of maybe realized that here from the side of Shopify. They lock Rafters. They lock the other side of it. Now they're
You
just
see
sort of
Kendrick
saying,
sweeping the
"Look, you've got
Grammys?
IT, you get
Oh,
one
yeah, I
more
saw.
thing. What's your choice?
I did see that. Much to the
90
chagrin
seconds.
of Drake.
Slow paced from FaZe.
Had that whole
Benefits
auditorium
Shopify.
singing Not Like Us.
They've got as well 3 gas babes. You've got nitrocells. You've got vocal canisters that
Thanks
still
to give Sub CJ.
need to be dealt with. Like the meeting
Oh,
push
fuck.
for Vidiking on the Blackbeard, and the opening kill goes the way of KDS. They shut down Canadian, who hasn't really got into this game in terms of the fragging department. 0 and 4.
Come on, boys. Come
while
on,
the rest
boys.
of his team has been
Lock
fragged
in.
out. Canadian has been left behind.
Not really what Canadian does.
No, but you do want to probably not have a donut.
No, oh, obviously not. But, you know, you want everyone to be able to step in and fight, and, you know, but he's also one of the most experienced players. The only player that has 2 hammers, which I guess if you're unaware that our trophy is a hammer, doesn't sound very exciting or impressive, but trust me, it is. They have themselves the long reach. They've made the choice on the next wall that they want to get open, and from here, they at least have a catch on the player line down with a shotgun. There's the take, the approach. On towards Rexon, who's doing his best to hold on to this power position, and we get some support that comes through from the other side, and actually he's just going to get out of there. He's going to see if he can try and take an option on towards
fuck.
IT. He's being slowly surrounded.
Challenge that, yep.
Smoke, and that gifts him the fight
Didn't
almost
kill him.
against the Blackbeard, though, because
That's-
everybody else, but look at Vidic
oh,
Hotel.
God, that's
One frag,
sad.
The smoke canister, he's gone.
We needed that,
KDS
we needed that.
tears with the Deimos pistol. Souls gets one of his own. There's a bit of an attempt round, but the timer here right now, Xenox. It's a 4 versus 1. Vidiking. He's going to see if he can try and get this secured. They know exactly where he's going, though. And they'll get that plant locked in on the opposite side. Now being tracked, he does at least get himself a frag, but is it just one of those sort of impactless exit ones? It's a very narrow line to try and drive yourself on. Compliments for FaZe there. They took that single breach, the pressure on towards Rafters. They made it work.
Oh boy! All right,
Point,
I know it went wrong. I'm holding in P again. That's what's going. That's what's
That was the
happening.
round
That's
in
what's
which
happening.
Shopify just really didn't want to get too aggressive. They didn't want to get into the face of FaZe. They're just sitting back, playing sight, basically saying to FaZe, "We'll give you IT, we'll give you Rafters, we'll give you electrical," and you're just giving them too much. Because then when it comes time to actually hit the site, FaZe now have multiple avenues to actually attack from. You know, there was pressure from basically all 3 of those. I didn't quite get to see blue side either, but it seemed like it was rather available. Because Shopify are basically sitting back and saying, well, we've got the smoke, we've got the Vulcan canister, we've got all of this kind of utility that's set up to help us defend the site. We don't need to get aggressive. We can kind of just sit back. Do that, FaZe then get control. I would have liked to have seen a bit more pressure from Shopify on the defense over towards IT, over towards Rafters. Try and keep FaZe at bay. Even if it means you have to take a couple of fights in the middle portion of the round, that's okay. You can even lose 1 or 2 players as long as you get 1 or 2 back. That's fine. But for FaZe, They were able to execute very nicely into sight, all at once, all at one go. We think back to Clubhouse, where they failed to do so in a similar fashion. They rectify it here in that previous round, and so far this is turning out to be a rather attacker-sided Nighthaven Labs. 3-4, and it also means it's 3 rounds in a row for FaZe, and I'm starting to get a sense of deja vu from Clubhouse, and that's not good if you're a North American fan.
If we somehow end up on the 3rd map, do you think it will be 5 rounds in a row and then 5 rounds in a row? Like, it just keeps going and going. Best of 5 series until we get another 7-0. No, you're entirely right here. FaZe, they're reclaiming their position as that sort of threat here, and Shopify, they've just got to make sure that they sort of stay ahead of the pace and ahead of the curve. There's always the chance. The IQ, the hunt, gets rid of the Echo drone, is looking for any of the sort of tells here of the intel, and that's going to make Rexon's job much scarier.
Come on.
He's about to find
Let's wake up again. Oh, that's not how you do it.
There it is, the sort of pickup on the back end. Great play from the IQ. They sort of gave themselves a sneaky route in. Cut Rexon's head off.
Well, the game started, funnily enough, with 6 opening kills in a row for Shopify Rebellion. Since then, now we're seeing 2 in a row for FaZe. So again, we're seeing the switch up here, aren't we? And it's very akin to Clubhouse, and that's the alarming factor if you are Shopify and if you are Super. It's like, oh no, it's happening again. Very, very quickly, it's happening again. And this is going to be a very disappointing result for Shopify if they can't close out, because you're on defense, Labs, after a very significant start on the attacking side, where they look unstoppable, playing some of their best Siege. Envy going nuts, Surf going nuts, all of these things going well for them. And suddenly, once again, FaZe just find a way to get a grasp on the game, figure out things that are working for them and aren't working for them.
Please don't let it happen again. I'd be so sad.
Maybe not as quickly here on Labs, but adjusting nevertheless.
Now, with the first body gone, there is still a question of time here, and it is a big site. You've got 2 general sort of major staircases to get your approach. There's not a direct angle on towards the site itself, but
oh no.
Patches that are only a sort of skip and a jump away in the angles.
That would have been a terrible angle for us there.
Is that danger point. Here it is. Throw on towards the Exo side, and they're actually going to drift in towards the engagement. Canadian gets 1, but gets traded out by hand. He didn't expect 2 players, but he might expect another fight that follows through. It's actually the watch that goes against them. Vidiking perfectly predicted the motion of the player.
That was a really good read.
Intel, but
oh boy. Oh, it's happening again. Oh jeez, Rick.
Surf is suffering, battered. It's an aggressive fight here on the door that is an important one to win out. The Surf does actually go down. Now, will they try and stop
the
plant?
Oh,
will they go for the pickup? But the player, the risk! The C4, I mean, it could have been huge
boy.
at that
He's a
point.
prime Clay.
You know, again, it's these
timeout
moment decisions. Surely.
Thanks, Broser.
You're the timeout king.
Look, I've done it again.
You've done it again. Everyone, congratulate.
Well, I think it's
like
it's 4 rounds lost in a row now, and the more alarming fact, it's not so much the 2 on what was your attack, so the defensive phase. It's now on your defense. You've not yet won a round. There's actually the similarities if you go all the way back to the start of the game, Emmy, whereas the 2 defensive rounds to begin lost.
Oh boy!
And they took the timeout.
Man, we were absolutely fucking strangling him like Homer Simpson.
So very
fell
very
apart, man. Damn.
That if you are Shopify, you haven't been able to pick up any defensive round yet. Only 2 opportunities, but still, regardless, not the start that you wanted after a 4-0 start. 4 attacking rounds to begin on Labs. They've really let their lead completely evaporate. It's now 4-4, and I'm baffled. They looked amazing.
They did.
They certainly did.
Siege is a game. It's a bust.
I would like them to look amazing again.
I always see it.
It is a game.
Let's put the makeup back on and stun.
Yeah, and sometimes a third half. It is a game of times. But this is the sort of read-through. It doesn't really matter how many statistics you have backing up whether a map leans itself towards attack or defense, whether a team leans itself towards attack and defense. Sometimes it is just how 2 teams hit. It is a mad science that you do in competitive Siege, especially because it is a thinking man's game. And you're trying to weigh up all your options, you're counter-stratting and stratting and building these ideas, and sometimes it will just hit a map in a certain way against a certain team. This is how these 2 teams are coming together, and you have to react to it.
I think
we cannot get picked early again.
From one of life's more difficult moments for FaZe when they
Fishing
lost
for a little cheeky nitro play. Okay.
Maybe the most difficult siege moment
is that they will now know for the rest of their lives we can always come back.
Yeah.
We're always in this game, whether it's a 4-0 start for Shopify or a 3-0 start or even 6-1. We can do it because we know it can be done. We've seen it firsthand. And so they've started slow on both maps for those maybe just tuning in, but you know, Shopify started 3-0 on Club, ultimately lost. They've started 4-0 on Labs, ultimately now it's 4-4. And so that's the concerning factor.
We're not going to climb out electrical. That's not happening.
Slow start, but we got there. What if this was BDS on the other side? What if they were playing BDS and gave them an 0-3 and 0-4 start? Don't know if you then have enough time.
Nice.
Back in.
Good shit,
Rexon.
Rexon.
The big opening kill on to Souls though. Shopify
needed that
timeout. That is exactly what they wanted. Gets rid of the ace. Still another hard breach available with the thermite, but only one exothermic.
So I think, yeah, that was up through the floor, out of the opening of the breach that was made, and it was able to take care of the ace. Again, a lovely bit of sort of vertical interplay there to sort of keep yourself safe, play a well-practiced lineup, and you're able to net a reward. They still have hard breach. Handy has now utilized all of that. I said it was a risk before, and they made it work. This time, they've got the same limitations, and, you know, yeah, it ended up all FaZe colors over the site last time in a 4 versus 1, but it still slowed them down a lot compared to the previous round. Here, you know, they might suffer the same things. It is a little bit more of a touch-and-go site that Shopify could have gone anywhere. They've opted to try and hit their tertiary. The break comes
Come
all
on.
the way
No, boy. Yikes. Holy son of a bitch. Just got steamrolled.
Absolutely clear their way through
How
into the
did
site
we not?
and say, this thing that you got, oh no, it's ours now. This is FaZe's territory.
Man, oh man. Wow.
Well, they just hit the go button, and then
what happened to us? Now we're
Outside of the first time
losing
we saw it on
fights
Clubhouse
now.
where they were a little bit out of sync.
Even got the opening pick.
Just that ability to say, we want to do this, and we're going to execute in this manner, and we're all going to do it at the same time. FaZe are the kings of that, and
We
that's
just
why
fell
I was very
off
much
big
surprised also
time.
back on Club where they actually failed to do it properly for their level. But they've shown it now twice on Labs that they've just got, you know, what was it, like a minute 10 on the clock, and they're like, bam, we're going to hit storage, and we're going to all do it from these different angles. They didn't necessarily have the kind of control into IT that you really want. And KDS's ability to also just pull out the Vendetta, easy headshot, good night, Canadian. And in the end, then, yeah, they were able to get that IT control closed out. So they had top four, they had storage, they had the site, and they now have the lead. 5 rounds in a row. Shopify on the ropes. They've already taken their time out.
I don't know what we do here to bring it back, but I hope we figure it out. Because that one went about as well as it could have for us in the beginning, and then we just absolutely got walloped.
Caught in a bad
We lost our
moment when you've got
firefights.
2 players trying to play a single firefight, crouch rotate between sites itself. The second double kill as well was, again, you know, if you're in a situation where you're trying to get the trade on an angle, it's great. But the toughest one is when the player you're going up against doesn't have to let go of left click and just slightly move the sort of aim over.
And they got an opening kill that as well, and a very important one by dealing with the A's with the Nitrocell through the floorboards. I thought that was a really, really well-worked opening kill for Shopify.
But look at the response. Was FaZe just went, okay, let's just run into site. Let's
Is
just
that
go
right,
in
Simple?
towards, you know, the
believe you.
warehouse area.
Ambi, save us!
There wasn't anyone that was on
Ambi has been fully fucking shut down. Alright, he's alive.
Ambi, that's a big kill on to Cyber. Rexon also to find
Oh
one,
my
then
god, we're
two
back.
in quick succession, and Shopify flipped their own switch and suddenly have been able to find 3 kills in less than a minute.
What happened?
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier
I mean,
clips.
Let's be honest, that was
Shopify just went bang.
It was almost 4 kills in the opening sort of minute there. We've not seen a pace like that at all from either of these 2 teams.
Well, it was more so set by FaZe in a lot of those little pushes, but yeah, I mean, this round is basically just done. It's forfeited already. FaZe, I think, just tried to go quick and get some of the key power positions quickly. Rafters there on the entry from Cyber shut down. Ambi playing a good spot. He gets a wonderfully well-reflexed kill. And from there, Rexon, we didn't quite get to see his POV, but he just finds 2 very quickly at the same moment in time, indicating to me that FaZe wanted to just go for a surprise hit. They wanted to try and put it
shoddy climbs out electrical
as soon as possible. It doesn't work. Credit to Shopify. They were ready for that pace from FaZe. They dealt with it seamlessly. This round, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much over. Soul's effectively on 1 HP. And Canadian will get himself the easiest kill of this series.
I mean, at that point, you know, when you're just limited to 2 players, your Ash is 1 HP. Again, it's a 1-headshot game, but they also still have
lovely, lovely.
And
Lovely. Now let's start using that momentum again.
Between this map and the last.
That was really, really good. They're not gonna play like that again. They're not gonna just fucking bum rush again. But hopefully that'll be good for the mental reset.
All the way into the end. What we need to see now from the side of Shopify Rebellion, if you are supporting them, is to buck that curse, break that trend, and get yourself a second round tied in a row. Put yourself on towards map point and at least guarantee yourself that third half of
I want to see us on bank so bad.
It's not really a full half.
It's our worst map, and I really want to see us do something extraordinary, beating FaZe on it.
Step themselves back in, reevaluate the pace. You're rotating around here, and remember the fact that now, if Shopify lock down this site, they have to go back to storage, or obviously they could try and take kitchen if they wanted. At this point, you know, you're sort of eyeing this one up. If FaZe are able to win this out, what do you do there from the side of Shopify? Do you try and risk it on the next side? Do you
He's the prime red.
Or do you try and double down for the first time?
I think their focus just needs to be on this 11th round right now. Lock in at least overtime as a minimum. At this very point of Clubhouse, this was, of course, the unfaithful round for Canadian, where juggling the diffuser inside of CCTV ultimately led to their demise. It was then a 7-5 win for FaZe.
Come on. Come on. Let's have another fucking
for the second map.
massive,
away, though, for me,
massive one.
Storyline of this match.
I was trying to think of a cool analogy and couldn't think of anything. I'm nervous.
Been very competitive against a very good FaZe clan.
Oh yeah, this has been a great, and this is the thing about Shopify.
That's such a shame. Okay, we traded it though. We traded it. Okay.
Very important pick back up there.
Thank
to make
God.
sure Cyber just can't start screaming his way through. But at this point, the same way we commented about how FaZe need to approach this or how they did, you pull yourself back. You are wasting time on the top floor. You're making them have to check and recheck. So they only have 30 seconds when they approach the site itself, and they've been able to get themselves back towards the site. Now,
I think losing Cyber here is worse for FaZe than it is. Ambi's done his job. You're losing the puck. You're losing the skeleton key. The ability to open up floorboards.
They do still have at least 2 boogie drones ready to try and throw through, but obviously those are much more directional to what they can try and take out. And what you're looking at is isolating.
Let's go, gentlemen.
Corner that they had last time round, where they went for the Hail Mary C4. Now Canadian has snuck right underneath the player above. You might not entirely know. You can get a great 2-story watch, but if he can strike here, it could be huge. He is technically deep behind enemy territory. And
this is a really good position.
Most important, there's 2 players.
Perfect.
Oh
my goodness.
Does he know about
he didn't.
Oh, he doesn't need to, but he's
Okay,
able.
at least he got out. He could have got the second, I think, but he didn't know. Don't peek it, don't peek it, don't peek it, don't peek it.
Little moment, but again, more attention. Now Canadian
He knows, he knows not to.
There is no way out, but this ready C4 is if they drop, they'll blow it out on the castle and take the player out on the other side. But at this point, FaZe, look at them. All 3 remaining players.
Just keep him there. Like, you're doing it. Oh,
They're
God.
sending it.
Oh, God.
He does.
Huge.
Gets it. Canadian swings around another goo mine for the trouble. All right, send the next one here.
All right, honestly, just keeping them looking there is great. Like, that's just super helpful.
40 seconds. They now have a
that extra
crossfire.
kill was just gravy.
The castle is gone as well. The smoke canister, I believe, pops off. They're going to drop in the back of it. Canadian takes a lot of damage swinging it. There's the motion, but there's the cover. They get 1 kill. Now they've got to try and get the rest with 20 seconds left. At this point, the diffuser's still at least close to them. The castle's going to slow them down a bit. They're having to deploy a hard breach charge. Precious time taken away and a bulletproof, giving the read on everything.
No, God.
Just to stop it. Give themselves
Good shit, Surf.
Nicely done.
Good work. All right. Good work. Good work.
They're able to do it. Double
one more.
down,
One more.
2 rounds in a row. 1 more separates us from a 3rd map.
I thought Surf was going to pick the right side from his angle of the tank, and if he had done that, I think he loses his life. Instead, then goes back left side, knows then that the other player for FaZe is looking to push into the site, gets the free kill because he's more worried about positioning and entry than he is actually for getting the kill. Overtime guaranteed for Shopify and well deserved for them. FaZe now on the road.
I will not be playing Poppy Playtime Chapter 4.
They have to overcome, but Canadian talk about an old head that stands up in a very pivotal round. Back on Clubhouse, it was this very round that he stumbled, but now on Labs, he is a big reason why they've got this 6th round and overtime guaranteed at the very minimum. Now with an opportunity to take this map.
Come on. Let's take the map.
Bank, of course, waiting as the decider.
Let's do that.
And close things out.
Thanks to give some
You
pepper.
said it, the Canadian isn't always the player that gets a lot of kills and you want everybody to, but when he gets them, they matter. And what he has, and his long history to always...
I haven't watched the edit clips, but I will be.
Ability to know where to go, know when to be, and know when to sort of take these chances and conversations. They have rotated on.
Thanks, Tab.
Third side. They're not going towards kitchen. No, fair enough, to be honest. It's a very awkward hold onto it. You've got a lot of soft that can play above. There's a very narrow possibility of playing inside. Here, you at least get the extension above. You can almost
Did you get access to the Night Rain playtest? I did not.
And then just
I didn't apply.
line to sight down below. Now, last time there was 2 instances, 2 Shopify Rebellion players getting stuck in a single situation and both of them losing their life, even with the man advantage. You assume there's going to be a much more keen eye towards the approach here of FaZe, so they don't just slip their way through the mirror. Getting the read, Surf, sort of saying what's going on here. Now they have to play. There's the broach, there's the breach. Is that too late? The half of it will be tricked, but the other will get popped open. Now, how stuck is
Yeah,
it?
they know.
They
know. He's fucking super stuck.
In Labs, where FaZe have got the opening kill, but were unable to convert the round. So that was a first. That was a good little overcome as well.
Maybe not.
It's an awkward breach. It doesn't quite get the
Yeah,
mirror window.
they might not
can't
know.
Pass through it currently. They've got to try and get rid of that mirror window, get it popped, or get it a little bit wider. Now it does still create this angle of pressure that forced them some trouble and some drama before, but again, it's the cost of this hard breach to play against it. There is the entrance that they made last time. That was their single sort of route through. It'll get itself popped open. It'll be a hop through. Not always slow them. In fact, no, that's not a route through either. The impact trick from the top rope stops it as only another angle. It gets re-electrified.
Nice.
It's the weirdest state.
I don't think they know Surf's
the
there.
only thing they can walk in through right now is the
And I don't think that drone caught him. I don't think they... Nope, they knew he was there.
Sometimes the door.
That was big time coping.
Might just be the best option. It shouldn't be. Shopify have been able to do a very good job in the early portion of this round, but it's Cyber who gets the opening kill onto Surf. Saltz has made his way in towards Cargo as well. I mean, there's still a minute remaining, so despite everything done by Shopify, FaZe have got themselves at least into a position where they can still make something work. Be it over towards Control, over towards Cargo, so they're starting to get players facilitating into the building.
Boys.
Despite the advantage that Shopify have in keeping the vast majority out, they are starting to find and weasel their way in.
This is it. This
Man, I
side
am
is
hungry.
paper thin at points compared to the others. You're only really a couple of steps away, and you can see that divide perfectly illustrated. But it's a risky fight.
Nice,
You
Rexon.
win it out. Rexon instantly pivots the 180 down towards the bottom, but the plant is attempting to be secured. They're missing the shots in the smoke. FaZe, full faith in the cover.
Little more to the left.
Reloading. The man can't
Nice.
get it, but Ambi does.
Come on.
Souls gets it, but it's a post-plant situation. So Cyber.
Nice,
makes his
Ambi.
way in with Ambi getting Vidiking. It just takes one moment. One player, one
No,
drop, and there's
fuck.
some of the vertical, and now they've got the Overwatch on towards the kid itself. They're
one
not
blue.
going to be able to defuse it without getting this player out, and the blue pinch on the other side. It's
Nice, Canadian.
gets
Yeah.
Cyber.
He cleared it.
There's
Good.
the rotate round. There's the player
Good
out
shit.
on. There it is. Shopify Rebellion secure it, hold the key and get it locked in. And we are going to a map 3.
Map 3, baby. It's bank. It's bank. Our worst map.
They would have had, and they being FaZe.
And I want to see something extraordinary.
That kid, he stays behind. He gets a big kill onto Cyber. They win the round. Canadian, very, very, very slow start. Very slow. But then in the last
Actually,
two
while they're
rounds, when the
swapping, I'm
game
gonna
was
go
on
ahead and
the
get a
line, he makes
snack.
some
I am
clutch
fucking
plays.
hungry.
Shopify
Right
Rebellion
back.
get a map off of FaZe Clan. 7-5 on Nighthaven Labs. We have to go to bank.
The last time these two teams were on bank, well, Shopify did not get a single round. Will that be the tale again? We'll have to find out after a quick break. Do not go anywhere.
Keep an eye out for contact. Available now.
Acho que vai ser maravilhoso, eles vão ficar muito emocionados.
Alright, I'm recharged. I'm back. Oh yeah.
Com as pessoas que eu sempre joguei.
Yep.
Passei horas.
Time for big bank.
Jogando,
Big bank time.
Divertindo. E estar com eles lá, viver esse momento vai ser muito maravilhoso.
Pra mim, tá? Segura aí.
So sweet, thanks, Joseph.
Podem começar a conversar agora entre vocês, trocando ideia. Na moral, o Uruguai vacilou. Era o mesmo que vai perder o Giro no Brasil? Que isso, cara? Que isso, moleque? Caralho, viado. De onde você veio? Caralho, filho da puta, mano.
I know, bank is our worst map, which is why it's going to be so special to beat FaZe on it here.
Achou mesmo que ia perder o Giro no Brasil?
I think Luka will win a championship with the Lakers at some point. I really stand by what I said. I don't see him being a good fit for the Lakers, so not really. I'd love to be wrong, though. I'd love for Luka to win a ring. Really would. He's tier 1 Jester. Makes a gift sub skate.
Vim de Floripa, 12 horas de busão. E foi isso, tamo aqui. Que pilantra, mano.
It's Ventures Pro versus W7M!
To be fair, even if he's not a good fit now, he's on that team forever. He could win a championship in like 7 8 years, who knows? And LeBron will still be playing in 7 8 years. Like I'm telling you. That guy's never gonna retire. He's just gonna stay there forever.
Yeah.
He'll be there in a fucking wheelchair.
We're going back.
The only thing is if we've done like 10 games. It's like
Yeah, we have. We've done this.
What do you mean?
It's day one.
Oh, from the top.
I'm happy
You're talking
that
about
this is the
penal
series that we
measurements,
get
yeah.
to go
I
to
measured
3
from the
maps
top.
because you got 2 top teams. And I think that for Shopify Rebellion, they would have been kicking themselves of the missed opportunity that they had on Clubhouse.
Any more soap bags coming back for Cheeky?
Probably had
Need
a really
more?
good chance to go 6-5 up. Well, they were at least able to convert
they
the
were.
online
We
AMIs.
restocked them. Did they already sell out
Fantastic
again?
start, going and bringing it all
Thanks
the
a
way
Prime
back.
Cable.
4-0 to begin on Lab. 4 attacking rounds at that. They were clinical. They were making little to no mistakes. Ambi was popping off. Surf was popping off. Everything that could go right went right. And then FaZe did FaZe things and go and win 5 rounds in a row to make it 5-4, and you start to think for Shopify Rebellion it's going to happen again as it did on Clubhouse. But to their credit, they learned from their lessons. Canadians stood up massively in the 11th and the 12th rounds respectively.
LeBron will play
and they
till
go
Bryce
on
is in the
and take
league.
it
That's my
7-5,
thoughts.
even avoiding
I think
overtime.
Bron holds
I
out
mean,
until Bryce is there too.
Credit to the team. They sort of set themselves back up. They knew their mission that they had to have, the conversations they needed. You see how much it means to them. Remember, Canadian, I think the only player that's played in every single SI up towards this point as well. Every single round, every single win still means the same. It means everything to him. That is a man who wants his 3rd hammer for his hammer collection.
Cannot have enough of those.
Can never have enough hammers.
I think for me, Shopify Rebellion, you know, going up against FaZe, it was always going to be a bit of a daunting task because of how good FaZe are. But FaZe are the kind of team that you
Man,
probably
I didn't realize Rexon was actually
snatch
top
a win
fragging
early
for us.
on in
I mean,
the
Rexon did
tournament.
turn up
FaZe
hard
get
there
better
on
as the
Lab.
tournament goes on until the
It just
very
felt like
end,
Ambi
which
was just
they,
going
well,
ballistic,
they
and he
kinda
is.
can't deal with that hurdle.
But Rexon's actually doing
Shopify,
better.
I think that they've been really good on both maps, but Bank is going to be an
Just from
ultimate
KD
test because of
perspective.
the previous result back in Montreal.
Yeah, and I think that's the sort of split, right? How do you go back to a map that you got 07 last time you played it? How do you go back to a place where you had one of your most
Probably
crushing
not.
defeats?
Probably
on
won't be at the
this
Royal
major
Rumble
stage throughout the
next
year?
year.
That's the
We'll
issue.
see.
Like, you've
show
been
what you
great.
learned.
Labs won, Clubhouse close to winning, but now you go to a map that history says is going to be very, very difficult. But the good news for Shopify is this is not Montreal.
No.
And you can't play worse. Like, you can only have a better result than last time because it was a 7-0. And the way that they've been playing today, look, I don't see a 7-0 on the cards whatsoever. I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to win it, but I'd be very surprised if this ends up being a similar fashion to Montreal. I'm hoping and somewhat expecting it to be a similar fashion to our first 2 maps where 7-5 territory, either way.
I want to brawl. Because this is the... So, when the schedule sort of came together, you and I ended up casting this game. It had that little golden sort of line around it of this could be the best game of the day. This could be the best series.
And without a center, I don't see how that's possible. That's what I'm saying, man.
Now,
that's what I'm fucking saying.
There has still always been these moments where
I
you
think
go,
the quality's been very good.
Why is Bank a hard map?
It's very easy to nitpick
For us? Well, it's a hard map in general. And historically, we haven't done well on it. Last time we played FaZe on Bank, we got 7-0'd.
7-5, 7-5. You don't get that unless.
But that was last time.
Either really bad or really good.
It's a different
and
story
it's
now.
definitely been a far more likely case of really good siege.
What do you mean, Nelson?
From
There's
both
not like
of
a whole
these two
story behind it,
teams.
it's just from one
Again,
video.
outside of little moments here or there. Like you look at Handy, sensational on Clubhouse, and then a little bit poor on Labs. Canadian, little slip up on Clubhouse, but then clutches up on Labs. So both teams have been quite similar in that regard, Emmy, where it's like.
I don't know if it's that crazy.
And that applies
6.5 is not like
Whereas
unreal.
For FaZe, usually their opponent will have more bad moments, and they just kind of capitalize, and they get a pretty easy win. 7-3, 7-3. Shopify Rebellion have had really, really good moments. Ambi has been absolutely incredible. Surf has been also right alongside him. Grixer and Rexon have both stood up in some clutch moments, and Canadian, yeah, maybe some poor moments here, but largely to close out on Labs was great. Whereas for FaZe, you know, how often have we seen some of their members? It feels like if Handy is poor, the team does slip a little bit. He was great on Clubhouse.
You
and then
think
at
my
one point
Eagles
it's
can
like
beat the
0-3 on
Chiefs and
entries
refs?
on Labs.
They
start to go a little
can.
bit poor.
I don't know
Was
if they
it four
will, but I
players? It was
want them to.
KDS.
Thanks, membership
The only
meme.
player that had a kill for
I'd very
4
much
rounds of
like them
season.
to.
Like, you had 4 players that just couldn't even get a single kill.
Yeah.
For 4 rounds. Like, that was the start for FaZe. At the very least, if the ship's going to go down, they go down together.
I mean, that's the only way you can really sort of get yourself sorted. Now, obviously, as we sort of said before, this is a bit of a step back up in towards territory that they've played and beat heads on once before. It didn't go well. And there is the negative. There's also the massive positive here.
Chiefs making lifelong Eagles haters root for them. I know.
They know how to approach themselves back into a game. They
would have done their homework.
Oh, so much so. Otherwise, this map, if they hadn't have done all the homework to believe they could win it, we wouldn't be here. That is the rule of map banning.
Well, I said at the start of this series in terms of the pass mark, have Shopify Rebellion achieved that pass mark?
You're a
Ban Monty again, just ban Monty again.
A stringent educator.
I would go as far to say
We do not want to give them Monty
very
again.
close
That
to
really
reaching
fucked
it.
us in map
the pass
1.
mark here for Shopify on the series is for this to be a contest. And for that to be a contest, it has to be 7-4 minimum. So that would be the pass mark that I set now for Shopify Rebellion. They don't have to win this map necessarily. Said that from the get-go.
You did.
And I did also say 1-1 from the get-go.
Monty's back on the board. Blackbeard instead.
Take Monty off the board.
Is gone at this point. Habana.
Ooh.
I don't need to ban the Monty on Bank.
Is Monty not good on Bank? I see Monty and Bank used to all the time.
Blackbeard ban overall. Blackbeard has been a very strong operator in this series, so I think that's a very strong ban on a map like Bank as well.
I gotta run some numbers.
Why isn't Monty as good on Bank?
Are you an accountant?
This is the sound of me like rubbing my eyes and looking back up at that band and rubbing my eyes again.
Because he's only good for basement?
Azami is not banned by a Canadian-led team for a long time.
I don't think that's true.
A Canadian-led team would ban 2 up.
He's not going to be good on top floors, but he's still decent outside of basement. Like, at least I
His army
think.
ban carried over here, and yeah, she's a powerful
Of course, I'm not a
operator,
fucking
but
expert, though.
Hey, she's free to play, and it's not always, but it is enough that it is funny to play itself around. Now, Bank. This was also a map where we saw
I don't know
a
what
bit
my
of
chair is, Valeri.
a shake to some other NA teams before. Can Shopify Rebellion here sort of demonstrate what North America can bring to the Bank, what can be deposited. FaZe will be starting on their attack once again. Let's see if they can try and set themselves in for a decent pace here.
Well, we
No
saw
hour-long
the
pauses
predictions there.
today?
I mean, what's
Nah,
your
it's only
prediction here?
Apex.
I haven't asked it of you.
A fun time.
You want a fun
The
time? I want a
audience.
result from you. I want a result.
You know who's going to win? The audience is going to win.
Well, the audience has already won, I think,
That's
with
true,
the first 2 maps.
It's so hard to gauge. I want to see an OT. I would like to get a full test of both these teams. And honestly, if we get there, either of the teams could win it. Who do I think is going to win it? It's so hard to call. And that's sort of a great compliment to both these 2 teams, really, when it's not that sort of cut and dry. Surf is on out of here. Himself a slightly safer position further down
There's your goof.
green, but he's probably not going to stick around too long. I also avoided your question because
did.
I honestly can't answer.
That's fine.
I'm fine to throw these answers out. Maybe I've changed my time in Boston. The hatch will be open next to him, so he can drop away if he wants to, and be going to try and waste a little bit more time, but you pull back, you waste time. I hate that computer as well.
For Shopify, they're just playing a pretty much default lockers and CCTV, where you kind of just fall back. You waste a little bit of time, but it's not really your main accomplishment. You've got a lot of delay. Try and stop a bit of a default plant on the server side push for FaZe if they do opt to go in that direction. We've got other avenues though. Handy on the Nook. Now, will he eventually make his way over towards Garage? I think he may. He'll want to probably get a bit of a wriggle on though. There's a minute 20 on the clock, so the pacing does need to improve here from FaZe. Otherwise, Shopify looking in a better position right now, needing to just sit back, play sight. And the diffuser's actually over towards blue. I mean, this is... Well, I mean, honestly, looking like it's really well set up for Shopify. It's going to be a default.
I like hearing that.
The Bs go out.
Oh,
I mean, they've got the track on the players. They've got the fire popping on the door.
They can't push in.
That's it. But right now, all they're doing is wasting all that utility. It's stacked and ripped and ready to go. Cyber's holding onto the split. They're going
No,
to
no, 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 God!
See if they can try and stop it by spraying the Echo Drone. That's the difference maker right
cool.
now.
He
You can
prone.
see
We're good.
the slow approach of the Nook.
Nope, he came back. Fuck!
Takes the drop on the top of Rex, and now and it makes things a little bit
All
more
right,
possible.
good trade.
For
Way to trade it.
Canadian dips his toes in towards the fight on green. They pull themselves back in. They're going to attempt the plant once
Oh,
again.
God.
Now the pressure is stepped up right towards the door
Yokai.
itself. They're
Oh,
not
no,
able to get it. It's a post-plant situation. 7 players still stood.
Come on,
The
come on,
drop
come
down,
on.
not
Oh,
towards
boy.
goal, but it's
Oh,
back
God, this got so
to the
hairy
garage to the
quick.
far side.
They were
Only
out of
6 seconds
utility.
ticks
Come
away,
on.
but there's a player all the way on the top floor. Surf. He found himself new ground, new territory. He's going to try and retake and find the fights above, but the Canadian trying to dip himself inside the site as well. Look how little FaZe are giving them. They know the approach. They know the positions. He's going to hold for the long arm. He takes the drop. It was
Wait,
questioned before,
maybe,
but
maybe.
the trade
No way.
Surf
No way.
spins in a circle and sends him out of there.
So clutch. So clutch. So clutch.
I mean, get loud, boys.
That is exactly what you want to kickstart the map of Bank, specifically Bank. After what happened last time between these two teams, FaZe had that. It seemed like under lock and key.
I cannot believe FaZe just fumbled
despite all
that.
the denial opportunities from Shopify, the plant goes down.
Well, to be fair,
That
though,
then becomes a big
they
win
did
con
blow their
for
whole load. They had no
It's a
util left.
3v2
Like they
as
shouldn't have
well
even
in
gotten
the
the plant
post
down.
Surf finds the double kill.
That was some
Most
great
importantly,
work from the
big
boys.
reason why that
Buckled
was
down in
able to
clutch.
happen is Surf was very quick, and he understood we need to get admin control. We need to make sure that the hat is going to be not in play from FaZe in the post plant, so that Canadian can get on it and stick on it with the long arm of the law. Like you said, full well knowing he wasn't going to get shot through the hatch. Why? Because Surf just came through it, cleared it all out. He then turns his attention to protecting the more horizontal default positions. He finds the 2 kills. Enough time for Canadian, and that's the way that they win the round. Surf, sensational. Canadian, good composure.
I mean, you compare that.
We do have momentum now. We've got good momentum now. We can snowball.
With an attempt to stick a plant
Hopefully.
inside a Canadian with a bit of cover once upon a time that did not go their favor. It's almost like an anime
membership minty.
montage, and the growth has come
Yeah, it's still
together,
there, minty.
and everything goes slow-mo, and the old hand trusts the new
Well,
young
this is the
gun.
thing. In the moment on Clubhouse, that was the first real kind of incident. And since then, 2 clutches on Labs, big clutch as well, coupled, of course, with what Surf was able to do here on Bank. So it's like 4, if you were to put it as a block of 4, it's like, okay, 1 fumble, but for 3 touchdowns. Like, you know,
SR
like
Gold
you're
won their
gonna be
first map in
focusing
Valorant.
on the
Oh,
3
fuck yeah. I
touchdowns
forgot that was
rather than
going
the
on
1
right now,
fumble.
too. I thought it was later.
So credit to Canadian Surf. They've
That's
been
some
able to
good
steal that round
shit.
back from FaZe after they almost stole it with that plant. 1-0 start and a good start. And
Who won
already
Labs?
better than
We
last
won
time,
Labs.
Emmy. It's already just better. Like it's a round on the board on Bank between these 2 teams.
The hardest round to win is the first round, and when that somehow...
And you could see what it meant to them.
But this is it, when it somehow transcends multiple months of the last time you played Bank and you didn't get any, this is the first Bank round they've won over 8. what a round, what a moment, and what a clutch. But we're instantly back.
Where's the response from FaZe now? Because that's what this series has been all about. You know, it's kind of the fast start from Shopify, the slow start from FaZe, and slow starts have been 0-3, then into 0-4. Is it going to be 0-5?
Damn,
Probably
sorry to hear that,
not.
Dad.
But they do need to make sure, for FaZe's sake, that they don't just allow Shopify to get this 3 or 4 round head start. They've got to be better in the earlier portions of the first half.
Now, they have at least some of the eyes and angles. There's nobody that's intent on throwing themselves out the window as of yet.
No.
Surf, the hero of the last time round, is the first to be removed of this. There's no, there's no real location for him to sort of do the dip down and tuck around that he played so masterfully before the blinds. Towards the side of Banana here at the top of the spiral stairs, but it's
nice.
all over.
Good shit, Ambi.
Go their way. There's some important
All right,
cover.
all
There's
right,
2 kills
equalized.
that come through from the side of Shopify, but FaZe, they bleed their way in towards the site, and they have a single player behind them.
They do.
Yes,
We do have
he's gonna
souls
stick it.
down,
He's
so
gonna
it's
trust
fine.
it, and he has the lockdown. Where's the camera?
No, we know. We know.
It doesn't connect to the roof, but the smoke canister does get the kill. It's now a 1 versus 2 technically. And you get through to getting the player back up. He's downed outside.
Oh, we know, we
Where
know.
are they? The shotgun pellets are peppering and putting the pressure on, but Hamby, he wants to play against the kid itself. Handy, he's gone the long way round. He's going to see if he can get it. Are we going to see the second hold? Hold your nerve. Hold that round, Shopify. What am I seeing here, Xeno?
Oh, I mean, they're just holding on for dear life in the first 2 rounds. Quite
good shit.
Way to explain it. I mean, it's a really good
membership
little pivot
soggy.
at the end from Handy, but that's just the time. Give him, I would say, 2 more seconds, and he probably wins that round. But well played from Shopify Rebellion. FaZe trying to, speed things up a little bit, go for the quick hit. It worked back on Labs a couple of times, and certainly worked a lot on Clubhouse. And you'll see the time here. 1, 2, like 2 more seconds and he probably gets that kill and stops the counter defuse. That's how close that round was. That's what that round means.
Very good.
So far what this series is meaning for them. A 2-0 start for the 3rd map in a row. They had a 3-0, a 4-0, and now a 2-0. They have been electric to begin on all 3 maps. But we know what eventually then comes, and it's that FaZe tsunami. It happens in all of the maps so far. So that's going to be the task for both of these 2 teams. One team is starting fast, the other one then gets the comeback bounce. So for Shopify, it's like if they get to 3 or 4 rounds, they're going to be like, let's talk things over. We know they're going to hit us back. How do we stop that from happening?
I kind of feel a lot of similarities to how we opened here towards Club, where, FaZe were getting themselves in. They're a little bit disjointed compared to what they can do in that moment. They're obviously watching one position. They're going to try and stick the plant itself. They're trusting that there's nobody to stop it at that point. But, when it comes around to the retake in the situation, they have the man advantage. They're able to start to retake the space and then hold on to defusing the plant. The first round was just an insane clutch. That one was an opportunity that they obviously also clutched out, but at the same time, there was a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more give that was gifted to them by FaZe, sort of seeing turned out to be a little bit of a false started opportunity here. 2 rounds, 2 plants, 2 diffusers.
Is bank defense or offense kind of map? It's a fuck me in the face kind of map. It's just not usually good for us, but we're playing very well right now. Yeah, I played the finals quite a bit.
Spray, a little bit of a control here. Always the most common seen sight.
The one good news for FaZe, though, is Handy's back. It's 4-1, and he's playing a lot better to begin in the opening 2 rounds of Bank than what we saw from Labs. There are some elements that are a little bit different. KDS, very, very low on health. Does have the diffuser in hand, outside over towards Plaza on the rappel. Oh, and Vidaking just doesn't know really where he's getting shot from, standing out in the hallway, the elevator, and Surf will get the opening pick. There's a second to follow from Rexon. 90 seconds left into the round. It's all kicking off. Big kill back from Souls needed that to at least keep some kind of momentum over towards FaZe. Otherwise, it was all one direction towards Shopify. 4v3 still with the player advantage, coupled as well.
God, 2 are so low right now. So low.
Both incredibly low on health. This is looking like a 3rd round for Shopify.
I mean, it's an odd site to pick, but they've sort of made it work here. Tellers is the lowest preference of any of this. They've sort of bought themselves here. They've pushed FaZe into a bit of uncomfortable territory, and now instead, FaZe are trying to piece things together. It's sort of played into the fact where it's felt a little bit disjointed, but they're seeing opportunities, and they're a great team to strike. Their mid-round adaptations are fantastic from the side of FaZe, but again,
oh god,
they have a bit of awareness.
heavens.
Where was all that?
Good
Just
shit,
locked it
Grix.
down. KDS drifted, and again, it's these little moments where it seems like they've got an idea, but there's just one little secret part of a plan that Shopify Rebellion were able to
Oh, I
keep and
know.
hold on to.
Oh,
The
thank God.
army slips by.
Woo.
But they'll call that they've
Now
gone
we know.
right, but they don't know if they've gone up or down. In fact, they've come right back round. They want the engagement.
Okay,
It's not
that's
theirs
all
to
right.
take. Handy gets one. Said he's back. He's got to be more than back.
He needs
here.
his teammates. He needs his teammates. He's the only one doing anything on Bank so far. There will be a timeout after this, I imagine. As we've gone around the world, it'll be 3-0 for Shopify. FaZe will need to talk things over because it's another slow start. 3 maps in a row, and that's concerning. You know, 1 or 2 times and you can forgive it, but when it becomes a 3rd map in a row, that's a problem. You know, that is a decent sample size.
Man, we have been having such hot starts. Let's just keep this going.
Now, it's 3
Let's
maps where they've
change this from a
started
hot
so
start to a
incredibly
hot
slow
set.
against Shopify Rebellion.
Like
that
just
I'm
a
very much
nice
concerned.
7-0
That is
and a
something that could
handshake.
bleed into other games. This is a group of death. There's some really, really good teams when it comes to this particular group. Doesn't look like the timeout will be called, so I'm wrong for the first time in this series.
Everybody, tell the presses.
But I honestly
Alert
shouldn't
them.
be wrong. I don't know why you're not calling a timeout here. They haven't already called it, have they?
No.
Am I just like
Probably
an
maybe.
old brain fart? They called it after 1 round?
No,
They should have called it.
I think it's the thing about this map, though, is, you know, you can sort of formulate your attacks and get it in. In fact, what I might try and find out is do we know who had the choice of half? Do you have that data to hand? Is it something we can try and make?
I do not. I'm a play-by-play.
Surprised I haven't
That's
tried the
true.
Monty yet.
Well,
Well, I guess Monty's just
You
not
don't like
great on this map,
Actually,
which is news to me. I didn't know. I know Monty's good
close.
basement
No, it
here
did, so
in
I'm sorry
particular.
about
Let me have a quick little look for you.
I thought Monty was still fine as a pick, which is why I said might be worth banning him, but
defending first.
I guess not.
FaZe in overtime will also have defending, so they got the overtime side choice.
Yeah. So it's one of those maps.
They would have been a coin flip, I imagine.
Oh, 100%. But it's one of those maps where you could have a preference for attack. There have been teams that prefer to attack flank because for a creative attacking team, because of the weird amalgamation of spaces, of big vast ones, tiny little ones, and a great hatch synergy all the way from the top. You can hit the top of the map to the bottom within a second. You know, it's great for some teams to try and piece things together here, and okay, Shopify, they're playing their preferred half. Vidiking.
Where's that come from?
Narnia.
He's just sniped him. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's not good.
That's almost a bit of a tilter.
Yeah. Well, the first kill is theirs, and within the opening minute, they're still being very cautious.
Thanks for your
Well, it's not even their first opening pick. This is the problem. The first 2 rounds, FaZe got the opening kills, but they were unable to convert those rounds into round wins. So now, heading into the 4th round, it's going to be 3-1 in favor of opening kills for FaZe, and yet they don't have a single round on the board. And Handy, his presence is certainly known over towards Garage, but the red ping and yellow ping information as well. Over towards Ambi and Co. There is a double push coming in here with Rexon. Ambi losing a lot of his life.
Oh,
Rexon wants to get
whoa.
involved as well. He went prone.
That was a
lost also
crazy
a lot of his
challenge.
life.
What the
A lot of
fuck?
damage done from Handy.
I think put that one in the bad decisions book, boys, and try that one again. Going
What
into a
was
prone
that?
under somebody who has the pre-existing angles, and that angle is through a truck. It's not really the easiest fight to take, but confidence is key. And
Yeah, I
that's
like
there to
Alice in
start.
Borderlands a lot.
Drake is on towards the default plant spot here. We saw this played before. That'll give them just a little walk through, and then they'll sort of tuck and jiggle and try and bait the utility. They have a minute, but you're looking at 3 smoke canisters in the pocket and an echo drone. Perfectly pre-placed and lined up. There's the loop round over the top. The Tubarao is also trying to slow things down, but
Nice.
C4 is the most important slow. Souls
Good
is caught.
shit,
That's gonna put
Rexon.
the kit cold on the default plant location, so it's not the end of the world, but in a 4 versus 4 with Handy in a propped up position. And
He was just
great
so
grenade
low.
kill on
Yeah.
towards Rexon. How do they try and turn this into a round win here, FaZe?
You got Yokai, you've
Don't
got
cross,
one
don't
gas
cross.
main,
Wait, now
that's
you
about
can't.
it.
No, don't
And
cross.
position and numbers with FaZe. So it's a pretty even final 30 seconds coming up. FaZe, though, with the extra player, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, they have the vertical, they have the watch from deep, they have the position,
that's
and
clean
Handy.
from Handy.
Tough.
Beautifully
Yeah, it's
taken.
gonna be tough.
Was the first. They actually just drop into the
All
side.
right,
They've
all right.
realized 4 versus 2. We know where they are. Let's go for the flood while they go for the plant. It is secured. Great play there from FaZe, just to Finland sort of put the final
Reached
touches
David
on
in the
Here we
front
go.
short.
Now they're going to win.
Now
next
don't
3.
don't let them
And it's
do
gonna be
this
4-3
again.
for FaZe. I feel like I've seen this movie script before. Very lazy of the script writers to just reuse the
Honestly,
same material.
They're using it early as well. Like, they're sort of padding it up. Because Last SI had the greatest stories.
Well, I mean, it's
Siege
a
ever told.
very simplistic round to kind of look back to, because I mean, we've kind of gone over it from the replays, but earlier with Handy getting so much damage onto Rexon and Ambi, it just limits their ability to be aggressive, wanting to hold angles. They're just so low on health, it becomes a lot easier for FaZe to actually finalize and get those kills, courtesy of the damage done from Handy. But like, what are those two thinking? I mean, I understand they want to try and contest over towards Garrett. You either have to fully commit, double swing, and take the 2-on-1, or you just don't do it at all. And in the end, they did this like little half measure, half double peak, but 1 by 1. It's like, oh, drop. Okay, I lost a lot of life. Your turn. Oh, drop. Oh, I lost a lot of life. And they just both run back like scared children. And it
I mean, he's not wrong. It was a terrible idea.
Garage. He did a lot of damage.
It did fuck us.
Like, nothing that Shopify did at that point in the round helped them out whatsoever. FaZe punishing mistakes. They're really, really good at that. 3-1. And this is where the test begins now for Shopify. 0-3, 0-4, 0-3 starts on the opening 3 maps, followed then by FaZe winning 4-5.
All right, nice.
Ooh, that will be a rehost, I
And
presume.
1 into a rehost. Yeah, that's a drop.
Damn it!
Rules, if a player disconnects immediately, assuming the admins are going to sort this out. If no lives have been traded, if there hasn't been an impact on the round, then you'll just actually replay the round. You can see Super is questioning that, but that's not our job.
Super's like, what do you mean rehost?
Yeah, it's not just
But
if it happens in
if
the
it was a
prep
player
phase.
from Shopify, it'd be like rehost?
Yeah. If you are deeper into the action, if action has already kicked off, then you have to lock in. But on top of those rules, rehosting a round, you have to choose the same operators, the same site, the same setup. Well, you don't have to do the same setup. You have to do the same operators in the same site to keep everything level. You cannot go in and entirely change things up. That'll be down to them.
It gives us a chance to kind of just, like, have a breather.
Yep.
It's been a very spicy series. 7-5 on Clubhouse to FaZe, 7-5 on Labs to Shopify Rebellion, and
Doing
now
really
it's
well,
a
Hawks. We're doing
3-1
very
lead
well.
on Bang
Look at
for
that
Shopify.
binder of strats.
God, Siege is such an interesting esport.
It's thorough. It's well produced. Usually you'll just like
I
you
love
see
that.
teams that have just like scraps of paper and they utilize. That is like a text.
Can't think of many other esports that'll have an entire fucking playbook.
Pages do you think there are? That's a lot of pages. Like, are all of those pages used?
Thanks,
Or is there, like,
Sagan.
a bunch of that are just empty?
Do you think there's just some like ones that are just like pictures?
Just some inspirational,
It's like-
motivational quotes.
Yeah,
just
like-
you can do it.
Like, keep it up.
I think for FaZe, like, they've got that round. Okay, Handy's playing really well, so there's a lot of caveats you can take from them and say, okay, like, it's happened again, 3rd map in a row, that they've started poor, started slow, but they also know that they've got the ability to bring these games back pretty quickly and pretty comfortably. You go and get that round.
Imagine
start to
League
play a
with
little bit
playbooks.
better, everyone
Well,
else
there's
starts to get
not.
a
So
little bit of composure,
there
a
really
little bit
isn't
more
any other
confidence.
game that would be
Handy's leading the
conducive to a
way.
playbook.
They have that path forward.
The reason a playbook
and they know
works in
full well.
Siege is because there are certain comps that you
Obviously,
can
from
pick
the
and
side
certain
of
things that you
Shopify,
do,
they
and
start
each
well
round
and then
starts
kind of slow
somewhere
down a little
else.
bit.
So you're always going to be switching what you want to do in different
This is the
ways of
thing that
approaching an
obviously
attack or a
Wildcats have sort of
defense.
adopted over the past few years, maybe.
The only other
Because
game that
Wildcats
works in
are
is like
people
sports
that are either
games.
important to them, or just fun memes,
Or a fish or something.
or a fish onto the back.
Counter Strike has
I mean,
playbooks. Counter Strike's another
Hey,
good. Yeah, that was
Should
another
I,
one I could have
should I
picked
put
on.
a picture of
You're right.
Buzz and you put a picture of Hap on the
Counter Strike
on the
as well.
table?
No.
We do this for you.
We'll put it on the the cool Metropolis style backdrop. But you know, this sort of. One of the teams used to have pictures of their player managers. So one of the people who runs the tournaments, every team will have someone from the staff that looks after them, make sure they have all their drinks, and he
Thanks,
became their
Prime Merc.
lucky charm for the team. It was SSG, and they were like, "We need you as part of the team." It was nice support. I'm not sure who that is on the
Val
servers.
by extension, I guess. I don't think Valorant has playbooks. I could be wrong. I haven't seen any.
What would you have?
What's important?
Of course, there are strats and everything, but they don't have like playbooks.
Understand the scenario.
They of course have different strats and different setups and everything, and you need to know the setups at the highest level. But I don't think they have like full-blown
Get this great
playbooks.
start. Things are looking great. You're amped up. 2 kind of clutch-worthy opening rounds. They're playing good Siege, and then all of a sudden, FaZe just go bang, 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 and your lead has not only evaporated, but you've given up the lead in total. So it's like FaZe, slow start, then Shopify slow, and then we do that little trade game.
They probably eventually
Until we
will,
get
just
to
haven't
5-5,
gotten there
and then
yet.
someone just
Maybe.
kinda finishes it off.
It's
So
very possible.
can we flip that script? If Shopify were to like win the next round, like that hasn't happened this series.
Yep.
Like that's kind of crazy to even think about.
Yeah. It's also worth noting during these tech timeouts that players cannot talk to their manager, and in fact they can't really talk to each other as well.
They don't need to talk.
They don't need to, but
They
if
can
you're
all think internally.
Yeah,
What's
but
taking
if you're
so
sat
long?
there wondering, why are they just
Player
so
DC'd,
slow?
so they gotta
Why are
reset it.
There are rules about that.
Our first holdup of the
Canadian
day.
actually used to sing when he was on, because there wasn't any rules stopping singing, and he wouldn't like sing anything particular, but just to keep the mood up, you know, and keep everybody going.
Yeah,
and,
Toasty.
And it's a break in energy. It's a break in momentum.
Ready DC on land. Brother, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. I don't know how it happens in Apex. I don't know how it happens in Siege. I don't get it. It's a fucking LAN. PC problems, I get. DC problems at a LAN, I don't.
So this is almost like a second start that they get themselves the ability to play into here. No yawning.
Our soap is called Cheeky.
I like
And
the
no,
sort of
it's
split
usecheeky.com.
as well.
Thanks to
I
Dylan
like the
Rui
split
in the
game.
resub
That's
yet.
where I
Thanks
think
for a long time
moments away
watching,
from
Yuri.
getting back into bank.
Thanks for that.
Third and final map of this series here for Group B. Only day one, but of course already off to a flying start when it comes to these two top teams. 3-1 in favor of Shopify. Been in this position before, though, through all three maps. They've got to find a way to make sure that FaZe do not go on that tear, go on that run that they've done so far through the opening two maps. And if they can do that, Emmy, well, they can probably do anything.
Do you know what's the limit? The sky.
Well, no, you can go through the sky.
What? Since
Yeah.
when?
I mean, there's space.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Do people know?
Some people.
All right. Good. As long as the word's out. 3-1. Shopify Rebellion, and we're back getting ourselves in. Now the stats have obviously been reset along at the bottom as we had the rehost, but
That's okay. I have the stats here anyway.
I was gonna say, throw us in a brief bit of context as to who's sort of a bit stop out and who's stopped and is a little bit out.
So Handy 6-1, absolutely by far and away the best player on the server when it comes to bank. But what's strange is he's not been involved in any of the entry battles. After, of course, on Nighthaven Labs, he was someone that struggled in
Now
that
we just
particular
can't let
part,
them
going 0-3. He's 0
get 3, 4 in a
Probably
row
reason
like we
why
have
he's
been.
improved,
We've had a
you know,
really
on
hot
bank
start.
versus Labs.
We
He's
just
not quite
lost
getting
one
into the
round
entry
there.
battles. On the
And let it
flip
just
side,
stay
when it
at
comes to
one round
Shopify
loss. Let's
Rebellion,
not
yeah, they're up
let's not
3-1
let this
right now,
become
but
like an
they've got one
avalanche
player that's
again
actually
for no
above 100
reason.
EPS, so that's Grixer, who's in 3-3. Canadian 2-2, Surf 3-3, Ambi 2-2, Rexon 2-4. So the numbers are all pretty equal when it comes to the side of Shopify. Handy leading the way for FaZe.
It's also the split there onto the KOSD, the cost, which is your kill, your objective play, if you survive the round, or if you've got a trade. Now, Handy is on 100%. Every single round, he has had some kind of an impact on the game. But the only one who isn't, at least on 75, is Vidaking, who's on 50. Whereas on the other side, generally, the individual players of Shopify Rebellion have had less impact every single round. It's been more sort of, this is a big round for, you know, Grixer. This is a big round for Canadian. So getting themselves that sort of flat synergy is something where we know FaZe are always just a second from striking. Talking of, here they are, prepped and ready inside tellers.
What are the scores? It's 1-1.
Those players to potentially try and
FaZe won Clubhouse, we won
Rolling
Labs.
ahead, but Cyber sitting.
We could have won
waiting,
Clubhouse, we
Predator
just had a
hoping
bit of a
there's somebody to
flub.
latch onto, is unaware that the Gazelles at the sort of watering hole are being watched
I'm not sure,
by
Hux.
the Lion.
That'd be nice.
Oh, now they know they're being watched by the Lion. The Lion has to leave. The Lion with a gun. It's gone.
The Lion with the gun is scared of the Gazelles?
Sometimes it happens. You know? King of the Jungle. Lives in a desert. Weird analogy. 3-1, a minute 20. All 10 players still standing, Zeno.
Yeah, they are. And that's probably good news for Shopify. So far on Bank, FaZe have been pretty decent into the opening kill department, 3 from 4. So that's been an element of the particular map that is going in favor of FaZe. The
Nice. Good shit, Surf.
Shopify puts him in a position to get
Opening
their
pick.
own opening kill. Surf will collect that onto Cyber. Advantage for Shopify going into the final minute. Can they break the curse? Can they find a way to
Break the
disallow
curse.
FaZe the ability
Return
to
the
go on that run that
slab.
they've been able to do through the opening 2 maps, now coming into the third? starting with 1 round after the 3 from Shopify. It could be shut down immediately thereafter. 40 seconds. Handy.
Can
with
he
one
hear that
logic
from
bomb
there?
remaining,
I think he did,
and
right? He
starts
did.
to make his push now through archives and making contact with Sir.
Oh.
The shotgun opens up the wall, but only makes it easier for Handy to get
Close.
the kill.
That was so
1v4,
fucking close.
Final 30 seconds.
They hope that they're able to get him pressed
membership
against
noodles.
the wall, but they haven't been so fortunate. So now it's a drive towards Janitor. They're not going to go for that sort of plant play because
Good
it's
shit.
on the other side, but there's a
Good
dip
shit,
round and a
Grix.
rock from Grixer now. Holding on to the split outside the breach itself. Caught!
Beautiful.
On the side of Spiral,
Good
just
shit, Canadian.
drifting up into no man's land, and KDS is taking a breather, leaving Souls with 4 players to try and cut his way through in only 4 seconds. I don't think it's going to be done because it's pretty much literally impossible. Now, Shopify.
Very
What have
good.
they done
Very,
here?
very
They've
good.
broken the
Very
fact
good.
that it's been
Broke the
big
curse.
trades back and
Now let's keep
forth.
going.
Suddenly, haven't been able to the first time
That was me sneezing the curse
get that
out.
momentum, dig themselves into it and turn 1 round into 2 into 3. No, it is a 4-1 phase locked out of that game.
Yeah. Really throws a spatter now into the series, doesn't it? Especially for the side
Reacting
of
to
FaZe.
Battlefield?
Shopify
Yep. I saw it.
doing what they've not been able to do.
Hope you're having a good day,
opening
Chris.
2 maps, but get a response after their little streak came to an end. So it was a 3-0 start. Then FaZe gets 1, and Shopify then immediately get 1 thereafter. They couldn't do it on Club. They couldn't do that on Labs either. But here on Bank, they now go 4-1 up. Final round of the half now forthcoming. And again, this is why I always felt like in Montreal, they were just happy to qualify for SI. They got, obviously, a very tough FaZe team in the quarterfinals. They were happy, they were laughing, they had good energy, good vibes, but it just never felt like they were competitive inside of the server. And it's the opposite. Absolutely opposite in this series. They look competitive. They look like they want to take it up to FaZe. They actually look like they care about this game wholeheartedly, and it's clearly showing.
So,
it would also mean for FaZe, it will be 2 losses in a row at 6 Invitational.
And the technical at the end of one,
Yep.
the bookend of one, and the start of the next. It's not the perfect way to get yourselves in, but it's the group stage. As you said, if there's a time where you're going to lose a game,
If there is a
this
time,
is
yeah.
the best time. And, you know, we've had teams win the whole thing entirely on lower bracket runs. They're not even guaranteed to be in the lower bracket. We're on day 1 of 5. They have CAG tomorrow, Cyclops Osaka Gaming. They can set themselves in against another team that they've, you know, got all the prep on, reset, and if they win that, okay, suddenly things are balanced. Your opponents today are going to play 4 total games as well, 3 other games. There's always the chance that everything will spiral around, but here, we're talking as if the map's done. It's not. It's FaZe. They always have the ability to get themselves back in. They're a world-class team against another world-class team here at this point.
Where's Surf right
They're
now?
going to see if they can try and set themselves back in it. It starts with a bleed on towards sort of basement and lockers site, a place where they were able to put the pressure on before and find some victory. Here, Shopify, instead of rotating to the third side, the first time they've doubled down as well, gone back. The one that they've lost within that 3-point rotation.
Yeah, I don't know if Handy's been able to get the most out of these shock drones either. But Yokai is still available, Gas Babe's still available, Vulcan canisters that still need bombing. Only just over a minute. There are 2 Vulcan canisters you can clearly see through the observation. Thank you, Sky. ADS sending his drone in to try and find some information going into the final minute. This is a little bit scrappy right now from FaZe. It's going to be late. They haven't really got good pressure over towards, say, Garage, so it's all going to be rather one-sided in their approach. Out of elevator goes Surf.
Yeah, don't have to
towards
challenge
Bolt.
that. Don't have to
Maybe
challenge that.
anticipating FaZe
Good
is
call.
gonna Go for a bit of a different
Oh,
angle
boy.
of attack. They do lose Canadian. That's a big power kill. The smokes, the gas babes, they're off the board. With the final 40 seconds remaining, it does open things up for Shopify.
Hey, come on, no. Needed that. Traded it at least, but nice.
Taking them a bit by surprise, but back and forth still.
Come on.
Traded out. Grixer and Rexon both stuck in gold. Once the swap to the Echo.
Do they know we're in gold?
Is being secured.
I think they know. I think they know only Grixer's here, right?
Gets the threaded needle.
Huge,
Drone.
huge.
The Echo drone rotates around towards the bottom of green.
Come on,
The
Rexon. Come on,
pressure,
Rexon.
The attention from Rexon.
No!
Second hit misses. It's a post plant. And now a 3 versus 1. The Echo trying his best to get the lock in here. Couldn't quite stop the second plant attempt.
Fuck, that was so doable if he gets that kill. That was so doable if he gets that kill. Alright, 4-2's fine.
Not the most unusual
It's alright.
scoreline.
Come on.
I think my wish will come true. We might find ourselves.
Hey, fuck yeah, thanks for the raid, Light. Hope you had a great stream.
Canadian losing
Thank you,
his
some
life,
Grimes.
I think, through the main stairs. But either way, he's playing such an important operator to be able to deny the plant from going down on the smoke. You want those gas babes. He loses his life rather early when that eventual push is coming through. At one point, it's a 5v3. So the 2 kills for FaZe really setting
Appreciate
the
that, brother.
tempo.
Hope you're doing
Yeah,
well.
it's an absolute free kill. Grixer, of course, not really in a position to do much from there, but well
All right.
from FaZe, they looked like a team that had
Big attack
It was
side
always
now.
handy to go and find these kills.
Ambi just go ballistic.
Other members on the roster, 2-4 might be enough. Yeah, it very well could be. FaZe go defense now, straight over to lockers and CCTV. But Bank is certainly the kind of map where you can facilitate very good attacking rounds. I think Shopify Rebellion have shown they've got the ability to win attacking rounds as well in this series. Ambi, Surf, both been great when it comes to entry engagement. So I think that they've got the firepower to still be able to get through FaZe. A lot of it's going to come down to these next 2 to 3 rounds, though, to really set the tone, set the tempo. The FaZe make this a 5-4, and yeah,
team
maybe
playing
they go
Valor
and
right now
close it
too.
out.
Yep,
If
one of our
Shopify can
teams is
extend
playing
this
Valor
lead,
right now
get to
too.
a 5-2, get to a 6-2.
Come on,
I
Canadian,
think
let's
they
shit a
can
little
close it
ass,
out as
huh?
well. So next few rounds,
Let's get a little crazy here. I'm feeling something big, Canadian. I don't know, there's something in me's telling me.
Different map, different play space. There's a lot more space, and that makes things awkward for a player like Cyber, who wants to keep himself moving, keep himself sort of agile and aggressive and digging their way in here, and sort of trade off of how it's actually also played a bit by Souls as well back then, and stuff too. Either way, Canadian is a man who likes to lock himself in towards that Monty role. He can utilize the shield, call the intel, call the positions, and call the chance at a plant. And the plant game is one I'm
Nice, Ambi.
by Cyber. Ambi
Fuck
cutting
yeah.
his way across.
Fuck
Yes.
yeah.
Playing that entry role.
We got
here.
Canadian on the
Wants to
Monty.
control the hatches that force them out,
Yes.
force the players further and further back in towards open, down towards the bottom of green as well. Canadian's just propped up, eyes on towards server, and he doesn't really have to go anywhere at this point. Instead, actually, he's going to get a lot of work done. Now, I think he might be entirely alone. So he doesn't want to get himself too close to the fire, but he's done the job that needs to be done. You can just start reading this, start calling
Hey,
that intel. Now,
dirty
Monty is
dirty
gonna be
deeds
great
done dirt
defensing
cheap, as
that
they say.
He wants to start the plant, start the sort of give and say, go on, throw your smoke canisters over, throw the C4s, move out the way, get rid of it, as that timer is still at 1:30. Because remember, that's what, 45 seconds plus a C4 worth of utility. You've got to try and cook your way through.
Yeah. Those Zoto canisters either to aid into the stalling out, really just down to the 3 gas babes for Souls.
Alright, Ambi joining Canadian.
Shopify wanting to be
Nice.
diligent.
Surgical. Surgical.
Canadian with the drone, getting some information for those in sight. So far, they're setting themselves up for a very successful 7th round.
Come on,
It
Andy.
all
Come on,
comes
Andy.
down to the conclusion, though, where you just can't make mistakes. Can't overpeak, overstep.
Oh, he saw the cross, he saw the cross.
Find a kill.
Close,
Soul's
so
able to
close.
stay alive and get into a position where he can send
Fuck,
out
that
these
was
gas
close.
waves looking to deny the entry for
You see him?
Shopify in the
Oh,
final 40
not
seconds.
quite.
Red ping, information. They are doing everything they can, though, to try and deal
Fuck,
with this
that was
smoke.
close.
Said it was about 45 seconds, and we hit that mark as soon as the first one popped off. You can see the watch on top of the sort of hatch, but there is a shotgun. Kaid is positioned right on the... In fact, not Kaid, it's KDS.
Nice,
Then
Grixer.
go different man, it's Goyo. Ready for the hatch drop to come through. Gets Grixer.
Nice.
Gets Vidaking, but it's Surf. Gets
Did
the
you-
trade out on towards it. The 2 versus 4.
Come on,
They're still
come
going
on.
to try and long arm those smokes. Canadian
I think
has
he
to
caught
pull
it. I think he
himself
caught
out
that.
15
I think he
seconds.
saw it.
He cannot sit and wait for that position to be cleared. They have to try and push themselves deeper in towards the side. And
Nice,
Surf
Surf.
threw himself up towards the watch. There's the drop. There's the play on towards it. And Souls with the
Placed it-
rotate gets one. But now, with the attempt on the plant, the security
Love it,
recover,
love it.
that is
Very
Shopify
good, very
Rebellion
good.
winning their first attack, getting themselves 5-2.
Tell you what, I mean, they were in total control there, but North American fans would still have their heart and mouths because there was like 4 seconds left and Canadians still hadn't started the planting process. And who knows, with one player still alive, if you can just find an angle, get that kill, 3-4 seconds left on the clock, it could have changed the course of that round. And
Have
it
you
would been
played or
quite
plan to play
humiliating,
My
but
Hero
Shopify
Ultra
always in
Rumble?
control.
Have
Navy
not
was
played
always
and do
gonna be able
not
to get
plan
that
to
plan down
play
successfully.
Ultra
They go
Rumble My
5-2
Hero.
up. We are getting a little bit of that back and forth, but because of that 3-0 lead for Shopify, they continue to maintain that 3-round advantage and start to edge closer to securing what would be an incredible series win to kick off 6 Invitational 2025 with this roster, with this new organization. FaZe, the runners-up of last year, 1 round away from claiming the hammer. This would not be an ideal way to start their comeback trail.
5-2. The pressure is always going to be ticking now. Change out here. Surf in a classic Dockery swap. Each big prank. You guys at home just work that one out. The rest of the team went for an entirely different take, whether they thought it'd be a different site or not. Maybe a double down of the same. Either way, new place, new home, new approach here. The Valk has the stretch through. Cyber was obviously the Tubarao was an early loss. Cross here, open. And that a little bit more extra wiggle room. This is the classic third site for most teams. Sometimes even the second, actually, for ones that hate playing on towards the top floor as it drops out of the meta favorite.
There's a prime cam.
Very concerned about the read onto those windows because, well, it's very likely that a player will try and throw themselves out. The claymores are set and prepped. It's otherwise a big open space. You have to sit uncomfortably hanging and dangling, almost waiting to be plucked and thrown into the afterlife by a player that feels the need to throw themselves out of a second-story window. FaZe sit and wait, see if they can try and get
super wholesome, Soft. Appreciate the kind words.
Kanto will start.
You gonna play Doom Dark Ages? Of course I am, brother.
Pressure without the Habana. It's
Love Doom.
More awkward to open up if it is locked in. In fact, there's not really any hard breach on the
No, it's best
here.
of 3.
Yeah, they bend it.
Yeah, it's just the ace, just the Selmas. You can try and long arm one from the far side, but I guess with open, if you're looking at quad wall, you sort of need it. Sometimes you'll have Thermite instead, but it's the pressure on towards the window seems to be the first approach. Look at Canadian, the blitz. Can't quite get himself.
Yes, good shit, Ambi!
They're ready to start making their way inside.
Oh!
This very shaky fight in a team kill.
Fuck!
Oh no! A misinput! Souls!
Well, Viniking's down, so it's not as bad as it may seem immediately. 2v3
It's alright.
depends on if Viniking
It's alright.
back up.
It's alright, because we did still get the kill.
Yeah,
It's doable. It's doable.
The initial kill to begin with. Unfortunately, he took down Canadian, but they still got the other kill anyway.
Man, I can't believe that reference still
It's
lives
more so
on
the
in this
fact that they lost
community. It's
Rexon
fucking
elsewhere
crazy.
At the same time, if they didn't lose Rexon, it
Shit
could
was
be
like
a
7 years
3v3
ago.
right now, and well, we wouldn't really be worried about the team kill, but yeah, Kit recovered. Poor old Canadian, 60 seconds left, got shot in the back of the head. It does happen to Shield players every now and then. Still a winnable round for Shopify, but this is the kind of round that FaZe should and really likely will.
It's so doable.
Because
It's so
of that small
doable.
error, that small mistake from Andy.
I'd say it's free.
So well in this series, and
Come
has
on.
every
Come
chance
on.
to probably be the MVP of the series overall between both of the two teams. But with 35 seconds left, so much to do for Surf and Grixer. Could they pull off a very heroic round?
Oh boy.
Wow, it's even more of a meteoric challenge at this point. He knows their inside tellers, but the tale being told is that we're moving on to the next.
Okay.
Past 5 rounds, been back and forth, been trying to find themselves new location, and if that continues, I mean, we're still going to get ourselves on towards map point. We're still going to get ourselves potentially onto the end of this map. It was a little bit of a lockdown after something else pulled away. FaZe, they're still battling, and as I said, you can't ever truly count out a team like FaZe. Here's that moment, the swing round, and
That's so unlucky.
yeah, it happens.
I mean, look, he got a kill before it.
Yep.
Man, it was such a good
Yeah,
entry
it does happen,
too.
but FaZe
It
is
was
the kind of
such
team
a
that
good
will punish
entry.
those little mistakes.
Fuck.
3-5. And they just keep their heads above water. That's the main thing for FaZe. Their heads are above water. But they've just never been able to claw back the deficit on this map. They've done it on the opening 2 maps of Clubhouse and Labs. But it's either been a 3 or a 2 round differential the whole way through here on Bank. So now it's up to Shopify to continue that trend that has been established separately
You
here
ever
on
play
the
the
final map of
Suicide
this
Squad
series.
mobile RPG?
Been a
I
long
did
day
before
on
it
the
got
B
removed
stream.
from the App
We
Store.
are incredibly
Never
far
even
behind
heard of
the
it.
A stream. I think soon enough this will be the A stream at some point.
Yeah, we just do take over at some point. Well, Shopify, can you keep this game of table tennis back and forth, bouncing across, or will FaZe sort of reassert themselves 2 in a row.
Let's just do it again, Ambi, but without the team kill. It was a good joke though. I did appreciate it. But now it's just it'd be old, you know what I mean?
Versus Cyber currently in the split. Obviously there are some numbers that came in before the
Well, yeah, I mean Handy was great beforehand. If you want, in terms of the actual numbers right now as they are, 8 and 5 for Handy, 7 and 5 for Cyber. So those two very much similar. 7 and 4 for Ambi. The only player on the side of Shopify, this is again crazy. They're up 5-3. He's the only one with 100
did he see him?
EPS at 123.
Oh, nice, but Ambi got him.
Another opening kill.
Let's go.
I mean, team kill aside, he's been pretty much flawless. That one incident in the previous round, the only tiny blip for what's otherwise been an incredible series from the young star. And another chance for Shopify. But Recton shut down at the hands of Souls. And it brings it back to an even man number game at 4 versus 4 with 90 seconds left in the 9th round. It's starting to get hot. Grex is going to fall to KDS, and just like that, FaZe have found themselves with the slight advantage.
How'd that happen?
Will it be pushed on towards the end? There's still a lot of time here for Shopify to try and work with and try and get things just, you know, formulated into a plan. The kit is on the windows alongside some of the cover from the Capitao. In terms of the bolts in their pocket, they still have 2 smokes, but you're throwing yourselves into potentially a C4, potentially
Go
just
on, Abby, do it for us.
to get the end of it. Keep a barricade and try and build their way back in. And there's the first pop of smokes, and Ambi's going to use that as his way to...
God, he's so good! No! Fuck, almost!
But they're inside the building, inside the site, and tucking themselves close here. Caught out.
Nice surf.
Canadian has the cover in handy. You're not really sure what's going on, Surf. Has to swing himself.
That was so odd.
They were trying to go for a bit of a bait and a play, but
that was so fucking odd.
FaZe 2 rounds now in a row, the first time on this map. Wow.
Oh, I'm super happy to hear that, Daily Driven. Hope everything goes well.
I thought Ambi was almost single-handedly clawing a winning position for Shopify throughout. Canadian with the kit gets into sight, then just starts running around. The smokes, of course, dissipating, so he knew he couldn't just stick it. Throws out the Candelas.
And yeah, I like my chair. I don't know what kind of chair it is, but I do like it.
And in the end, just dies for nothing. He just essentially just ran around in a circle and then died. 4-5 now, timeout by FaZe. Despite winning the last 2 rounds, Emily, they want to try and compound their advantage going into a timeout.
If he gets that kill, we win that round. That was so close. He is carrying us a lot right now on Bank.
Once again, as has been in this series, we're staring down the barrel of a 5-5 scenario, and then who can just finish off better?
Yeah, and that's that sort of game that you wanted, right? We said it could be series of the day. You have 2 great teams going up against each other.
It's definitely going to be now.
Where else can we go from here? But it's just piecing itself together. They are still so close here, Shopify. This moment, you know, if that engagement...
If Ambi gets that kill, I think they win the round.
And that's it, because he went for the...
I really don't... I don't know what that was.
Deep on long desk that got the kill or not, but there was a second person.
It was an interesting idea.
Fight. Canadian. With being shotgun,
no, is Kingdom Come 2 getting good reviews?
And then
I'm excited to play it.
Candela just to get the instant blind on the pocket. If he'd have just rolled it and potentially started doing a plant there.
In the end, it was like hesitation leads to nothing, leads to death.
Yeah, and it, you know, but again, it's the thing that you always sort of look at here is it's so easy for us to look here and see all the.
Is there a reason why you're not dual streaming on YouTube? I am.
Working with, you don't know what.
That's like my main stream.
You don't really know.
Has been for like the last year.
Play around is, and it's just something that pulls away. Vidaking on towards the Clash. We saw some of the Clash play previous map as well. They've played Clash in some of the biggest games.
I did not see that, BC. What the fuck?
Just slowing down an approach. Think about how this played before. Shopify Rebellion got a really good, really quick bit of control on towards server, on towards the eyes on the site, and on towards the rest of it. And from then on, you know, how do you bite your way across? The Clash, the chance at the roam, the blitz actually as well.
Come on,
Canadian.
come on.
A little bit more aggression around the map.
So close.
Well, I wouldn't say the pressure's like too much right now. It's group stage day 1. If we want to kind of reel things back, it's been an incredibly fun series, and seeing 2 top teams from their respective regions going, you know, toe to toe has been quite exhilarating, and it's really kind of set the tone nice and early for 6 Invitational. That there's just so much quality at this level at the moment. But the reality is, it's day 1 of group stage, so we probably don't want to go too nuts about it, but it has been a really, really fun series.
These membership
For
hawks.
Shopify, I feel like there's more on the line here to get a result against a team that embarrassed you.
Great grenade. You pushed him back.
Begin,
He'll think twice before touching those stairs again. Beautiful.
Group of death to get the extra points.
Let's
it's
get it.
really going to help them, I think, a lot more than a FaZe clan, who
Membership wreck.
we know we're probably going to get a better version of them at some point.
What is Handy going to try and sit and wait around for? You can see that there's calls on the approach of the players. The hatch next to him is open. He just wants to try and get one lucky take and then fade himself down below. Rexon might be the first to find the engagement, but they're not entirely popping their way in. The drop on the cameras, the play around the corner. Has he been tested or contested? Well, that's down to the confidence.
Does he feel it? Does he sense it?
Handy here, who's one of those players who does like to take these engagements. There's the ping. There's the
Nice.
shield that just sees the player drop away. You can win a lot of 1v1s. There's sneaky engagements. You probably can't win that one. The removal of the mines, the steady play around, the change of the control on towards Vault Hatch, and the Clash doing this. Exactly what I talked about before, but oh no!
What the fuck?
I don't really know if there's the
Clash
reference
dead.
to...
I mean, your Clash is down.
It's just
We take those! We take those! Let's go, boys.
By their own team and their own players at this point, the 4 versus 5 towards. The fight is now actually a 4 versus 4 based on how that connects. The confusion potentially.
Well, there's only
on the
one
back of
shield
it.
up now, and that's on the side of Canadian and Shopify. With no Clash, this becomes a far more winnable round for Shopify going into the final 30 seconds. Yes,
Oh,
it's 4v4,
we gotta
but the
start
Clash
making
is a big
some
part of the round
moves
for
here,
FaZe,
though.
and they no longer have a... There's a push there from
not that
Rexon
move.
towards Garage. They do lose Surf to Handy. Big kill. And suddenly the advantage back over to FaZe.
It's late, 15 seconds. They're just trying to get some modicum of control here over the side. A lot of damage onto
Nice.
KDS and Canadian.
No.
Puts one, but KDS and Cyber drive themselves right back in. It is just Canadian in the middle of no man's land. FaZe. They tie us right back up. And at this point,
We're losing fights now.
staring at that OT.
Oh,
Now
god
you're
damn
wondering,
it.
Can Shopify Rebellion find that
Come on,
final piece,
gentlemen.
that missing link?
Wow. 5-5 in all 3 maps, Emmy. I mean, there hasn't been really much separating these two teams. And there's not really going to be much to separate them to close this series out. It honestly comes down to these little micro mistakes. But even in that round, like we saw the proverbial double kill with the Nitrocell, one opponent, one teammate. Even with that and losing the Clash, FaZe still just find a way to win that round. That's a round that Shopify probably should have done a little bit better on because of the Clash being dealt with by FaZe.
It just felt like Shopify changed the plan late into the game. What happened in server happened, and then suddenly they've got a man trying to, as quickly as they can get in towards Garage. They find a fight. You've got the pressure coming onto the drop on the hatch in Elevator. You've then
Alright, come on. Come on.
It becomes a little bit disjointed.
Let's get our big bulging lat muscles ready to spread them.
Because of that, if you compare it to what happened when there was a team kill on the side of Shopify, when they were being very direct towards
Maybe
that
a double
position,
frontal?
direct towards that control, FaZe didn't really have to change anything. You're the defenders. You've been gifted a moment. When you're the attackers, sure, you're gifted this body, but you still have to try and piece things together. And sometimes, when you haven't got a lot of time to do it, you have to come up with a plan. Cyber on the boss.
Journey to Archives, they might not be aware of this. This is very, very quick. I mean, this is something that Shopify might not be aware of. If they push through Electrical or top blue stairs, trying to get a push in towards Staff and open area.
Be aware of it, boys. I'm telling you.
Look at that hole.
I'll feed you the intel.
Okay, shot with the boss G. That might give away his position. Of course, the Monty on the other side of it. But if someone pushes in, trying to come in behind the Montang, and they're not aware that it's being watched by Cyber, that could have been a very easy kill. You've also got blue stairs as well if they try and make their way up, and he's watching it. There's the shot, there's the chance. It's a miss. That was an opportunity for Cyber and for FaZe to get on the board.
No! Fuck, they still got the opening pick. Come on, boys. Alright, way to trade it, way to trade it. Come on.
And it's a Cyber that goes wandering, losing his life in the vigil shut down. 4 versus 4.
Didn't quite know about
Let's
the
go,
player
Ambi.
above.
Let's go,
The
Ambi.
lights come out, and now they think
The
they've
boy
got
wonder.
control of square. But this, the slow, steady rotate underneath the fight on towards the door. They don't know. But
Nice
they started
surf.
out. Great motion there from Surf. You could see he wasn't quite sure on the direct location of the player. Now, with the man advantage in a minute 20, they still have to try and find their way into the site. They are
So
blocked out.
free,
There's
good shit.
Abby shooting a blinder across the back end. Another Candela. Don't need to cook it. It's rolling to where it needs to be. Opening up a little sight line on towards the
Oh,
road.
god damn it.
What is that? That's a pixel. Ambi should be asking for a refund. Surely they don't lose the round off of a shot like that. And Surf's going to get brought back up, though, at the very least, to make it still a player advantage for Shopify.
Come on.
And they've got 50 seconds, but Ambi would be ropeable to lose his life in that manner. What can Souls
No,
KDS do?
no,
It's another one from KDS.
no,
Now down to a 2v2.
please.
Old head Canadian on the Montaigne has clutched up a couple of times in this series. Will need to do so once again.
Currently a 2 versus 1 as the man's going for the plant, but they're not going to put the pressure on. Instead, they use the time
Oh,
to rotate.
fuck.
There's the reveal, the position and the player. But look
Left,
at the aggression
no,
right
he
up
didn't
towards
see it,
the
he
Monty.
didn't
Now
see
it's
it.
Down to
2 versus
Canadian.
1. Canadian. He knows he's in a tight spot, but he can't make it happen. Souls and KDS.
Why can't we hold these
How
games?
have they won that
I mean, to be
round?
fair, it's hard on
Massive
attack
play
here.
from the
I get
start
it.
of
But
a
still,
pixel that I don't even think
it was
exists in the
4-1.
game. Towards where we are now, 6-5. FaZe.
Oh.
They stand 1 round away from locking it out, and you can see it on the faces of Shopify.
Fuck.
Mike being down.
This is so North American, isn't it? To just get so close and then ultimately capitulate. 4 rounds, 1 in a row now for FaZe after Shopify. We're looking to have complete control of this map, of this series. FaZe have brought it all the way back, baby. And now it's a timeout for Shopify. At 6-5, it's now match and series point for FaZe Clan. And it seemed like in the middle of that round that Shopify were the team of the two that was starting to gain the ascendancy. Ambi was
Damn
doing
it,
his thing,
man.
and then
Damn
out of
it.
nowhere, bam, pixel shot, headshot, and then even with the plant going down successfully, they lose Surf at the end. Canadian in a 1v2 on the Montaigne. What can you really do at that point?
I mean, this is why we talk about, and I said it when it was 5-2, cannot ride out either of these teams. It's been the back and forth. Sure, it was.
Look at it at this point, 2v4, pop.
You don't even see him. You don't even see him.
The bullet is like curving Matrix style to come around the corner of the window.
It's like Wanted. Angelina Jolie.
And the biggest thing, it's on Ambi. He has been so good for Shopify Rebellion. If he is not the one to lose his life there, I think he can then still clutch the round. Match and series point FaZe.
All right, gotta do it now.
Series
We
has
must
not
do it
gone
now.
to an overtime yet. 7-5, 7-5. Will it be 7-5 again?
If I was on the wrong end of that shot in like rank in the game,
I mean, I would just say it's cheating.
I'd be on the phone to John Ubisoft. I'd be like, John Ubisoft, you gotta sort this out. You gotta get rid of this guy.
Well, I mean, right now the pressure probably is on Shopify. You can certainly alleviate a lot of it in some of the earlier maps because of the fact that FaZe are FaZe, but you've been now up 5-2. You've now
Oh, that's
been
huge,
in
Adam.
a
That's
winning
huge.
position for such a long
All right,
time.
come on, boys. Let's get
on
that
this
opening
map
pick.
That now it's like, well, boy, we're really going to
Just
fumble the bag.
make it
aren't we?
easy.
Dark Zero
Make it
losing
real
earlier
easy.
to Razar. If SR lose to FaZe in this manner, not a particularly amazing day for North America, but you can take a lot of the positives, certainly for Shopify, but they don't care about your positives. They want the win.
Yep, they want to try
That
to get
is
it
right.
locked in. They want
We
to
do
start
want the
themselves off
win.
with a bang here. And I love this forest trick. You jump it up, run it onto the side, spin around towards the windows behind you, and then you make the landing. Perfect. Gets rid of any utility on the back end of it without it being caught out. There's the castle. There's a trick. Now go and practice it a million times, and you'll probably get it in the last 10. 6-5 at this point. FaZe. They
Please move,
just get the
Joshy.
first kill from then on. Probably setting themselves up towards the
Let's
end.
go,
Like
Ambi.
I said,
Ambi the GOAT.
That difference maker, that distance queen. I'm struggling. Rexon on the other side. Ian, you know, this is a moment for them to start picking up. I talked about it at the very beginning. What we had was big sort of hero rounds almost from Shopify when they were getting themselves in. The cost wasn't so spread. He was almost
Oh, now we're playing really slow.
demonstration.
Which, maybe?
Ooh, that was quick. I mean, how much of the win call now for Shopify is going to come through again? Canadian on the Orsa, get the plant down behind the Talon shield. They go for square control? Do they just go for the repel control? I mean, Canadian's kind of in a position where I think they're going to want to just try and go for a pretty default top square take, open up the right side, go for that shield down, and then play the repel post.
Oh, I don't know why I thought there was no shot that could hit from there, but I'm on edge now.
Clear out sight, clear out positions like Janitor. There's the smoke to try and stop the ability. Oh, little decent drone over towards lobby here.
The awareness, they don't quite find their way around the Candelas. It's been put onto the sort of pressure of Surf rather than Canadian at this point. They're going to try and drive the Oss.
Canadian has to go in now. Like, this is it.
Yeah, now we're going too slow. We're going too slow. We gotta start moving.
Into CO. Oh, he's shot in the back by Cyber. No. And with that phase, have taken away the win condition for Shopify.
Okay, just gotta outshoot him. Let's go, Ambi.
He's got a lot to do. Pushing through Janitor. This young star with a chance to shine at the 6th Invitational. Surf.
There you go, Surf.
Like
there you go, Surf.
His own Batman into the
we're just burning over there.
Flames may go Shopify if he can't close it out.
Oh,
he goes
was so
to stick it,
close.
finishing with 2, then 3, and just like that, it's all down to Ambi in a 1 versus 4.
Oh, we just couldn't hold it.
Will take down Shopify.
We had such substantial leads in every single map, but just couldn't close it out. Still really well played, though. Still really well played.
So wide, and that slug shotgun, the TCSG, is an absolute surgeon's tool. That got rid of Canadian. If he was a step further back, it could be different. But
I mean, FaZe is one of the best teams in the scene. They got second at the last one. Like, they're a really strong squad, and we played them so well. This could have been ours. It was very close. It's just day 1 of groups anyway. It's fine.
My God, did they have to fight for it?
Oh, let me breathe. Dissect and have a look at things. This is the kind of game, though, I'd love if it was on, like, say, Stream A and we had an analyst desk and they could all break it down, because this is certainly...
No, this is group stage, brother. This is group stage.
I feel awful for Shopify, but they probably won't walk away from this too upset. I think that's definitely got to be their mentality. They played some great Siege. They deserved the map that they got. Unfortunately, they don't get the series win, but they did enough, Emmy.
Well, we're throwing to a quick break before we're back with a breakdown of that absolute blinder of a series.
Hey, Fett. Appreciate it. Shopify do get 1 point, though. Yeah, for taking map 2. Still, though, that could have been the dub. We had every opportunity. Just gotta... When we see them again, just gotta close it out.
Available now.
That's super sweet. I appreciate that, Fett. When's the next one? Do we know? It's a good question. I don't know when our next game is. It's not gonna be today. I don't know when the next one is. I'll have to check the schedule again. Was it over? No, there's another game after us, but that's our game for today. Still, really good signs for the team.
Meu nome é Vinícius Merletti, falo aqui de Floripa.
Keep streaming. I was going to, but I am so fucking hungry. All I had was like a little granola bar in the middle of this. I am fucking starving. So I think I'm gonna call it there. I might stream again when I'm done eating. Oh, actually, I'll go to the gym. I'll go to the gym, then I'll eat. I might stream again later tonight. If not, I'll just see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we got Kingdom Come 2, so I'll be playing that. Alright. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Here, I'll toss you over to Fett if he's still streaming. You still streaming, Fett? Yeah, I'll toss you over there. Alright, have a good night, everybody. I'll either see you later tonight or tomorrow. Bye-bye. Corrido, e no momento que a gente tá no jogo, a gente tá dando risada.